He was summoned to another world with one dream, to become a hero. But the moment he arrived, everything fell apart. His teammates bullied him, the kingdom mocked him, and the people he trusted the most betrayed him. Labeled as useless, weak, and garbage, they threw him out to die in a land filled with monsters. But in the darkness, he awakened something no one could ever imagine. A hidden power born from rage, betrayal, and pure will to survive. The boy they abandoned is no longer the same. Now, he's coming back, not as a hero they wanted, but as the nightmare they created. And the kingdom that once laughed at him will soon kneel before the garbage hero. This is the revenge story of the hero they tried to destroy. The story begins with a boy saying that it's alright, everything is done. And today's menu is 3 types of sandwiches: chicken stew with wine vegetable pate, potato salad with boiled vegetables, and French onion soup. As people are eating, the boy thinks that he put tons of effort into this, yet this is how they react. But it's not the first time his effort has gone to waste. The boy smirkingly says that he actually has friends, and that they are all online. Suddenly, a girl says that this is awesome, which gets his attention. She tells him that he is a great cook and calls him Tsukuru, while he shockingly says her name, Ikenos. She says that she is so clumsy, and that the others told her to not touch anything, and all she can do is stand and watch, while Tsukuru thinks of how Ikenos is actually talking to him. Ikenos then tells the students that she is going to head to the teacher's office for a while. She says that it won't be long, so they should remember to be careful with the flames, whilst Tsukuru says he feels like something is about to happen. And then, there is a sudden bright light, and everyone covers their faces. Tsukuru confusingly asks what this is, as the whole room is glowing. After that, they all find themselves in a giant empty room. Tsukuru wonders if this could be the infamous reincarnation to the other world. Suddenly, 3 men appear in front of them, as one of the men says that they are the representatives for the United Kingdoms, and that they, the heroes, were summoned to this world using their ritual. One of the students angrily asks what this is, but as soldiers are hovering over the student, the man says that now they will begin to verify their status, as well as to determine which kingdom each of them will be. Another one of the men, whilst handing one of the students a card, says that their destination shall be determined through auctions, and that the summoned heroes will be delivered to 9 kingdoms within the United Kingdoms and 6 other countries, and their mission is to subjugate the demon kings rampaging in each country. He starts the auction and introduces the students to the buyers by mentioning their names, starting price, and ranks. The man approaches Ikenos and asks her to touch this status plate, so she does that quietly. He says that next is Suzuno Ikenos and that her job title is Holy Maiden Rank S. He starts off the auction at 5 million, and the bidders go all the way to 44 million. The man looks at Tsukuru and asks him to walk over there. He hands him a status plate and says that next is Tsukuru Sumeragi. He goes on to say that his rank title is Cook of Rank G. The man says that the bidding will begin, and asks the crowd to name their price. He further asks them if anyone is interested, to which one of the buyers asks, who would pay for such a useless person? Another one of the buyers agrees with him, and says that this is a total waste of time and they should just hurry up and move to the next one. He goes on to say that the world is in peril, and asks the men how could he summon such a useless hero. The man replies that he understands, and says that they are moving on to their next hero. Tsukuru stands there, wondering what he has done wrong. The man says to Tsukuru that from now on, he is free to operate anywhere he wants. While holding a sword and a bag, the man tells Tsukuru that there is a sword and some money as transportation fee, and that it's enough for him to survive for a while. He tells him that they cannot send him back to his old world, so he should take this as compensation. The man leads Tsukuru to a door and says that after he steps into this teleportation gate, it will take him to a random country, to which Tsukuru shockingly questions a random country. The man says that's right, and this is hard to say directly, but since he doesn't belong to any of the mentioned countries, Tsukuru sadly thinks that in other words, none of those countries is willing to accept him, and whilst thinking that, someone yells his name. It's Ikenos, and as she is running towards him, men try to stop her, telling her that she should wait, and she can't go over there. Ikenos asks Tsukuru if they will be able to meet each other again. Tsukuru thinks of how Ikenos was chosen by the Kingdom of Luck Sandal, and proceeds to tell her that he guesses with enough luck, maybe they will run into each other in the future. Ikenos says that she will see him then, and shyly asks him to say it too. He agrees, and as he is by teleportation gate, he says sure to her, and that's see you later. The old man then pushes Tsukuru into the teleportation gate. Tsukuru lands in a forest and says that the old man tricked him as he is in Balf Forest. As he is on the ground, he spots his status plate. He reads it and thinks that these are the skills available to him, which are cooking, ignite, dismantle, detailed inspection and ingredient storage. He says detail inspection, and sees on the status plate it says big tree and that this is a tree thousands of years lifespan. And it grew inside Bold Forest, a mysterious place without any signs of humans, to which he thinks that he already knew this information just by looking around. And the status plate also says the tree is inedible. Tsukuru thinks that at least he can use his skills to create fire and identify if the materials are edible or not. And that first thing first, he has to find some food and water as he begins to take a look around. He sees something on the ground and says that he found it, and the status plate reads that it's Shiromaru mushrooms, and they are extremely delicious when fried, and they commonly grow around the area. Tsukuru says that he is in a forest, so berries and mushrooms are easy to find, and that now all he needs to do is put these in his ingredient storage, and he can use this to cut whatever he wants, and that he can't believe things would be this easy. Tsukuru goes on to say that as long as he doesn't run into any monsters. But then Tsukuru hears something, and then he wields his shield and notices it is a cat. Tsukuru cryingly says that those old men knew that he is not a fighter type, yet they still threw him into this forest. He shouts that he will remember this, and that he will have his revenge once he makes it out of this forest. Tsukuru then sees a cat, unaware what exactly is the size of that. Suddenly, the huge cat monster starts chasing him as he runs in fear. While running, he asks himself where his sword is. He looks around and thinks if there are any other weapons he can use, and realizes he only has berries and mushrooms. But then, the cat attacks him and manages to make him fall. And as he is laying on the ground, he thinks this is really how he is gonna die. He goes on to think of how he has to seek revenge on that old man, and the other guys in those countries, and how he can't give up this easily, and that he has to teach all of them from the United Kingdom a lesson. He cryingly says that he doesn't want to die. Tsukuru continues to think about how he must kill the creature and starts using ignite. Tsukuru thinks that maybe he can actually burn it to death. Whilst the creature is burning, Tsukuru says that it wants to kill him to stop the skill as it wants to crush him. He asks himself what else he can do, then he uses dismantle and the creature dies instantly. The status plate says that he has leveled up. As he is still on the ground, he thinks of how it hurts and if he killed that creature yet. He goes on to think about how he remembers learning something before losing consciousness. It is something about a water gun. And just as he thinks about it, a water ball appears in front of him and he slowly drinks water from it. He further thinks about healing food, and the status plate reads that steak from the rib of giant cat monster. It is very delicious with the ability of healing wounds. Tsukuru says that if not for his current situation, he might even compliment the steak for being this tasty as he starts eating the meat. After that, he looks at his hands and says that he is healed. He shockingly asks if he actually recovered, and wonders if he can really make it out of here. The next day, Tsukuru sees a figure while thinking it was close, since he thought that it was a human, but it's a sword reaper of level 200. Tsukuru knows that there is no way he could rival a monster that's of level 200. After a while, he says that more importantly, he must eat and there is nothing more important than a meal. The status plate reads that steak from the belly of a giant cat monster immediately commits the night vision skill after eating this, and Tsukuru says that he was too hurt to taste any flavor yesterday. Suddenly, Tsukuru shockingly wonders to himself about committing new skills, and if cooking also has the same effect as this. And as soon as he eats the steak, the status plate reads, "Finish committing night vision skill." Tsukuru thinks to himself that this could be it, and then happily says that it really is, as the status plates reads that steak from the rump will commit detecting existence skill, while steak from the niche bone will enhance the agility skill, and the grilled shank of the cat will give the flash skill. To which he happily says, it means that depending on which parts are cooked, the skills he will get will be different. He says that he understands now, while the status plate reads that steak from the belly of the wild monkey will commit wood magic, as he sees a monster bognon of level 240. Tsukuru understands that the more monster meat he eats, the more power he will get. After that, Tsukuru sees a dark bat of level 260, as the status plate says, steak from dark bat will commit wind magic, and Tsukuru says if he keeps up this routine until he gets out of this forest, he will certainly be strong enough to blow all those men away, and eats the bat with chopsticks and plate created by wood magic. Tsukuru asks himself what is next, but just then, hyena wolves of level 150 approaches him and get his attention. Tsukuru gets nervous seeing that and hesitantly says a pack of wolves. He uses water gun on the wolves, but he can't kill all of them even if he gets down and fights, as there are still too many. Out of nowhere, a large creature starts eating one of the wolves, while Tsukuru stands there in fear. He asks himself what that creature is, and the status plate says it's a hell bear of level 210, and he thinks that it's too huge. The bear then stares Tsukuru in the eyes, and then rushes towards him. Tsukuru then uses water gun on the bear, but it doesn't work. He then uses wood magic before it attacks, and thinks that he must block all its movements, and uses shadow binding. Tsukuru then attacks using throwing, but it didn't do much damage to the bear. The bear then growls at him, while Tsukuru nervously says that it didn't work. The bear rushes towards him and sends him flying with a tackle. And as soon as he falls down, the bear stabs him with its sharp paws. Tsukuru starts thinking about how this is not a normal high school student's life. Tsukuru, whilst in pain, says indeed he desires revenge. He says that he wants them to experience all the pains that he suffered. As the bear is hovering over him, he says that he doesn't want it to end like this. Tsukuru says that let's try the last shot, and thinks of dismantle. And just as earlier, the bear explodes and gets killed instantly, while Tsukuru lying on the ground says that he gets it, and that skills don't need to be spoken to be able to use. After some time, Tsukuru is completely healed and is now eating as he thinks that though he just has to eat to heal wounds, he must be more careful from now on. And as he eats, the status plates read that stake from the shoulder of the bear will commit superhuman strength skill, the rump will commit iron hands skill, and more. And as Tsukuru is thinking of how he will be more powerful with this amount of food, another monster slowly approaches him. After that, as he is covered in the monster's blood, he asks why is he always stuck in these deadly situations. He cryingly says that he wants to win in cleverer ways, and that despite how high his level is, all of the skills he has are just for short distance attacks, which lead to this result, and that he is a chef, not a soldier. He was thrown away because of that. Then the status plate says finishing committing dark magic. Tsukuru gets happy seeing that, since he finally has a revenge-capable skill. But then, Tsukuru now stands there in disbelief as he received the pervert title, which is sent to the people, who are not even thinking about hiding their sensitive parts. Tsukuru nervously starts asking himself what is going on, and what is the pervert. After some days, as he checks the status plate, it reads that the time passed is 30 days, 8 hours and 30 minutes. He says that it's been over 1 month already. He has become stronger, and asks himself when he can get out of that place, and says that he is so lonely. Tsukuru thinks about how in novels, there are usually some stuff like slimes or Fenrir that will become MC's opponents, and just walking around in this forest like a primitive man. He asks if it ever means anything. He says that he wants a fluffy bed, he wants to talk, he wants to be spoiled, and if he at least had something to wear, he could hold out a little more. But then, Tsukuru sees a monster and gets startled. He says that he has seen him a few times, and most of the time he tried to hide, but since his level is kinda high now, maybe it's time for this. The Sword Reaper uses transfer to escape, but Tsukuru chases after him while saying that he won't let it, and uses shadow binding. As the Sword Reaper escapes, Tsukuru shockingly asks what. But then he smiles while asking him if he thinks that he can escape from him, and then uses wood magic on the Reaper. While the monster is stuck in the wood magic, he uses ignite, then goes on to use detect existence. He says that every time the Sword Reaper uses transfer, it can teleport about 150 meters. Unless he manually shuts it off, ignite won't stop it by itself, and it's definitely at a disadvantage if it keeps running away. As the battle keeps going on, he ultimately uses dismantle and defeats the Sword Reaper. After that, he is now wearing a coat, and excitedly says that now it's time to say goodbye to that title. The status plate reads about the Hermit's coat, that the person wearing this is invisible to lower level monsters, and no tearing, no dirtying, and it defends against all kinds of magic. Tsukuru says that he beat this one too, as he tries to pick the sword left by the Sword Reaper. But suddenly, the sword starts shining, which startles him. He then hears a voice asking him if he is a warrior as he looks at the sword in shock. After some time, Tsukuru eats the monster meat as the status plate says finish committing fabricate, and the sword in front of him says wow in excitement. The sword says that it's unbelievable that he can use cooking to commit new skills, and it never heard about any cooks like him. Tsukuru sighs and starts thinking about how he never thought the first time he could once again have a conversation would be with a sword, not a person, to which the sword asks him why he is sighing. The sword then again asks Tsukuru if he is a warrior and addresses him as Sir. It goes on to say that it has a question for him, that if it sees he has enough ability to own it, it will give him its power. The sword then asks him if he believes in God, to which Tsukuru stands there smirkingly. Tsukuru says that it's so ridiculous, and the sword asks if he does not believe in God, to which he says that he does believe, and that in only a month, he was forced to believe in God so much that now he is sick of it. He says that he has never believed in saints or God until he came to this world, and that he would have never accepted this kind of situation if God didn't exist here. He was suddenly summoned into this world and didn't have any chance to reject it. He was reviled and then thrown away like rubbish. He thought that he was gonna die, and the last time he managed to escape death was because of luck. He continues that he had to gamble his life to get food, and that he couldn't even find any clothes or shoes to protect himself from those stones and branches in the forest, and when night came, he couldn't even fall asleep. He asks why he has to suffer all of these things, and says that it's because of the God, who allows humans to summon heroes, and who ignores the decadence of his servants, and it's God who forgives the arrogance of humans. While clenching his fist, Tsukuru shouts that this is what resulted in this present him, and that's why he must smash his face. The sword starts laughing hearing that, so Tsukuru asks if it has any intention of stopping him, to which the sword refuses. It says that he is very interesting, and that it will try its best to support his revenge, and tells him to please hold it, and imagine the shape of the sword that suits him. The sword thinks about how Tsukuru must really be lucky, and have great capabilities to survive for a month in this ball forest, and wonders what is hiding in his body. Tsukuru asks if there are no villages or any towns with humans near here, to which the sword responds with shock. Tsukuru asks what is it, and the sword says that it has bad news for him. It says that the place he is in right now is the center of the ball forest, while Tsukuru stands there in disbelief. Then it goes on to say, it thought that he deliberately went this way to find and defeat the monster, which is the king of the forest, as Tsukuru sees an emperor dragon of level 300. Tsukuru says that the level, and even the shape are completely different from any beast he has faced before, and asks how he can beat a monster like that. The sword asks why it is a problem, when he can use it to fight, to which Tsukuru shockingly asks what. Tsukuru says that he has never used a sword in battle, to which the sword asks in disbelief if he is serious. The Emperor Dragon uses Emperor Breath and makes Tsukuru falls on the ground. The sword asks Tsukuru if he is still alive, and pleads for him to wake up. As the Emperor goes to attack Tsukuru while he is on the ground, he mutters that he really hates stuff like this. Tsukuru then uses dark magic, which conceals his presence. The dragon begins to wonder where Tsukuru went as it looks around in confusion. The sword tells Tsukuru that luckily he hid in its shadow, and tells him that it's time to fight back. Tsukuru uses his recovery food to heal himself, and then quickly starts running away. The sword asks him where he is going, to which he replies that he is running away, and asks how he can beat that monster as the dragon attacks him from behind. Tsukuru says that it's still able to find him, even though he is using dark magic, to which the sword replies that it's never heard of a person who survived after facing it. The sword says that it will chase Mr. Tsukuru until it catches him. The dragon tries to attack Tsukuru again, but he uses Iron Wall to defend himself. The dragon uses the Emperor's Breath again, which pushes Tsukuru away. He thinks about how he can't run or get closer, but then decides to use dark magic again. Tsukuru thinks about how he will approach it, while it still can't find him using Remove Presence, and then he will dismantle it. But the dragon still senses his presence and jumps away, which surprises Tsukuru. He asks what's going on, and how it can still find him though he used Remove Presence. The sword tells him that it's because his murderous intent was so strong, and Tsukuru confusingly asks murderous intent. And it says that though he hid his breath, but at the moment he activated Dismantle, he still showed murderous intent, so the Remove Presence became useless. Tsukuru says that even it says that, there is no other way. Tsukuru then thinks that there is only one chance, that he should fabricate murderous intent into love. Tsukuru then manages to touch the dragon's neck and uses Dismantle on it, and then the status screen shows that the Emperor Dragon was defeated. After that, Tsukuru sees something and asks what is this, and if it's some sort of gacha. The sword replies that it's quite obviously meant to help people with defeating the forest boss, and tells him to turn it. Tsukuru mutters that it seems to be safe so far, and that no monsters are coming out, so he will try it, while the sword says, may luck be on his side. After spinning the gacha, Tsukuru says that he got a black one and asks what it means. But just as he said that, the machine explodes and creates smoke around Tsukuru. He starts coughing and asks what was that, to which the status plate says, skill titled equivalent exchange has been acquired. The sword tells him that it's a nice skill, and it basically just means that it is much rarer than normal skills, to which Tsukuru says he is not sure and asks if isn't only skill in a gacha considered unlucky. The sword asks if he is sure he wants more, because he will have to kill the bosses and then wait for this gacha to reappear. And it seems that he doesn't want to do it, but still, they need to level up his skills more. After some days, Tsukuru is now in a battle with a monster, and after defeating it, he says that it's easy. The sword praises him, saying that he is getting better at swordsmanship, to which he replies that it's like his second nature now. Tsukuru says that it's all because of him in the end, and thanks it for teaching him, to which it laughingly says that it will admit it likes the praise. As he eats the monster meat, Tsukuru gained passive physical attack resistance, passive skill magic attack resistance, and action skill superplay. Tsukuru is happily laughing, as he is in a magic bath made with ignition and water gun, and says to the sword that he has done what it has said, now can it do him a favor? To which the sword replies it knows that he is going to ask to get out of this forest, but it asks him if he really plans on going out with such ragged and torn clothes. Tsukuru laughingly says that it is right, and it would be best if he makes some new ones with hyena fur, hellbear pelt and heavenly sleep sheep wool, and he calls it the isekai suit. After getting dressed, Tsukuru says that he is ready, while the sword suggests that it would be good to use Kamo on him and his equipment. After all, he is not that much of a normal person anymore, and Tsukuru agrees to it and wonders who he will meet first. After that, Tsukuru is looking from a high cliff, but suddenly he slipped and falls down. As he is laying on the ground, he asks what just happened, to which the sword tells him that he is the first person it has seen mess up doing something as simple as looking. Tsukuru tells the sword to keep quiet, and says that it isn't his fault, and that he has lived through an extremely strong beast forest, and asks if it really thinks that he would mess up on such a thing. From a distance, Tsukuru hears guys saying, "Quick, stay strong guys, don't break formation." He further hears them saying, "Common guys, they know they are just here for the little missy, and that they should hand her over," and the sword says that it seems like some bandits are robbing people, and asks how they should act. Tsukuru replies he hopes that this doesn't end up troubling them too much, and that he has to make sure, as the people in the carriage might have been the ones to instigate the situation, and that he doesn't feel like he wants to make friends with the people of this world. Suddenly, he hears someone calling him from behind, and asks him to please help her, and he shockingly asks how did they notice him. Someone asks the princess who she is calling out to, and says that he remembers hearing a voice he didn't recognize, and that it definitely was that of a human, to which one of the bandits laughingly says they left a weak spot open. The bandits jump on the carriage, and one of them says that it's his carriage now. He added that they got the princess, and they are rich boys, while Tsukuru gets angry seeing that. He then attacks the bandits and slashes one of theirs head. The bandits get shocked and screamingly asks what is happening. They ask Tsukuru who he is and where he came from, but he continues attacking. One of them shouts at the princess that she should open the door, while someone shielding the princess tells her to not look. After killing them all, the sword asks him how it was, and if it was his first time killing a human, to which he replies with a yes. Tsukuru then sadly asks why it was so easy, but then a man calls Tsukuru sir and greets him. He asks Tsukuru who exactly he is, but Tsukuru does not reply, and as he is leaving, the man asks him to please wait, but he didn't listen. The man wonders who Tsukuru really is, as he left without saying anything. After some time, Tsukuru finds himself in a town, where he is greeted by two females who welcome him to the town of Algeria. Tsukuru gets really happy seeing the town, and says that from now on, his life as a normal human being begins. After some time, a man says that at that moment, he can't believe that a person suddenly appeared. It's like the hero from the story, and that's more or less how the story goes. An old man laughs while saying, it seems like he met a nice person, and hopefully he will meet him too one day. Tsukuru is buying some food, and a lady tells him that it will be 850 gold, and asks him to please come again. Tsukuru, after looking around, says that all the ingredients there look good, but the weapons not so much. The sword says that of course, there is no sword that surpasses it, to which Tsukuru replies that it acts like it's the best in the world, and starts wondering what would happen with equivalent exchange. Tsukuru sees people eating, and thinks about how there is bread, noodles, pasta, and asks if there is rice there. Suddenly, a female asks if he knows about rice. She tells him that he probably won't find any because it's rare, but there's a chance he might find at the Settle General Store. After some time, Tsukuru goes to a store and asks himself if this is the one. As he enters the store, he is welcomed by a female. Tsukuru shyly tells her he heard that this shop sells rice, to which the female guides him while saying, "Right through here." The sword asks Tsukuru if he fell in love at first sight of a beastkin, to which he disagrees, and says that it's just because he hasn't spoken to anyone for a long time. The sword added that if he likes her, then maybe he can buy her, which confuses him. The sword then tells him to look at her necklace and mentions that it's for the slaves. Tsukuru starts thinking about how she is a slave, while she tells him to come over there. He walks up to her, and she says that they have various types of rice from all over the world, showing him one, saying that this one here is even local, whilst Tsukuru thinks about how he wants to know the types, not location. Tsukuru thinks about how this rice looks like it's from Japan, and this looks like a type of egg rice. He asks the female for 10 sacks of this type, and she thanks him for the purchase and tells him that it will be 60,000 gold. A man then appears and says that his name is Settle, the owner of the store, and that he has come to say hello because of his bulk purchase, and asks him if it's his first time there. Tsukuru replies with a yes and mentions that he only arrived in the city yesterday, to which Settle says that they shall send the goods to his inn, and asks him if he has a wagon. Settle tells the female to prepare the receipt, and as she is carrying the rice, Tsukuru says that it does not need to be delivered anywhere, and put them into the storage. To which Settle shockingly says that all the rice vanished. Settle asks if Tsukuru has a large capacity box, to which he replies that maybe he does. He asks Tsukuru if he would like to buy more, like seasoning or cutlery, and says that their store sells everything from food to slaves, and Tsukuru interestingly mutters the word, slaves. Settle says, so the customer is interested in slaves, to which Tsukuru angrily asks what. The female asks Tsukuru what's there to hide, as Settle tells him that it's okay to just look. He takes Tsukuru to a room with slaves, and says that unexpectedly, most of them are just like normal people. The owner says that since slaves are also people who have rights and choices, they are protected by the law. Tsukuru asks him what exactly he wants to show him, to which Settle tells him to follow him. He says that beyond there is just filled with criminal slaves, and that they don't have rights, so they are usually taken here instead of a prison, so they can contribute to society in ways the general public do not wish to do. Settle then shows Tsukuru a girl, and says that she arrived here today, and that she was working as a magician in a noble's house where a child was killed, and at the time she was the closest to the crime scene, so she got blamed. To which Tsukuru questions himself that just because of that, just because she was unlucky. Tsukuru asks him if he thinks she is the culprit, to which Settle replies that he has no clue. He says that he and her father were close friends, but he passed away 2 years ago, and he has known her since birth, and she has always been kind-hearted. The sword says that this sounds quite similar to, and before it could finish its sentence, Settle asks Tsukuru to buy Kana, to which he replies that he can't. The sword asks him why, and if it is because he is just not used to it. Tsukuru replies that he does not want to involve others in his plan of revenge, and tells Settle that he is going to have to ask someone else, but he says that it is impossible. He tells Tsukuru that she is definitely going to be executed if he doesn't take her away now. Suddenly, a young boy appears from nowhere and screams Settle's name while saying that he wants to buy Kana. Settle calls him Dokkum and asks how he has been, while the sword says that the boy is rude, and Dokkum tells Settle that there is no need for small talk and that he is here to buy Kana. The sword tells Tsukuru that it would profit him to have a slave girl helping him out, especially since this one was already working as a magician, and mentions that Dokkum doesn't look to be in a good mood, to which Dokkum asks Tsukuru who he is. Dokkum tells Settle to deal Tsukuru after him, and that he is more important, which irritates Tsukuru. Tsukuru says that Settle and him were already conversing, and he is the one who came in screaming, which angers Dokkum. Tsukuru then tells Settle that he will buy Kana for 100 million gold, which shocked the other two. Dokkum asks Tsukuru what he is saying, and refuses while saying that he is definitely going to buy this slave. But Tsukuru asks him if that is so. Settle tells Dokkum to please stop, and says that this customer had already agreed to buying Kana before he even came in. Dokkum shouts what in disbelief, and grabs Tsukuru by his shirt while saying he does not care who he is, but for him dares to be insolent. But Tsukuru looks at him with anger, to which Dokkum grits his teeth in frustration. Settle tells Dokkum to not make a scene there and calls for the guards. Dokkan tells Settle and Tsukuru that he will not forget this incident and leave the place. The sword tells Tsukuru that he bought her and asks if he is sure about this, and it thought that he didn't want to involve anyone. Tsukuru says that he really doesn't like anyone he has met so far, so he has decided to destroy everyone and anyone that dares to displease him. Tsukuru tells Settle that he owes him one, to which Settle says that he will definitely pay him back for all the good he did today, and thinks that he is happy to see that his hunch proved to be right. As after all, even with his job, rich merchant, he can't use appraisal on him, and he is sure that he can protect Kana, and that his friend can rest in peace as her daughter's future is very bright. He further thinks that it's very bright and really very exciting. Tsukuru says that despite him doing Settle a favor, he still charged him the full price for Kana. Now he is completely broke, and remembers Settle telling him that he will give him some pictures of Kana and her father for free, to which he responded that he does not need them. Tsukuru thinks that he had intended to leave this town as soon as possible, once he had prepared everything he needed, but it looks like he may have to change his plans. But first he needs some money. He goes on to think, but most importantly he should let her rest, at least until she feels well enough to start speaking. Tsukuru starts preparing some medicinal food. Kana is awake now and tells Kana that there's lots, so she should eat as much as she likes. He heard that she wasn't fed that much as a slave, and he doesn't know exactly what people in this world eat. Tsukuru hands her a plate, and Kana begins to eat while sitting on the floor. Tsukuru angrily grabs the plate from her and asks her what she is doing, to which Kana replies that slaves eat food on the floor. Tsukuru shockingly questions what. The sword mentions that criminal slaves eat and sleep on the floor, and she is still thinking like a slave. Tsukuru tells Kana that he does not care about that, so she should sit on the chair and eat at the table, also to not to eat with her bare hands. Kana sits at the table and starts eating her food with a fork and knife. As Kana is eating, Tsukuru thinks that her way of eating is quite elegant, and her aura is certainly different from the other slaves Settle kept. Tsukuru inquires Kana if the food tastes good and exclaims that he is quite confident in his own cooking skills. Kana does not respond, and Tsukuru sits there shockingly. Tsukuru supposes that medicinal food should cure all physical wounds in an instant, and wonders if it also works on the mind. While eating, Kana starts crying. Tsukuru nervously asks Kana why she is crying. Suddenly, Kana drops her fork and knife. Kana covers her face with her hands and comments Dolce Sama. The sword informs Tsukuru that her tears prove that her mind has healed, and his healing food worked, so he should calm down. Kana lays on the bed and cryingly asks why. Tsukuru responds to the sword that even if he says so. Tsukuru goes on to say that she looks so depressed and wonders what on earth they did to her. Tsukuru then thinks that all the nobles are bad people. The sword calls Tsukuru, to which he states that he got it. Tsukuru announces that they are 5 in total, and they are just some small fry that can't even hide their own presence, to which the sword suggests Tsukuru not to get too cocky. One of the guys opens the door as he doesn't see anyone, and shockingly asks what happened. Tsukuru pops up from behind him, which makes him shocked, and starts attacking and swearing at him. Tsukuru says so his guess that he is after him is right, and inquires him who sent him, but the guy refuses to respond. Tsukuru goes on to attack him again. While wielding his sword, Tsukuru angrily orders him to talk. Tsukuru asks him what is his objective, and questions who told him that he was here, as he already abandoned him like trash. Now he is back, he still wants to get rid of him. Tsukuru continues to say, even if he cuts off all his limbs, he will survive and get his revenge. The guy urges, what's with that nonsense? The guy responds that he has no idea who he is, and they were just told to kill the red-haired slave that's tagging along with him. The guy states that they know nothing about him or the girl. They offered them good money, but if he knew he was fighting someone like him, he would never have taken the job. Tsukuru hits him in the neck and comments so that's how it is. The sword asks Tsukuru if he doesn't want to find out who is behind all this. Tsukuru replies that he can already guess what's happening. Tsukuru then declares that they need to leave this town a bit sooner than planned. As Tsukuru enters back into his house, he mentions that it is a pain. They got themselves into a really troublesome situation. The status plate reads that deleted skill intuition is now replaced with clean. Tsukuru says that now he is in the city, he should try to focus on keeping clean. Holding some clothes, Tsukuru states that he will have Kana wear this later, and that it seems like she didn't even take a proper bath. As Kana is sleeping, Tsukuru thinks that it looks like her nightmares are gone. Tsukuru comments that he should prepare something for her to eat, and he isn't sure what she will like. Kana remembers when she was taken in by the noble family, where a man tells Kana that it's really saddening to have a loved one die. Her father was a great mage, and she shouldn't be disheartened, so she should now think of them as her new family, to which Kana thanks him. A small boy then holds Kana's hand. Kana responds to the boy that she is really grateful. Kana happily announces that she is really happy she can work for such kind people. Kana then thinks, how had it come to this? Looking at flowers, Kana mentions that if they are blooming on the castle walls, they are going to get removed. A man suddenly appears and asks her if she is responsible for the Count's mansion. The man shouts that it is an emergency and the Count's son was attacked by some ruffian. As Kana got there, she sees the small boy laying in blood, and she calls him Dolce-sama. Kana holds him and says hold still, please don't die, and thinks about where is the ruffian, why Dolce was alone here. He is still breathing, and comments that she would heal him right away. Kana then thinks that it is no use, his wounds are too deep for her to heal, and she can't even stop the bleeding. Kana cryingly yells no, and tells him to stop bleeding, he couldn't die. Another man pops out of nowhere and asks what happened. A man declares that he is arresting her for killing Dolce, and inquires her if she killed him for money, while another man states that he saw her stab Dolce with some kind of knife, but Kana cryingly announces that it wasn't her. A woman informs that in Dolce's room, she found a letter from her, luring him to where it happened, and Kana explains that she never did such a thing, while the woman states that Dolce was quite relaxed around her, and he wasn't ready. Kana cryingly shouts again that it wasn't her. Now at the slave cell in Settle's shop, she was handed food to eat. Another slave criminal lady questions Kana what is with her eyes. She comments that Kana should be happy they didn't behead her for killing a noble. As Kana looks at the food, she supposes that it looks like vomit. It is hardly food. The woman tells Kana that if she doesn't want to eat it, then she will to eat. While eating, the woman informs Kana that she will die if she doesn't eat. They are going to sell them soon, so it's just a matter of time before they go to the mines. The woman goes on to say that her master will treat her however he likes, and she will work until she dies, to then only get whipped and start again. Kana cryingly thinks why they are doing this to her and what she did wrong. Kana then thinks if Dolce-sama was still alive, this wouldn't have happened. Tsukuru enters the room as Kana was reminiscing on these past events and extends his hand to her. Kana supposes that she guesses Tsukuru is her new master now. Tsukuru tells Kana to sit on the chair and eat at the table. Kana wonders how long it has been since she last ate proper food. Kana then thinks that she is not hungry, but she can't disobey her master. Tsukuru inquires Kana how it is and exclaims that he is quite confident in his cooking skills. Kana starts crying again while thinking about Dolce, to which Tsukuru responds to Kana that it is okay now. Tsukuru realizes that he has hardly any money left, and it's like a kid's pocket money. Tsukuru says that he is hardly able to cover lodging costs like this. Tsukuru looks at Kana and urges if she is hungry. Tsukuru hands Kana multiple plates of food, which she keeps finishing. Tsukuru smilingly comments, even though he made 6 pots of it. The sword questions if she is even human, to which Tsukuru responds that he thinks she is. Tsukuru states that as long as it helps her recover, her face looks less pale, and she seems more lively, and goes on to ask Kana if the food is good. To which Kana excitedly replies yes. Suddenly, Kana gets unresponsive to Tsukuru, which makes him shocked. The sword questions Tsukuru if he lost his heart, and mentions that first it was the cat girl, now this, to which Tsukuru replies no way. Tsukuru worriedly yells what is wrong. Did she eat too much, if she has an allergy, and asks if she needs to be ordered to stop eating, while the sword tells him to calm down. The sword announces that she just fell asleep, and Tsukuru asks what that is supposed to mean. Tsukuru urges what's her deal. Next morning, Tsukuru shows off his cooking skills. Today's breakfast for Kana is pizza toast and egg sandwich, Caesar salad, and grapefruit yogurt. Tsukuru tells Kana that it looks like she likes it, to which Kana happily exclaims that his cooking is really good. Tsukuru thinks that he is still not used to getting praised. Tsukuru explains that he is glad she is feeling better and it feels like none of this ever happened. Kana annoyedly yells that she got her clothes dirty and she is sorry. Kana comments that she is going to wash it in the water well. Tsukuru informs Kana that she shouldn't use the well for that, people will find it weird. Kana mentions that she is a slave so it's okay, to which Tsukuru responds that it's fine if she doesn't. Tsukuru uses cleaning skill and Kana gets shocked. Kana surprisingly exclaims that all the stains have vanished, even her hair is clean again. Tsukuru hands her clothes and tells her to wear them. Tsukuru explains that she was a bit messy when she slept, so he made them, to which Kana apologizes to him. Kana compliments, "This brassiere is amazing. She has never seen something like this before. The shorts fit perfectly, and they are easy to move in," then asks what country is this kind of underwear from. Tsukuru turns around and tells her to put on her clothes quickly. Tsukuru informs Kana that he guesses it's Japan. Kana wonders which country Japan is. Kana then thinks that right before she got imprisoned, they summoned heroes from another world to defeat the demon kings. But there was one hero that no country wanted, and she thinks his name was, but before she could finish, Tsukuru comments, "By the way." Tsukuru goes on to say that he hasn't introduced himself and says that his name is Tsukuru Sumeragi, while Kana stands there shockingly. Kana supposes, so it's really him, and just like her, he got abandoned by this world. Maybe that's why he is so kind to her. Kana then proceeds to inform Tsukuru that her name is Kana and pleads with him to treat her well. Kana tells Tsukuru that she will gladly obey his orders, and Tsukuru stands there smiling. Tsukuru asks Kana to show him around the city, to which Kana agrees. Kana shows Tsukuru around from the bakeries to ice shops to where there is the best grilled meat. They get to a weapon shop, and Kana requests him to go take a look inside, to which Tsukuru responds that it's fine. Kana confusingly urges if he is sure and mentions that there are many weapons better than his sword, while Tsukuru thinks that it's only because he is covering it using his disguise skill. Tsukuru informs Kana that he is currently broke, to which Kana shockingly questions what. Tsukuru further informs Kana, so while she showed him around, he was thinking what kind of business he should run. Tsukuru tells Kana that he is a cook. Kana suggests Tsukuru to wait, because that is absurd. The sword inquires if he has noticed, while Kana questions if he knows how many restaurants are there already, to which Tsukuru asks the sword if it means the guys that followed him from the inn. But Kana goes on to say that he can't open up a store as a newcomer without any connections. Tsukuru informs the sword that he thinks they should leave this place. They are different from the guys before. He doesn't feel any hostility. The sword replies that it thinks that's the best option, and Tsukuru inquires Kana how do they get to Settle shop from here. Kana tells Tsukuru to follow him. She knows his shop very well, and asks him if he happens to know Settle, to which Tsukuru questions her what. Kana inquires Tsukuru if he met him before, and comments that she lost her memories between her imprisonment and this morning. Tsukuru thinks that she doesn't even remember being in his shop, and says that he sees. Kana mentions that she guesses he is the right person to ask about opening a store. Suddenly, Kana sees Settle and runs towards him. Settle cryingly gives her a hug and mentions that she is back to normal, to which Kana responds to Settle that he is holding too tight, and she can't breathe. Settle urges Tsukuru how he can express his gratitude, to which Tsukuru states that there is no need. Tsukuru informs Settle that he came to ask a favor, to which Settle replies that he will do whatever he can. Settle sadly tells Tsukuru that he is terribly sorry. Settle explains that rice-based food isn't popular around here, plus this town already has many diners. It would be pointless to open a new one. In addition, he would need the approval of the government and the merchant guild, who are very strict lately, to which Tsukuru responds that Kana already told him. Tsukuru tells Settle that before he objects he should appraise his food first, and Settle comments let him see. Settle then tastes Tsukuru's onigiri and compliments this is unbelievable. Tsukuru informs Settle that he won't find food that increases one's stamina anywhere else, and he can make around 100 a day. Settle requests Tsukuru to use his shop for this. Settle then tells Tsukuru if he is to do it here, they can immediately start selling, and this will be a big hit with soldiers and travelers. Settle further tells Tsukuru that they should discuss shares and delivery dates. Kana inquires Tsukuru if he thinks onigiri are going to sell, to which Tsukuru replies that even Settle said they would, so she shouldn't worry. Two men approach Tsukuru and questions if his name is Tsukuru Sumeragi. Tsukuru supposes that it's those guys back then. One of them introduces that his name is Rotten, he is a vassal of Count Abbas, and the other one says same here, he is Goliath. Rotten apologizes for interrupting, and requests Tsukuru to please come with them. Tsukuru asks Rotten if he minds him bringing his slave, to which Rotten responds to him that he doesn't, but it might trigger some bad memories. Tsukuru urges Kana if she wants to come, it is her call, to which Kana informs him that she will go. They get to a palace where they are greeted by a man as he welcomes and thanks them for coming, and further mentions that the Lord will be waiting in the parlor. A woman questions Kana, how dare she come here? The woman goes on to say after killing Dolce, and in response, Kana starts crying. Tsukuru then holds her hand, and they go from there. A man directs them to a room and requests them kindly to enter. They find a man sitting and a woman standing by him. The man apologizes for summoning them all of a sudden, and introduces that his name is DIABLO'S and this is his daughter, while she introduces herself as Altelia's. Kana shockingly calls out Miss Altelia's. Altelia's informs Kana that it's been a while, to which Kana agrees. Altelia's thanks Tsukuru for saving her the other day, and tells him that he did well against the bandits who attacked her carriage. Tsukuru inquires if that was her, to which Altelia's replies to him yes, she wanted to thank him, so she sent Rotten and her father to look for him. Dengaro tells Tsukuru that it is his duty to reward him. Dengaro then states that it's nothing compared to his daughter's life, but here is 10 million gold, and a short sword with their family crest engraved. Tsukuru shockingly thinks that 10 million gold is about 20 times Kana's price, and Dengaro continues to say that as long as he carries this dagger in this country, he will be treated as part of his following. Tsukuru urges Dengaro why he would give him something so valuable, to which Dengaro answers that it's because he wants to ask him a favor. Dengaro says that Kana over there killed his son Dolce. Dengaro further says, or so the story goes, but he doesn't believe. Tsukuru asks, then why did he blame the guilt on Kana, to which Dengaro responds that there was no proof of her innocence, it might have been planned. Dengaro mentions that is why he used his influence to change it from death penalty to enslavement, and then entrusted her to his friend Settle. Dengaro states that everyone in this present room believes in her innocence. Tsukuru inquires Dengaro what his request is, to which Dengaro tells Tsukuru that he wants him to find the real culprit who killed his son. Settle happily informs Tsukuru that yesterday he went to the Adventurers Guild and completed all preparations for selling onigiri. Settle announces that one onigiri will be sold for 10,000 gold pieces, and for a start, they have a contract for 100 pieces a day for a whole month, but he is sure they can extend that, and status-increasing food is extremely rare. Settle goes on to say that they could probably even sell it for 20,000 gold pieces, while Tsukuru stands there puzzled, and Settle urges him what is wrong. Tsukuru tells Settle that to be honest, he does not need money anymore, and Settle asks him how come. Tsukuru shows him a sword and comments this is short sword. Tsukuru explains to Settle that Dengaro begs him to find the murderer who really killed his son. Tsukuru confusingly questions Dengaro if he wants him to find the culprit, to which Dengaro replies with a yes. Dengaro informs Tsukuru that of course he would be rewarded. He will receive 5 million gold pieces in advance, and when he finds the culprit, he will reward him with a further 10 million gold pieces. Tsukuru asks what happens with Kana when the real culprit is found. Dengaro announces that of course they will free her of all charges, and she can then take off that collar, it doesn't suit her. Altelia's tells Kana that once that happens, she can work here again. Altelia's further tells Kana that they should have tea together again. Altelia's states that with her and Dolce gone, she was so lonely at tea time. Tsukuru calls for Altelia's, while Tsukuru tells Dengaro that he accepts his request. Tsukuru mentions that he is an amateur, and Dengaro responds that he shouldn't worry. He heard from Rotten and Goliath about his behavior in town, and he strongly believes he can fulfill this task. Tsukuru sarcastically supposes how simple-minded, and it's not like he can say anything. Tsukuru then tells Settle that he has been in the Countess mansion since yesterday, to which Settle sadly asks will that really be fine. Tsukuru says that whoever killed Dolce may still be around nearby, while Settle questions what if something happens to Kana. Settle continues to say that there is certainly some risk to it, to which Tsukuru replies that if they would just leave this city, Kana would still be in danger. Tsukuru narrates that even if they are forced to leave this town, where they have no one to rely on, there are surely some that will try to silence her, and he doesn't want her to live in constant fear in a place she doesn't know, to which Settle responds to him that he has a point. Tsukuru states that it's convenient to be able to freely enter and leave Abu's mansion, and after all, it was also Dengaro's strong wish. To which Settle replies that he understands, if he wishes so, then he has no complaints, and pleads with him to save Kana at all costs. The sword informs Tsukuru, even though he was pretty hesitant back then at the carriage, it seems he grew to like saving people. Tsukuru replies to the sword that it's not like that. Tsukuru explains that there are still some people who believe in Kana and she didn't kill anyone, so he doesn't want her to be the target of someone's revenge. Tsukuru thinks that he is going to resolve this incident and then leave her behind in this town. They go back to the mansion, where they are welcomed by a female as she announces that her name is Hana, and she was ordered by the princess to show him around the mansion. Tsukuru informs Hana that he wants to talk with either Rotten or Goliath, and in return, Hana mentions that Rotten is currently in the mansion. However, he is currently talking with his wife and requests him to wait for a bit. Tsukuru shockingly comments that guy is already married, to which Kana happily responds that's right. Kana states that his wife Alicia is really beautiful, their son Cloud looks just like them, and is very smart. Kana further added that they are both very pretty and a perfect match, to which Tsukuru supposes that's irrelevant to him. Dokkum sees Tsukuru and angrily shouts what? Dokkum yells that he is the guy he met at Settle's store and inquires him what he is doing here. Dokkum continues to yell, this is Count Abu's mansion, and this is no place for lowborn peebs like him. Tsukuru annoyedly responds, this place is even less for people that shout at the top of their lungs. Dokkum gets angry and attacks Tsukuru while swearing at him. Dokkum then punches Tsukuru in the face. Dokkum's hand starts bleeding and he shouts in pain. Dokkum asks Tsukuru what he did, to which Tsukuru replies to him that nothing at all. Tsukuru thinks that he is over level 300, with stamina S, there's no way Dokkum could hurt him. A group of guards enter and question what's this noise. Dokkum shouts to the guards to capture Tsukuru, he wounded him. Dokkum further shouts, look what he did to him, while one of the guards inquires Tsukuru what he intends to do with their lord. The guards tells Tsukuru to come with them. Tsukuru starts to draw his sword, but Kana jumps in front of Tsukuru and requests to please stop. Kana pleads with Tsukuru not to do anything to them, while Rotten enters and asks the guards what they think they are doing. Rotten yells what they think, pointing their sword at their dear guest, and they shouldn't think he will overlook this. Dokkum shockingly questions a guest and explains to Rotten that Tsukuru smashed his fist, even broke his bones. Dokkum then says that as soon as he met him, he made up some excuse to hit him, so he tried to stop the blow with his hand, and asks Rotten if he plans to let this savage go. Rotten calls Dokkum, and Dokkum angrily shouts what? Rotten inquires Dokkum if he is saying that he tried to stop Mr. Sumeragi from hitting him by blocking the blow with his fist, to which Dokkum replies yes, exactly, that's what he said. Rotten states that however, he cannot possibly believe that he really blocked an attack from Mr. Sumeragi with his fist, and if he would really have hit him, then his whole arm would have been blown off. Dokkum exclaims that it's ridiculous, he is not a demon, while Rotten comments that he saw him fight twice with his own eyes. Rotten narrates when Miss Altelia's was under attack, he killed all bandits within an instant, and when some shady guys targeted Kana, he eliminated all of them without being noticed. That's a technique even he as a commander can't handle. Rotten tells Dokkum that he might not be aware, but everyone who took on Mr. Sumeragi ended up far worse than him, and orders Dokkum to apologize properly to Tsukuru. Dokkum yells at Rotten to shut up. Tsukuru is maybe level 20 at most, he shouldn't say such nonsense. Rotten requests the guards to please bring Dokkum to the infirmary. Tsukuru informs Rotten that he has it pretty rough, to which Rotten responds that it embarrasses him to serve together with such a shameless guy, and Kana falls to her knees. Hana looks at Kana, who is in concern. Kana apologizes as she says that her knees suddenly gave out. Hana urges if they should let her rest, to which Rotten replies that's a good idea, and requests Hana to please take her to his room, and Hana agrees to it. Rotten bows before Tsukuru and Kana as he apologizes for what just happened, and announces that he vows to prevent such things from happening in the future. Kana shockingly yells to Rotten that he shouldn't apologize to a slave like her. Rotten tells her that this time he will restore her honor and he is indebted to her, to which Tsukuru thinks what a sincere guy. Tsukuru explains to Rotten that he came just right, he wanted to talk to him about the incident, to which Rotten replies that he will help him however possible. Hana directs Tsukuru to a room. Tsukuru asks what this is, if they call this a case protocol, the Count's son has been killed, and they just half-heartedly wrote this report, blaming it on Kana. Tsukuru further asks who the witness is and why was the Count's son outside alone. Tsukuru says that even a high schooler like him can see that this is worthless, the cultural level of this world is so low, and supposes that maybe his level is too high. The sword tells Tsukuru that clearly someone plotted this, to which Tsukuru agrees and states that he is sure someone with a certain amount of influence is involved here. Tsukuru begins to think who stands out, who profits from killing the Count's son. He doesn't think it's limited to the Abu's family, and it could be someone targeting his status or possessions. Tsukuru further thinks why they choose Kana from all of Abu's servants. According to Settle and Rotten, she was just an apprentice as a magician, and wonders if it was by chance or what. Tsukuru inquires the sword why he can't just use detailed appraisal to see who's the real culprit, to which the sword responds this will be too easy, and Tsukuru urges if he doesn't have any skill that he can use. Kana stands by the door Kana is in, and Tsukuru questions her what the matter is, to which she responds that the princess ordered her to bring Lady Kana some tea and sweets, but she doesn't seem to have any appetite. Tsukuru states that he sees and apologizes, to which Hana comments that she will leave. Tsukuru approaches Kana, and she gets startled. Kana remembers of Dokkan yelling at her that he will arrest her for killing Dolce. Kana apologizes to Tsukuru, to which Tsukuru tells her not to worry, Rotten told him everything. Kana then tells Tsukuru that it's an awful story and apologizes, plus mentions that if she were stronger, Dolce would have never died. Kana explains when she ran up to him, he was still alive. If it were Dokkan or some other capable magic user, they could have saved him, and of course Dokkan would get angry because she was weak. Tsukuru thinks about himself. When they threw him into the forest, he was thinking about them abandoning him, because he is not combat able, and what had he done wrong? Tsukuru grips the case file tightly and calls on to Kana. Tsukuru questions Kana if she wants to become strong, to which Kana cryingly replies that more than anything. Tsukuru, while holding a plate of food, tells her to eat up. There is suddenly a variety and plenty of food on the table, and Kana shouts what? And in response, Tsukuru informs Kana that he has more left so she should eat, to which she agrees. Kana begins to eat the food, and from the food Kana learns wind magic, but Tsukuru asks what is this? Tsukuru supposes that he gave her so much magical food to eat, but she only gained 2 skills, and she can't always learn skills from just this method. Tsukuru says that next up is leveling, to which Kana responds that excuse me master. Kana requests Tsukuru to please focus on the investigation rather than her training, to which Tsukuru replies to her that he doesn't plan to postpone either of them. Tsukuru tells Kana not to tell anybody what he is about to show her, and urges if she understood. Tsukuru then uses his magic to concoct a lick destroyer, level 150. Tsukuru thinks this used quite a lot of magic, and Kana stands there shockingly. The lick destroyer informs Tsukuru to bestow it with a name. The lick destroyer further informs Tsukuru so that it can follow his commands, while Tsukuru confusingly says a name. Tsukuru comments Baze, and its name is Baze. Baze states this superb magic power is overflowing. Tsukuru wonders if it consumed more of his magic, and tells Baze that there is something he wants it to do. Baze holds Tsukuru's face and announces that he doesn't even need to say it, and it already knows what is on its master's mind. Baze leaves as it yells that it will be out searching. Tsukuru annoyedly exclaims that he has never felt this tired before, and in response, the sword mentions that Kana is unconscious. Tsukuru shouts at Kana to get herself together, and Kana questions if this is a dream, to which Tsukuru responds to her that it's not. Altelias knocks on Tsukuru's door and inquires him how he is doing. Altelias informs Tsukuru that she felt some dangerous presence in his room, to which Tsukuru replies that it's nothing, and in return, Altelias urges if he is sure. Tsukuru questions Altelias how she is doing and calls her princess. Tsukuru thinks that back then on the carriage, she was really sensitive to sound and presence, while Altelias comments that she doesn't like being called princess. He should please call her Ally. Tsukuru asks Altelias what brings her here today, to which Altelias responds that her personal maid told her about Kana's condition, so she wanted to invite them to some tea and cake in the garden. Altelias urges Kana what she says about her request. Tsukuru supposes that she just ate a whole lot. They go to the garden, and Tsukuru compliments that the garden is amazing. Altelias happily tells Tsukuru that it's regulated with magic, so that it always feels like spring here. Altelias says that it's been a while since she last had tea with someone here, and requests Kana to please have a seat. Kana kindly refuses, and announces that she is a slave after all, and Altelias sadly comments that she sees. Altelias states that until recently she often drank tea here with Dolce, and Kana, Dolce was always playing ball, and once broke the tree's branch, and got scolded by the housekeeper. Kana agrees, and says that she remembers. Tsukuru and Ali are sitting, each holding a cup of tea. Tsukuru is not drinking his tea. Ali confusingly asks if he does not like black tea, to which he replies that he likes it. He says that it has a clear aroma and is pleasant to the mouth, and as he pretends to drink it, says that it's really delicious. While smelling the tea, Tsukuru thinks about if there wouldn't be any poison in it. He goes on to think about how this amount won't do him any harm, but a normal person would die on the spot. He discovers that only the rim of his cup is poisoned by alkaloid poison. Tsukuru begins to think about who did it, and if it was Ali who invited them there. Or did she order a maid to do it, or did the maid act on her own? Ali asks Tsukuru how his investigation is going, to which he replies that he has only talked to Rotten so far. He tells her that he looked at the report, but honestly it didn't help him at all, and she says that she thought so. She says that the report doesn't include the testimony of the 4 people who came here yesterday, and that her father, Rotten, and Goliath were not here that day, so they couldn't testify. She says that, however, before Dolce was killed, she heard him talk with someone, and that she is certain he did. She goes on to say that the other person talked quietly, so she is only certain of 2 things, that it's a man and that she heard the sound of armor clanking, and soon after that, he got killed and it got chaotic. Tsukuru says that nobody told him that, to which she responds that she said it to the knights making the report. She cryingly says that they didn't want to write it down, and they said there was no way she could hear through the thick door, that she heard wrong, and she goes on to say that there's no way she would mistake the voice of Dolce. Ali continues crying, to which Tsukuru thinks, now what? He thinks about how she has sharp ears, but that she might also be lying because she noticed that the poison isn't working. And if it wasn't Ali who prepared the poison, then who? He looks at her maid with suspicious eyes. Baze appears and asks if Tsukuru called for him, and Tsukuru agrees. He tells Baze to investigate Ali's personal maid. Altelias remembers past events about her, Dolce and Kana, as Dolce says to Altelias that he is throwing now. He tells her to please catch it, while Kana arrives and says Dolce's name. Kana tells Dolce to not force Altelias to do this, and says that she will play with him, which makes Dolce happy. Altelias smilingly thinks that Kana seems more like his big sister than she does, but just then, a tree branch Dolce is on breaks, and he falls down. Altelias and Kana nervously ask him if he is hurt, to which he says that he is fine, and that the tree is, but before he could finish his sentence, someone asks them what they are doing, and Dolce scarily says that it's the maid. Hannah approaches Ali and tells her that she brought some tea to Kana's room, but she said she didn't want any, to which Altelias says that she sees. She asks her to prepare tea for 3 in the garden, and that she should bring a lot of sweet confections that Kana likes. Altelias says that she will go talk to her, to which Hannah replies that as she wishes, and then Altelias goes to Kana's room and greets Tsukuru. Tsukuru says, let's go in chronological order. On the day of the incident, Dengaro left the town together with Rotten, Goliath, and his subordinates. Tsukuru further says that at the same time, Kana was outside the mansion cleaning the castle walls, and after a stranger informed her about the incident, she rushed to Dolce, but when she arrived, the culprit was already gone. Tsukuru continues to say that there is also the sloppy report, the maid that tried to poison him, and those guys that tried to attack Kana and him. Kana is now being chased by some monsters, and scarily screams that master, she hates him. About 1 hour earlier, Kana responds to Tsukuru that excuse me master. Kana is wearing a witch dress, which regulates body temperature and increases magic power, alongside a staff of the sage which increases fire magic, and an anti-poison cloak which is poison resistant, and tells Tsukuru that she feels a bit weird walking around like this. Tsukuru asks Kana if she didn't say she would do everything to get stronger, and thinks that he made this equipment for her, to which Kana replies that she knows, and hesitantly ends up agreeing. Tsukuru states that while he lets Baze investigate, they will focus on her leveling, and they are going to Balf's Forest, and in response, Kana shockingly questions what, and if Balf's Forest isn't a super dangerous place, it isn't a place they can just go. Tsukuru carries Kana while using haste, as she gets terrified. Now at present, they are in Balf's Forest. Kana is dodging the monsters, and Tsukuru informs Kana that she can't defeat them by dodging alone, to which Kana responds that even if he tells her. But before Kana could finish her sentence, she falls down and is in pain. A monster was about to attack her, but Tsukuru slashes the monster in half. He then asks Kana if she really wants to become stronger. Kana cryingly replies to Tsukuru that it's impossible, she can't even fight a field mouse, and now to suddenly fight monsters over level 200 is just, but before she finishes her sentence, Tsukuru comments that he sees. Tsukuru announces that it is over then, to which Kana confusingly questions about it. Tsukuru starts walking away from her and Kana calls on him. Kana remembers of Dolce's death and angrily screams no way. Kana uses fire javelin on the monsters as she kills them. The status plates read that she has leveled up. Kana shockingly yells that she did it, the level ups don't stop, and she can't believe she defeated such a strong monster. Tsukuru tells Kana that it had 1 hit point left. Kana asks Tsukuru if he did that on purpose, to which Tsukuru replies that they are far from finished though, and Kana stands there in shock. Tsukuru makes her battle more monsters and mentions if she takes damage, he has got some recovery food prepared. Kana turns around to see and shouts that she hates him. Tsukuru is carrying Kana back to the mansion and thinks that Kana has been running around almost the whole day. When they get back to the mansion, he will give her some recovery food and Baze should be back too. Tsukuru further thinks, but before that, he should conceal her status while a guard from a distance sees Tsukuru carrying Kana and screams hey. The guard approaches them and inquires if something happened to Kana, to which Tsukuru says that he trained her in a nearby dungeon. She is just sleeping, and in reply, the guard responds that he sees her level went up as well. The guard sadly explains that ever since that incident, she lamented her own weakness and he is glad she is training hard. Tsukuru asks the guard what he is doing, to which the guard replies, he heard that there's a bear roaming the streets, so he has been on patrol since yesterday. The god happily exclaims that he is sure Tsukuru is hungry and he will treat him at his favorite place. Tsukuru kindly refuses and tells him not to worry. The guard states that today there were many people from the slums wandering around. They might just aim to pick off travelers, but they better be careful. Tsukuru supposes that there might be something off about this guy, while Kana suddenly wakes up and excitedly asks if it is time for dinner. They go to a diner and Kana has juice with her food, while the guard has alcohol with his food, and Tsukuru sits there in shock. The guard inquires Tsukuru what's wrong if he is not hungry, to which Tsukuru explains to him that he just wasn't sure if a guard on patrol should really be drinking. The guard angrily asks what man could call himself a knight if he can't swing a sword after having a drink, while Tsukuru thinks that he is too loud, and the guard continues to say that a true knight can handle any amount of alcohol. Suddenly, the guard bursts into tears. The guard apologizes to Kana and announces that because they were not around, Dolce died and they blamed her. He shouldn't have volunteered to accompany the Count to the beast-human meeting, and if he were by Dolce's side, he would have cut down anyone who would dare to harm him. Tsukuru questions the guard if all decent knights are working under Dengaro, to which the guard answers that's wrong. The guard explains that from the knight squad, Rotten and he went with some of their subordinates. The third squad leader, Gibbon, stayed with his squad and half of theirs, and in addition, Count Abu's employs a lot of talented magic knights. The guard cryingly exclaims that how on earth did Dolce slip past them all and got outside alone. Tsukuru then thinks that there were a lot of knights at the mansion, and it's impossible to know who was talking with Dolce. The guard tells them that it's dangerous, so he will accompany them back to the mansion. As they get to the mansion, Baze is waiting for Tsukuru and comments that it was expecting him. Tsukuru inquires Baze if it found anything, to which Baze replies indeed. Baze requests Tsukuru to see it with his own eyes, and the room darkens. Kana shockingly exclaims that the room has changed, and Baze informs this place is a virtual space that recreates what it has seen with its own eyes. Tsukuru shockingly questions, what is that? It's an image of a woman, to which Kana says that this lady is Dockham's wife, and Baze agrees. Baze mentions this space recreates Dockham's home office, the scrapes on the papers, and the dust at the back of the furniture are all the same. Baze further mentions that here is what they are looking for. A drawer opens up and a letter starts floating. Tsukuru catches the letter as he says a letter for Dockham and sees that it's from iRefusal. He has never heard of the name. Tsukuru opens the letter and starts reading it alongside Kana. Kana confusingly comments Dockham's name while Tsukuru stands there in shock. Kana reads from the letter that states, he entrusted the disposal of that cunning fox child to someone, and with how much they have contributed, he swears that he will make them a baron sometime. Kana announces this is Kitsune and asks could it mean Dolce, but before she finishes, Tsukuru praises Baze that he is impressed that it can find such essential evidence, to which Baze responds that guards and locks are meaningless for information that can be salvaged and erased. Baze hands Tsukuru a letter and informs this is the real sealed letter. Kana confusingly asks if Dockham wasn't angry at her because she couldn't save Dolce, and if Dockham knew the real culprit and arrested her, while Tsukuru pats Kana on her shoulder. Tsukuru tells Kana to calm down. It is a common story that an idiot who was dangled by a baron's bait would withdraw to his master's house. Tsukuru inquires Kana if she knows anyone named I Refusal, to which Kana replies that she believes he is a count. She doesn't know much about the upper classes, but she is sure they had a lot of interaction and friendship with the DIABLO'S family, and that's why it would be ridiculous that they would aim at Dolce's life. Tsukuru assumes that he needs more information and calls Baze again. Baze comments that his wish is its command and leaves from there. Kana urges if this is a dream. Kana states that perhaps Altelia's is also in danger, to which Tsukuru replies that he can't say for sure right now. Tsukuru thinks if they are also aiming for Ali's life, then she would have been poisoned at the same time as him, and if Ali is not being targeted, or she is already in someone else's hands. Tsukuru further thinks that as long as they don't know how much influence I Refusal and Dokkum has, then no one can be trusted, as the only person that could be said to have nothing to do with this is Dengaro, the one that was insulted in a letter for Kana and Dokkum. Tsukuru informs Kana that he will go look into it a little bit, so she shouldn't open the door if someone other than him comes, to which Kana agrees. Tsukuru thinks that Ali noticed his presence, concealment, and camouflage when he was wearing a hermit coat, which becomes unrecognizable to those of lower level. As Tsukuru walks by a window, he hears birds chirping, and realizes that it's morning. Tsukuru hears someone outside the mansion as he sees people. The person yells that they should tighten their grip and skillfully swing their sword, while Tsukuru wonders if these guys are the knights. Tsukuru sees a group of guys training, and thinks that it's like practicing for the sports club. Tsukuru overhears two trainees' conversations, as one of the trainees comments that Captain Gibbon is too strict, and he wanted to be under Captain Rotten or Captain Goliath. They says that he is desperate, because he doesn't want to lose to the other two captains. Furthermore, on the day those two were absent, something like that happened to Dolce-sama. The other one mentions that Messiah must be disappointed as Dokkum got promoted, and his group took over Kana, the only daughter became a slave. He further mentions that some say Messiah's death wasn't an accident, but he was removed by Dokkum. A third trainee tells him to keep quiet. He can hear him even from here, and if he is heard by Dokkum's servants, he will be reported and dismissed. The third trainee questions them if they have heard the Adventurers Guild started selling onigiri. He heard it's amazing, to which Tsukuru smiles. Tsukuru is walking in a hallway, and supposes it seems that there are more people attached to Dokkum than he thought. Tsukuru then sees a boy in the hallway. Tsukuru thinks that Dolce was always absorbed in playing ball, that he broke a tree branch once. Tsukuru asks the boy if he is Cloud. The boy screams to his mother and runs away, while Tsukuru assumes that can't be. Outside, Ali greets good morning to Tsukuru. Tsukuru greets back to Ali and inquires who is that. Ali tells Tsukuru that she is Rotten's wife, Alicia, and this is Cloud, their son. Cloud bows before Tsukuru as he states that it is nice to meet him, and his name is Cloud Rotten. Ali says that after Dolce's death, he often comes to cheer her and her father up. Ali then tells Tsukuru that Alicia is the niece of her father's friend, Count I Refusal, and in response, Tsukuru shockingly thinks the name I Refusal. After that, Ali says that they are going to have breakfast, and mentions that she also sent in a maid to call Sumeragi-sama and Kana over, and asks Tsukuru if he also wants to join them. Meanwhile, Tsukuru wonders what is the meaning of this. I Refusal sent a letter to Dokkum concerning the assassination of Dolce. His niece, who is the wife of Rotten, and her child visit the DIABLO'S family regularly after the incident, so he questions if they are really just coming to cheer up Ali and her family. Baze appears behind Tsukuru, and then Ali turns around and asks if there was something, to which Tsukuru replies that it must be her imagination. Ali further asks Tsukuru if he would like to explore a little, to which Tsukuru responds that the princess, the knight's wife, and children are very close to each other. It's kind of like a master and a servant relationship, and urges if she didn't say that. Ali says that the Rotten family is the first branch of the DIABLO'S family, and he has been the leader of the knights for generations. Tsukuru thinks that, in other words, these are the closest relatives of the DIABLO'S family, and Rotten or Cloud would be a good candidate for inheritance if there were no children in Dengaro. Tsukuru states maybe there is a future where Ali and Cloud get married and take over the DIABLO'S family, to which Alicia comments that's right. Cloud refuses and explains that he is not well educated as the mansion and Dolce. He is afraid, he is shorter and younger than the princess, and he is still a kid. Ali laughingly mentions if he became a nice man after 10 years, her dad might admit it, but she can't, to which Cloud requests Ali not to make fun of him anymore. They enter into a hall, as they are met by Dingaro, and Ali greets him good morning, to which Dingaro asks if Altelia's is also having breakfast now. Ali inquires Hannah, "What about Kana?" to which Hannah replies that she went to Kana's room, but there is no response, and in return, Ali comments that it is okay. The sword tells Tsukuru that it does not think they can kill Kana now, to which Tsukuru responds that Kana is already weak enough to be killed by a maid, and when Kana is killed, he can tell by sign, while Ali orders Hannah to go back to work, and Hannah replies understood. Holding a glass flask, Hannah mentions that she will pour for Tsukuru. Tsukuru notices that Ali's cup has averolent, which is non-toxic, but his cup has alkaloid-based poison substance. Tsukuru then intensely gazes at Hannah. Ali states that it's better to have Kana as well, and questions Tsukuru what happened, to which Tsukuru responds to her that nothing happened. Dingaro announces, now that he has relatives, it's okay to talk now. Dingaro inquires, what about the progress of the investigation, to which Alicia shockingly urges what? Dingaro explains that Rotten didn't say anything about it, so he is leaving the re-investigation of the Dolce murder case to Tsukuru, and Alicia asks if he is sure. Alicia says that she is sorry she came to play at such a difficult time without knowing anything, to which Dingaro replies to her that they are very encouraging for him and Altelia's. Alicia happily exclaims that she is glad. She wondered what to do if the mansion and the princess were offended. Tsukuru responds that he can't say nothing, the investigation is still going on, and it's just a clue or a chest after all. But Dingaro asks how. Tsukuru further says that he can't say anything now, to which Dingaro comments that's it, as expected. Tsukuru is walking in the hallway, and Cloud runs after him while telling him to wait a minute. Cloud inquires Tsukuru if there is anything he can do in the investigation of Dolce's murder case, and Tsukuru asks him what his mother says. Cloud utters that it's different. When he grows up, he will be a knight who serves the DIABLO'S family like his father, so he is doing physical training and sword training every day, because protecting the DIABLO'S family is the purpose he was born with. Cloud goes on to say that Dolce and Ali have been kind to him since he was little. He really admires them as a real brother and sister, so if there is a criminal who killed Dolce and condemned at a servant and escaped, he can't forgive him. Cloud sadly explains that maybe Altelia's is also being targeted. For Dolce who died, he has to protect Altelia's, and he is sure Dolce hopes that too. Cloud then comments that he knows he is weak, but before he finishes his sentence, Tsukuru tells him to cheer up, he can do that. Cloud shockingly questions, what? To which Tsukuru responds that's right. He thinks he should stick to Ali and protect her. Cloud agrees, as he announces that he will protect his life, even if he replaces Altelia's, and thinks just like his father. Tsukuru goes back to the room and finds Kana sleeping. Tsukuru asks Kana how long she plans to sleep and informs her that they are going to settle shop. Kana urges if it is Tsukuru and says that she has been waiting for him. They are now at Settle's shop, and Settle states that he wants to tell them another Settle story, while Naya questions if it is Tsukuru. Naya asks that in the meantime, if the story gets longer, can she give Kana a look at her cute clothes, and exclaims that her outfit is fluffy and good in quality, but it's like a Grim Reaper dress which does not suit Kana. Settle then declares that the performance is good. Tsukuru asks Settle if it is okay to leave Kana here. Tsukuru informs Settle that he is going alone for an investigation, so he should take care of Kana for a while, to which Settle agrees and tells Tsukuru that he will take care of Kana, so he should not worry. After that, Tsukuru explains to Baze that he knows Kana would have fainted again if she had seen this. Baze announces that it's dirty, sick, and ice as Tsukuru sees 3 bones and asks if it is human bones, if it is the bones of the executioner who killed Dolce, to which Baze answers that it is not sure about it. Baze explains that it's the same as the rest of the beast people at the scene of Dolce's murder, and he wonders if they were killed somewhere else and carried here and eaten by monsters. Tsukuru asks if it is a race to obliterate the evidence and exclaims that however, there is no evidence other than the bones. Baze comments, in that case, please leave that to him. Tsukuru goes back to Settle's shop as Naya welcomes him back and tells Kana that she is in trouble because everything looks good on her and inquires Kana if it is easy to move in these clothes. Tsukuru orders Kana to start wearing it now, which makes Kana shocked, while Naya mentions that it's 1 million gold and asks if it is okay, to which Tsukuru questions if isn't this expensive. Tsukuru then tells Kana that he hopes she is happy with this clothes because he bought it, but she didn't wear it. Kana replies that it's an important outfit that he bought for her, so she thought she shouldn't get it dirty. Kana says that she will wear it only for special occasions, it's a treasure. When they are walking, a group of guys surround them. They snatch Kana's clothes and destroy them. One of them asks if he is Tsukuru, and she is his slave right, and announces that he has no grudge against them, but now they are going to die. Tsukuru thinks that here we go, and orders Kana to go back. Kana angrily shouts at the guys that she can't forgive them. How dare they ruin the important clothes that Tsukuru bought for her. Kana attacks them while swearing. One of the guys scarily questions, "What is this woman?" and Kana responds that she is an amateur. Kana uses fire javelin on them, and they scream in fear. Kana goes on to use tree magic on them. Tsukuru compliments Kana that she did well, to which Kana inquires him why were they targeted. Tsukuru explains to Kana that because they are investigating the case, sealing her mouth is also a purpose. The day he bought her, he was attacked by another guy, and there was also poison in the tea that was served in the mansion. Baze appears out of nowhere and hands Tsukuru a letter. Tsukuru states that now the evidence is ready and they should return to the mansion. Holding a paper, Tsukuru tells Kana that the evidence is now complete. Tsukuru further tells Kana that they should return to Abu's family's residence. As they are in a room, Dokkum storms in and asks is it true that the true culprit of Dolce's murder case has been found. Goliath shouts at Dokkum that he is in the presence of the Lord, and Dokkum brushes it off. Tsukuru smilingly questions Dokkum, how is the injury from his beating? Dokkum annoyedly comments why he and viciously stares at Kana. But Kana closes her eyes and looks at the ground. Goliath calls the Lord and the princess, the captains of the night squads Rotten, Gibbon, and himself, the leader of the magicians Dokkum, and the maid Hannah, and says that now everyone has gathered. Tsukuru inquires Rotten where his wife and son are, to which Rotten replies that since his son wants to be princess's guard, he let him partake in the night squadron's training, if he would rather have him here then. But Tsukuru tells him that it's fine, and Rotten stands there in shock. Ali urges Tsukuru if they can listen to Dolce's story, to which Tsukuru announces that first things first, he will have her vow that she will not regret what she is about to witness, and Dingaro comments that as long as he can learn the truth, he shall vow as well. Tsukuru orders the captains to not let anyone get nearby, to which they agree. Tsukuru conjures up Baze while saying that now then. Everyone in the room gets shocked to see a monster of this level. Gibbon yells to the Lord that this guy summoned a monster. Gibbon tells the princess that it's dangerous and she should stand back, while Ali mentions that she has felt this presence a number of times, so it is not something dangerous. Baze thanks Ali for understanding and says that it is Tsukuru's subordinate, Baze, and this time by its master's command. Baze goes on to say to him, and Dolce appears. Ali is in shock and asks if it is truly Dolce. Tsukuru informs Ali that it is Dolce's soul that Baze summoned using its skill. Tsukuru states that she cannot touch it, and Ali comments that such a thing is. Before Ali finishes her sentence, Tsukuru yells to prove that it is Dolce's soul. Try asking it a question that he can't answer, and she can make him speak. Ali inquires Dolce the color of the ball that he used to play with in the courtyard, if he remembers it. Dolce's soul responds that it was bright green colored, it was the same color as Kana's hair ornaments, so he remembers it. Ali explains to Dolce that is correct, and then asks him what the name of his and Altilia's late mother is, to which Dolce answers that it was Monica Abu's. Ali confirms it is him, and Dolce calls onto his father and sister. Dolce tells them to please forgive him for leaving them behind so early. Dingaro then tells Dolce that he is sorry he should have not left his side that day, and apologizes for not being able to protect him, if only he was killed instead. Dolce calls his father and sister again, and requests to them to be strong. He wishes for them to live long in his stead, and even in this pitiful state of his, he hopes that they will do as he wished. The captains and Dokkum are all in shock, and they are shouting Dolce's name. Tsukuru announces that he is sorry to break this touching reunion of theirs, but can they move along? Dingaro replies forgive him, and please continue. Tsukuru calls Dolce, and asks him if Kana over there killed him, to which Dolce answers that it was not her. Dolce goes on to say that the ones who killed him were a group of 3 unknown men. When he was heading to Kana, those 3 men surrounded him, and they left the scene right after they assaulted him. Dolce further says that Kana tried her best to save him, while Kana starts crying. Dolce continues to say that he lost her consciousness in his hands, and he does not know what happened after that. Dengaro shouts to Tsukuru that those 3 people were, to which Dokkan tells Dengaro to wait a moment and questions if he chooses to believe this suspicious thing which he summoned, as he could be trying to deceive them. And in reply, Dengaro angrily announces that he is talking to Tsukuru right now. Tsukuru mentions that he is certain those 3 were the guys from the slums. Dengaro yells that the slums, he says, and orders Goliath to immediately go to the slums. But Tsukuru suggests Dengaro to listen till the end when someone's talking. Tsukuru declares that those guys are no longer in the slums, nor in this town, to which Dengaro asks if they ran away, but Tsukuru disagrees. Baze then conjures up 3 men. Dengaro comments this person was the one that called him to the crime site that day, and asks if he wasn't the man who testified that he witnessed Kana's crime during the trial. Dengaro angrily takes out his sword and shouts that they killed Dolce. Tsukuru tells Dengaro that it's useless, these guys are already dead. Even if he were to slash with a sword, nothing will happen. Dengaro screams that it's like Tsukuru said, but he can no longer calm this wrath of his. For the true murderers to have died already, it's just. But before he finishes his sentence, Tsukuru comments, let's move on. Tsukuru announces that as requested, he has found out who the perpetrator behind Dolce's murder case is, to which Ali shockingly mutters the word perpetrator. Ali states that he shouldn't tell her that there's more people involved in Dolce's murder besides these 3. Tsukuru inquires Dolce that in front of Ali's room, who told him that Kana was waiting for him outside the walls. Tsukuru then questions the 3 murderers, who ordered them to murder Dolce. Tsukuru tells Dolce and the 3 guys if that person is here, then they should point their fingers on that person. They all point at Gibbon, while Gibbon stands there nervously. Gibbon says that he doesn't know anything about this and requests the Lord to believe him because this is all part of his plot. Rotten explains to Gibbon that they will listen to his story later. Gibbon questions them why do they trust Tsukuru and not him, and exclaims this is a total misunderstanding. He didn't do anything. As Gibbon tries to flee, Goliath attacks him from behind. Goliath takes him down to the ground and Gibbon screams in pain. Rotten asks him if he thinks he can run away. While pinning Gibbon on the ground, Goliath informs him that his attempt to flee just proves his guilt, to which Gibbon responds that it wasn't him who is behind this, he just did what he was told. But before he could finish his sentence, his head explodes. Goliath urges Dokkan what he did, while Dokkan comments that he just pushed him down, and suddenly that happened. Dokkan states that he just tried to capture the murderer of Dolce, and it seems like his aim was off, to which Goliath angrily shouts what? Goliath yells that he already had Gibbon under control, to which Dokkan replies that it takes a while from chanting a spell until it triggers. Goliath tells Dokkan that he could have just stopped his spell, and they don't know if he would have acted violently again. Goliath further tells Dokkan that he sure is stupid. Meanwhile, Baze conjures up Gibbon. Tsukuru explains that because he is dead, this means his soul that Baze summons can't lie, and thanks Dokkan for helping him out, while Dokkan stands there nervously. Tsukuru informs the Count that if he has any questions ask Gibbon, and it's up to him if he wants to listen to the rest. Dengaro calls Gibbon and asks him what he was about to say, who ordered him to kill Dolce. Gibbon answers that it was Dokkan. Gibbon further says that in exchange for assisting with killing Dolce, he promised him a position higher than those of Goliath and Rotten. Dokkan grabs Hannah and warns them not to move. If they step closer, he will blow off her head just like he did with Gibbon. Tsukuru questions Dokkan if he thinks that a maid's life will shield him. Dokkan responds that Tsukuru is the lowest scum that killed a Nobel, sacrificing one maid is a small price to pay, and asks him if he doesn't think so. Ali requests Dokkan to stop it, and exclaims that he shouldn't kill her, Hannah is a kind servant. Hannah calls on the princess, while Dokkan announces that they should do what he says, otherwise. Hannah yells that Ali shouldn't care about her, she is not as good a person as she thinks. Dokkan shouts at Hannah to shut up, not to speak anymore, and grabs her tighter. Hannah screams that this filthy man threatened her and ordered her to kill Tsukuru and Kana. She tried many times but failed, as she calls herself a criminal. Hannah advises Dengaro that they don't need to consider her and they should just kill Dokkan. Dengaro then calls on Rotten and Goliath. Rotten quickly rushes and kicks Dokkan. Rotten injures Dokkan's arm as he falls to the ground. As Dokkan is on the ground, he yells in pain that his arm, and there is so much blood, he is going to die, to which Rotten informs him that he is not going to die quickly like this. Dokkan shouts to Hannah to do something. Dokkan tells Hannah that she knows what will happen if she opposes him. Dengaro swears at Dokkan and comments that he plotted Dolce's assassination. Dokkum says that he is really sorry. Dokkum further says that he killed Jiben by accident because he was scared of getting framed for a crime he didn't do, and it's a trap that this guy framed. Dokkum inquires Dengaro if he really accepts a maid's word and a stranger that summons souls as proof, and exclaims that there is no proof that he is involved in this, they are all being fooled by him. Dokkum goes on to say that there is no point in doing a trial because nobody can trust Tsukuru. Dengaro yells that he keeps blabbering excuses as this won't lead anywhere. Dengaro calls Tsukuru while he is playing with a paper. Dengaro asks Tsukuru why he just plays around in such a situation, to which Tsukuru replies that there is something written on this paper. Ali reads the paper that states it's fairly good handwriting, it's a letter addressed to Dokkum. Dengaro further reads the contents of the letter, good work the other day, his contribution in getting rid of the bunch who killed that sly fox. The letter continues to read that it helps a lot, when the time comes he will make him Baron, and Dengaro angrily says this writing. Dengaro continues to say this got to be from I refusal. Dokkum shockingly urges why does he have this letter? Tsukuru announces that so you admit it. Tsukuru explains that the person behind all of this is Count I refusal. He ordered Dokkum to kill Dolce. Dokkum then let Jiben arrange the crime and lure out Dolce. Dengaro questions Tsukuru if Dokkum did all of this to blame Jiben in the case the murder would fail. Tsukuru further explains that to stage a robbery on Altelia's carriage and kill her, and have someone with blood from the Fusel family take over the DIABLO'S family. Goliath confusingly asks the robbery on the carriage. Ali says that no way, a successor with blood from the Fusel family. Ali further says that there is only one being Cloud. There is a letter which states, to his dear niece Alicia. Rotten breaks down in tears and speaks the names of Alicia and Cloud. Rotten then recalls a memory of him and Alicia, where he tells her to marry him and says that as a knight he won't make her feel lonely or miserable. Rotten further tells Alicia that he knows it's hard for her to refuse, so he will give her a good reason to do, so she should not worry, as such a beautiful and intelligent woman, she deserves better. Alicia grabs his clothes and comments refusing, to which Rotten asks her if she wants to. Alicia blushingly says that after seeing Mr. Rotten's photo. Alicia continues to say that she can meet him all the time, and in return, Rotten states that he will look forward to it. Alicia is holding a baby, and informs Rotten to look, his hair and eyes look exactly like his. Rotten mentions that the shape of his nose and ears are just like hers as well. Alicia happily exclaims that she is really happy to meet him and Cloud. As he is reading the letter titled Dear Alicia, Rotten thinks that how long has she been lying to him. Rotten remembers Cloud entering the room as he is sitting at a table. Rotten asks him what is wrong. Cloud says that Mother says she wants him to marry Alteris and succeed the DIABLO'S family, to which he asks, again, and that he thought he told her it should have been the eldest son, Dolce. Cloud says, exactly, and that he wants to be a knight, not a count, and when he grows up, he wants to become a splendid knight, like him or grandfather, and he will protect the DIABLO'S family, the citizens, and Mother. Tsukuru calls Rotten, and Dengaro asks Rotten, what is the meaning of this? Dengaro asks him if he knows something about this, to which Rotten says no way, and understands that it wasn't a joke. Rotten cryingly says, Alicia. Rotten then dashes away, while Ali screams his name, but Tsukuru tells her to wait. Rotten goes to Alicia and Cloud calls him. Rotten does not respond, and Cloud stands there shockingly. Cloud calls his father again, and Rotten says, Alicia. Rotten asks her if she was in on this as well, and she stands there in shock. He tells her, it's true, and asks her isn't it, and Ali appears shouting Rotten's name. Rotten angrily says that Alicia leaves him no choice, and as a knight of the DIABLO'S family, he has to kill her right here. Rotten takes out his sword and is about to swing it at Alicia, but Cloud jumps in front of Alicia and takes the hit on himself. Cloud gets pushed back and is now laying on the ground, while Rotten stands there nervously. Cloud gets up and says father, and asks him why. Rotten tells Cloud to move away, or he will have to cut him down as well, to which Cloud says he will not. Rotten is getting ready to strike his sword at them, and Cloud says that it's a knight's duty to protect the weak. Ali pleads with Rotten to stop, to which Dengaro tells her to stay away, and that it's dangerous. Seeing his son's face, Rotten drops his sword and apologizes to Cloud, as he drops to his knees. After that, Rotten tells Dengaro that he is terribly sorry, and that he failed to kill his wife. He stabs himself, saying that he will atone for it with his life, while Cloud stands there in shock. Cloud cryingly shouts father multiple times, as he is lying injured on the ground. Dengaro shouts that they should get a healer. Kana then looks at Tsukuru as he signals her to do it. She then dashes towards Rotten's body, while Cloud tells her that it's no use at her level. But then, Kana uses extra heal on Rotten as a bright light appears from the spell. Everyone is shocked by the spell's power and are covering their eyes from the light. Ali says, high-level healing, to which Goliath says that he knew she was training. But wow. Cloud then calls onto his father, and Kana says that he is alright. She says that he is just unconscious right now, while Cloud sits there in tears. As she is looking on, Alicia is called by Dengaro. He says Irie Fusel's name and mentions that her uncle plotted the assassination of Dolce, which shocked her. She quickly bows down and says that she is terribly sorry, and that she only learned of it afterwards. She goes on to say that she only knew after Dolce was dead, and her uncle told her that she has no other choice but to make Cloud the successor of the DIABLO'S family, while Dengaro stands there in anger. Dengaro angrily swears at Irie and tells Goliath to start the preparations for war, and Goliath agrees to this request. Dolce blocks Goliath and asks him to stop. Goliath asks him why, and he replies that war only brings sorrow to people. He says that he doesn't want to see the people from Algeria suffer because of him, and that he did not testify to start a war. Dolce says that when Tsukuru summoned him and told him that Kana was framed wrongly, he came back to save her, and asks his father if he thought the same. Tsukuru says that it's just as he said, in order to save Kana and find the real culprit. Kana cryingly calls Dolce, to which he says that Tsukuru already told him about what happened, and then Dolce thanks Kana. He says that thanks to her hard work after his death, she was able to save Rotten's life, and there is no reason for her to cry, and no reason to apologize. He then requests her to please smile, to which she agrees. Dolce begins to smile too, and says he is glad that he got the chance to say goodbye to everyone. Dolce says that he begs them, the town and the people that he loved, please keep on protecting them. Tsukuru says that he didn't come here because he wanted to. The sword explains to Tsukuru, now then, they have solved the issue. They should go to beat that creepy old man, and that god or whatever already, to which Tsukuru agrees and tells the sword that it's right. Tsukuru states that he guesses this is where he parts ways with Kana. Tsukuru declares that now Kana is free once again. Settle informs Kana that they have already prepared new clothes for her, while Kana stands there in shock. Settle then hands Kana the new clothes. Kana shockingly announces that she thought they were damaged during the assault, to which a young girl tells Kana that Tsukuru said he fixed and enhanced her clothes. Back at the mansion, Dengaro explains to Tsukuru that he has his most sincere gratitude for this matter. Dengaro further says that they were able to capture Dokkum and the 20 people that worked with him, so thanks to him, they removed nearly 20% of vassals from the DIABLO'S family. Dengaro continues to say that Rotten left his position as punishment because his wife got involved with the assault, while Tsukuru comments that there's no way they could have gone to war like that. Dengaro replies to Tsukuru that they won't. Even Dolce asked him not to do it, but he will report their evil deeds to the royal family. However, with only the complaint he sent, he is afraid they can't do much. Dengaro then mentions that man already had a lot of bad rumors floating around from way before, and he will find some more evidence if he looks into it. Tsukuru asks Dengaro if he is saying that he should go and gather the evidence, to which Dengaro answers with a yes. Dengaro announces that he would like to borrow Tsukuru and Bezdono's power once again. The reward will be 30 million gold. The sword informs that with 30 million, he can get a house or a ship with that, and Tsukuru states that they also won't be risking their lives and money going to war. Tsukuru agrees to Dengaro's request, to which Dengaro stands there excitedly. Dengaro happily comments that he will leave it to him. Tsukuru hands Dengaro some papers, and Dengaro questions what is this, to which Tsukuru responds that these are evidence of Erich Fusel running illegal trades, illegally selling slaves, and smuggling drugs. Dengaro inquires Tsukuru if he can use time manipulation magic by any chance, to which Tsukuru replies that Bez helped him confirm and identify his handwritings, so they took everything they found. Tsukuru happily exclaims that with this they have completed his request, to which Dengaro tells him that he is right. Tsukuru excitedly thinks about the money owed to him. Tsukuru mentions that by the way, about Kana, and Dengaro responds to Tsukuru that they have already prepared everything. Her room was left as it was before, so that she can come back anytime. Dengaro further says that Altelias has always been longing for her return. After that, Ali holds Kana's hand and welcomes her back, to which Kana with a smile on her face thanks her very much. Ali urges Kana if she isn't tired, if she doesn't want some tea and snacks, and announces that she will have to finish her procedure for returning to work first. Ali tells Kana that her father should be inside the guest room, and all she has to do is sign the paper. They enter the room, and Ali happily calls to her father. Kana vows before Dengaro and asks to be excused. Kana then declares that she would like to follow Tsukuru. Tsukuru confusingly stands there while Ali inquires Kana what she is saying. Tsukuru informs Kana that there's no point in bringing her with him now that the contract is nullified, to which Kana comments in that case he should make her his slave once again. Kana announces that Tsukuru will be all alone if she stays in this city. Kana further says that Master often has a cold and lonely feeling in his eyes, just like her when she was framed and helpless, so she is worried of leaving him all by himself. Kana requests Tsukuru to please let her go with him. Tsukuru questions Kana if she even knows what he is planning to do, to which Kana replies to him that she doesn't, but she knows it's something scary. Tsukuru further asks Kana if she is still willing to follow him, to which Kana answers with a yes. Kana confidently says that even if they are going against the world or God, she wants to stay by her master's side, and requests him to please allow her to use this life that was saved by him to serve him. Tsukuru urges if Ali is fine with this, to which Ali inquires him what he is saying. Ali angrily yells that Kana is offering her everything to him, so he shouldn't humiliate a lady's resolve. Dengaro smilingly exclaims that just like his late wife, she said she will never leave his side. Tsukuru explains to Kana that she is coming back there the moment she drags him down, to which Kana agrees, and Ali happily wishes her good luck. Dengaro tells Ali that it will lead to a problem, and Ali responds that he is right. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. It is Goliath, as he pardons himself for the interruption, and mentions that he has brought Hana with him. They planned on giving him her in exchange for Kana. Tsukuru inquires what is the meaning of this and states that she tried to kill him, just so they know, to which Dengaro replies that he has heard all about it from her. Dengaro further says that she is but a poor little girl, Dokkum took her sister hostage, and it wouldn't be wrong to call her a victim as well. Dengaro continues to say that she indeed tried to poison Tsukuru, so she committed a crime, but thinking from her background, they decide to give Tsukuru her and he should think of this as her punishment. Ali informs Tsukuru that she begs him she had no choice, she had to do it for her own sister. And in response, Tsukuru thinks about Hana's sister. Tsukuru asks Kana what she thinks, to which Kana confusingly urges she. Kana gets lost for words and thinks about Hana as a person who attempted murder. Tsukuru declares that he refuses, she should work in a cruel place until she dies. Kana states that maybe she will become helpless, just like how she was, all because of Dokkum's fault, and she doesn't want something like that to happen. Kana further states if Tsukuru doesn't want it, then she will buy her, and she will look after her as someone who is also working under the Abu's family. Tsukuru responds that he will let her follow him, while Ali and Kana stand there happily. Tsukuru tells Hana that she will only move under his orders and questions her if there are any problems, to which Hana replies that there are no problems. Hana announces that she swears with her life. At Settle's shop, Settle comments to think that Tsukuru will make Kana a slave again, to which Tsukuru responds that it's only for appearance. Settle informs Tsukuru that he is warning him that violence and impossible orders are crimes. He should contact him regularly, and if something happens to Kana, he will. But before he finishes his sentence, Tsukuru nervously says that he knows, and he won't do anything. Settle tells Tsukuru to be careful when he heads out. He can get what he needs in his shop, to which Tsukuru states that's fine. Tsukuru then mentions that there's still something he needs to do, prompting Ali, Hana, and Kana to stand there in wonder. Dengaro asks Tsukuru if he can ask for one more thing, and says that it's about his soldiers. Dengaro further says that with their small number and Rotten stepping down, they have very low morale, and having only the captain and Goliath to lead them will be difficult, so he does not plan on attacking anyone. But he has people to protect as well. Dengaro then tells Tsukuru that he would like him to teach them his skills. Dengaro pleads with Tsukuru to bring Rotten back. On the other side, Rotten is in a room while Cloud knocks on the door and informs Rotten that grandmother brought his meal, but Rotten does not respond. Cloud calls on his father again while opening the door and sees Rotten's head down in sadness. Suddenly, Cloud hears a knock at the door. It is Kana, Hana, and Tsukuru. Tsukuru questions Cloud where Rotten is, to which Cloud replies that he is in his room upstairs. Tsukuru begins to head upstairs. Tsukuru angrily kicks the door open, while Rotten sits there confusingly. Rotten calls Tsukuru's name, and Tsukuru explains to him that Dengaro wants him to train the knights, as they are too weak. Tsukuru grabs Rotten by his shirt, and angrily yells that he should help train his subordinates, while Rotten urges if he means at his lord's place, and states that he has already stepped down from his position. Tsukuru shouts not to give him that nonsense. Tsukuru starts dragging Rotten by the shirt, while Cloud stands there nervously and calls to his father. Kana informs Cloud that it is okay. Kana happily tells Cloud to trust her master. Outside, a group of knights cryingly requests Rotten to come back. Rotten replies to them with a no, to which they cryingly respond that they can't do anything without him. It's too much for them. Goliath sadly explains to Rotten that with both him and Gibbon gone, he is the only one left, so they really need his help. Goliath then informs Rotten that both the princess and the lord are waiting for him, to which Rotten mentions that Dolce was killed because he wasn't good enough, so he is not qualified to serve the DIABLO'S family. Kana tells Tsukuru that maybe he should say some, but before she finishes her sentence, Tsukuru inquires why. Tsukuru angrily asks why he has to deal with these Ryajuas, and announces that he was literally thrown into the forest, while this old man is over there fidgeting while living a good life, and his childhood friend was the only one who even tried to help him, to which Goliath informs Tsukuru in that case. Goliath continues to inform Tsukuru that he doesn't have to come back. Tsukuru explains to Rotten that he will let him learn his skills, and he can teach the others. He is sure he can do that much, and calls Rotten former captain. Tsukuru then tells Rotten and Goliath that they are starting the training, so they are going to the Balf Forest right now. At the kingdom of Luke Sandale, capital Sunset, a knight orders a young boy to stand up, as he won't be able to defeat the demon lord in that sorry state. The young boy says that it's not like he wanted to do this, while Ikanos puts her hands over him, and comments the word heal, to which the knight shouts to shut up. The young boy then thanks Ikanos. Ikanos thinks that they were brought into this world out of nowhere and trained like crazy every single day, and she doesn't get why they have to fight the demon lord. Suddenly, Ikanos falls to the ground, to which a young boy scarily calls her name. The boy asks Ikanos if she is okay, and suggests Ikanos to not push herself. Ikanos states that she is fine, the only thing she can do is heal, compared to everyone else. Ikanos starts to think about Tsukuru, that he is all by himself, while one of the boys comments that again. The boy shockingly urges if she is thinking about him again, while the other boy inquires Ikanos if she has a boyfriend. Ikanos disagrees, and mentions that Tsukuru is her childhood friend. One of the boys happily tells Ikanos that he is sure he will be fine. The boy further tells Ikanos that she should take care of the black bags under her eyes, and a beauty shouldn't show that, to which the other boy agrees. Back in Balf's forest, the night squad is surrounded by monsters. Kana questions Tsukuru if they will really be fine, to which Tsukuru answers that they are soldiers, and he gave them recovery food, so they will be fine. Hana then inquires if she may join the training as well, to which Tsukuru refuses that her training will come later, and they are going to get her sister back, while Hana stands there confusingly. They get to a place, as Tsukuru comments so that's Fusel's house, and wonders if Hana's sister is in there. Hana calls to Tsukuru and asks him if it is really fine to do something like this for her, to which Tsukuru responds that she is important enough for her to attempt murder, so if she is a hostage, they will have to get her back. Hana thanks Tsukuru very much. Tsukuru informs Hana that they should go and uses remove presence disguise skill with race skill. Kana shockingly exclaims that they are gone and questions if it is a warp, a skill, and what she should do. Hana annoyedly states that she is a wolf, while Tsukuru orders Kana to wear this, as the status plate reads that hider's coat, monsters will not detect a user that is higher level than them. As they are walking past the guard, Kana urges if they really can't see them. Looking at Fusel's place, Tsukuru replies that talk about having bad taste, while Kana shockingly comments that he even made a statue of himself. Hana then explains that she has heard about this place from her sister, but it's worse than she thought. Hana inquires Tsukuru where her sister is, but Tsukuru stands there lost for words. After that, Baze informs that Sanya is in the underground cell, and there's no house that it cannot enter. They go underground and find Sanya in a cell, while Hana asks for the keys. Tsukuru responds that he can force it open, and uses monster strength skill. Hana rushes in the cell as she holds Sanya while calling her name, and tells her to wake up, while Kana exclaims that she has some serious wounds, so she should let her heal her, but Tsukuru orders her to wait, because they will detect them if they use magic there. Tsukuru announces that they should get her out of there first. Tsukuru gets a look at Sanya's face and stands there shockingly. Tsukuru calls the name Ayumu, while Kana and Hana stand there confusingly. Tsukuru thinks that from long ago his life was terrible. In the end, the world he lived in and the people call him. One could grab happiness, it will break, grab it and break it. He lost everything. Even the right to live has been stolen from him. Tsukuru further thinks that there was nothing left for him anymore is what he thought. The girl says that he has done it well. She was wondering what would happen at that time. Her dignified world has a nice air again today, and the gentleness of the breeze tickling her cheeks makes her feel good in her world. The girl asks how many years will it take to expel Susanoo Mikoto's life, and states that sometimes she regrets this, but that is what leads to this peace. The goddess tells Oheim na Mikoto to order everyone to repair the space-time wall, to which Oheim replies that she understands, and at this rate this world will meet its end. Goddess thinks that from ancient times in Japan, like a phenomenon called spirited away, a human from a world called Earth sometimes gets summoned in another world. One people or two every few years got summoned is fine, but this time there is 100 who got summoned, and it happened twice, so every time spirited away happens, the separating walls are destroyed. Now the world is in verge of collapsing. She further thinks, even though the collapse of the earth will have a considerable impact on their world, no measures are taken. She exclaims that the god of the other world is rotten. This time the summoning is 108 people. If a large scale of summoning keeps going, the space-time will break, and if the god there doesn't take a countermeasure, she will land a hand. The goddess continues that there's only one who has less influence in the summoning, and she had a lot of trouble. Seems like she has lived a life. As she saw Tsukuru, she says that his hobby is cooking, so let's give them a power related to it, and they should put luck to the maximum, so with this he can survive even when he's in a pinch. Oheim then mentions that more than this, with his current body and spirit, at this rate he can't handle it, so her blessing is that he shall have the right to be released. Even if it is sealed, his power should dramatically go up. The goddess announces that she has been waiting for a long time since then, so now he should please come to her, and then bring punishment to those rotten gods. She says that she will spare no effort to help him, and those who sacrifice her world, perform summoning multiple times, they should make them regret. But then she asks what is she doing, and that they should go to Sidal. Tsukuru gets to a house and comments that he is home. Tsukuru goes into the kitchen and exclaims that this smell, mother's seasoning, is mess up. Tsukuru then states that before everyone gets back, let's secretly fix this. As he is cooking, he gets a call. Tsukuru picks up the call and asks who might this be. Suddenly, Tsukuru drops a spoon he is using and states that accident he said. Tsukuru narrates that a car with 3 people and the truck driving head-on collided with it, even though they are all good people. Tsukuru further narrates that he took over his son and died. He thinks he was raising his friends without any distinction, as they are like a real sibling. Tsukuru continues to say that he wonders what's going to happen to him from now on. Kana then wakes Tsukuru up, but Tsukuru is in tears. Kana informs that Sanya is already awake, to which Tsukuru replies that he sees. Kana shockingly calls to him, to which Tsukuru responds to her that he is okay, there is no need to worry. Tsukuru goes to the room where Sanya is. Kana thanks Tsukuru for saving her little sister, because thanks to him and Kana, she safely got reunited with her sister, and she can't thank them enough. Tsukuru comments that there is no need to thank him, and gives Sanya food while telling her to eat this. Tsukuru uses cooking skill, while Hana and Sanya stand there shockingly. Tsukuru explains this is a food that is easy to digest in his hometown, so it's good for Sanya right now. Both Hana and Sanya thank Tsukuru very much. Sanya happily compliments that it's delicious. Sanya mentions that the rice is so soft and sweet, and he should eat it too, to which Tsukuru replies that he is fine, so she should eat it. Tsukuru thinks that no matter how he looks, she really looks alike, but Ayumu is already dead. Tsukuru further thinks that a cold and full of scratched body he saw with his own 2 eyes. Tsukuru continues to think that since another world summoning exists, then maybe. Tsukuru calls Sanya, to which Sanya questions what is it. Tsukuru inquires Sanya if she knows a country named Japan, to which Sanya confusingly answers that she hasn't heard of it. Tsukuru further inquires if she lives in this country all the time, and if she has a memory or has she been picked up, or always has the same dream or something like a hallucination. Kana tells Tsukuru that they are pretty much together. They are sisters who grew up since they were in her mother's stomach, and they stayed together until they went to the indentured servants of the Inaba family and the Rosal family. To which Tsukuru responds that he sees and wonders if it is really another person in empty sky. Sanya asks Tsukuru why question after question, to which Tsukuru replies to her that it's nothing. Tsukuru apologizes for asking some weird questions and tells Sanya to eat the rice before it gets cold. Tsukuru leaves the room while Kana requests him to please wait. Kana explains to Tsukuru that he has been acting strange since he met Sanya and asks him to tell her the reason. Tsukuru smilingly responds to Kana that he is just surprised. He thought she is someone he knew. Tsukuru mentions that it seems he just misunderstood, to which Kana urges him if that is so. Tsukuru then announces that more importantly they should go to Balf's forest, and Kana comments that's right, Rotten is waiting, so they have to hurry. Kana requests Tsukuru, when the time comes, can he tell her, to which Tsukuru agrees. In the Balf forest, Goliath shouts that everyone should not falter, and if they die, they are dismissed. Suddenly, one of the knights gets injured. Goliath yells that as a knight of Abu's family, they should fight for their pride. They defeat the monster, and all the knights stand there happily. Goliath says that they are grateful to Tsukuru, and with this, everyone's level is over 100, so this time it's their turn to teach their members. And now that they have already defeated a level 140 great bird, there's nothing to fear. Goliath holds Rotten by his shoulder, and happily exclaims when they get back, they should hold a party, as great birds meat is good, to which Rotten agrees to having a party when they get back. They get back to the Abu's mansion, but Rotten stops at the entrance. One of the knights calls on to him, but Rotten responds that his duty ends there. Rotten then explains that all of them survive safely. The house head's desire had been achieved. He can't go through the gate of the Abu's family because of his relatives' wrongdoing to his lord. Rotten smilingly comments that all of them are strong already and they won't need him, to which Tsukuru informs him to not be silly. Tsukuru states that it's not just the knights who have become stronger, also he too. Dingaro approaches them while saying, that is Tsukuru said. Dingaro announces that it's also dangerous to leave a high-level person like Rotten to roam free. Dingaro further says that he can't return him to the core on his will, therefore, a newly established position for him leading the guards of the town has been made, while Rotten stands there confusingly. Dingaro continues to say that somehow these days, there's a bear sometimes shows up, so if he goes around the territory and subdues it, it will help a lot, while Ali informs Rotten to not let his loved ones have anything to do. And in response, Rotten calls on to the princess, to which Ali tells him not to say anymore. Dingaro mentions that him being a person, where he was born, he sees them all from the start, and losing the eggs of a promising knight would be a shame. Goliath shouts at Rotten that since it's house master's word, he shouldn't refuse it. Rotten responds to Dingaro and Ali that they have his gratitude. Rotten bows before them and announces that he will be the house master sword until the day his life is exhausted. Sanya is eating and happily shouts delicious, while the status plates read that she learned strong arm, body strengthening, and acceleration skills, as Sanya compliments that master's food is the best, to which Hana suggests her to mind her manners. Tsukuru comments that the recovery effect is working, but for someone who has been held for so long, she is energetic. To which Hana tells Tsukuru that they are wolf after all. Hana then explains that they have a strong hunger resistance. Even with little food and water they can survive, so fortunately Sanya is not injured. Sanya says that she didn't expect to be taken out while she was sleeping, and if she was awake, she would hit back as many as she could. Tsukuru states that he borrowed everything from the furnishings to the wallpaper in his mansion, so now that Count Abu sent a letter accusing him, it has reached the king. Tsukuru explains to Sanya if she is fine, maybe he should have woken her up, to which Sanya disagrees that as long as Oni-chan gets it back, it's fine. Sanya happily exclaims that from now on, she can eat delicious meals every day, while Hana sits there confusingly. Tsukuru shockingly asks Sanya if she wants to follow him, while Kana tells Sanya if she is in this place, she will be more safe. Sanya questions Tsukuru if he is going to leave her here and comments that it is unfair, to which Hana orders her not to be a spoiled kid. Sanya cryingly begs Tsukuru, to which Tsukuru agrees and states that he can't help it, while Sanya happily thanks him. As they are outside, Ali inquires them if they are departing. Ali informs them that she will be lonely and urges them to visit them anytime, to which Tsukuru replies if he feels like it. Ali smilingly tells Tsukuru to be safe until they meet again, as he has the dagger of the Abu's family. He is already part of their family. Ali proceeds to give Hana and Kana a hug. Ali requests them to come home anytime they want because she cherishes them as her real sisters. They both smilingly agree to her request. Tsukuru then orders them that they should go. Kana questions Tsukuru where they are going now, to which Tsukuru answers that the great forest of Boar, while Kana yells again. Tsukuru announces that first they have to train Hana and Sanya because at this rate they will just hold them back. Tsukuru further announces that to get away from a town of animal ears is a shame, to which Kana responds that it was Fluffy. Hana sees something in the sky and shockingly shouts that it's a great bird. Kana nervously mentions that it should be only in the depths part of the great forest of Balf, but why is it near to a human settlement? Hana then exclaims that it's heading to the city of Algeria. Hana asks if that is a great bird, while Kana yells that she thought it only lives deep inside Wolf Great Forest, and asks why it has appeared near a human village. Hana states that it's going to Arglia City. Hana further states if they let it be, the city will be in danger, to which Kana responds that she will eliminate it. Kana uses wind magic at the bird. After that, Kana uses fire javelin. Kana kills the bird and shockingly shouts that she did it. Kana starts falling from the air, but Tsukuru catches her. Kana thanks Tsukuru, while Sanya compliments that Kana and Tsukuru are so cool. Monsters approach Hana and Sanya from behind, and Tsukuru informs them to look out behind them. Baze traps the monsters and announces that was close, it has taken a look at the surroundings. Baze goes on to say that a lot of monsters have formed a group and are coming this way, to which Kana scarily exclaims that even if Goliath and the others are strong, they still have a limit, and there will be casualties in this city. Tsukuru mentions that he would hate it if those people that he trained were to die from these monsters. Tsukuru orders Kana to get ready, while Kana stands there confusingly. Tsukuru explains that he does not know why they are going to Arglia City, but they are going to intercept them there. Kana informs Hana and Sanya to get behind her back, to which they agree. Kana chants that burn everything into ashes and uses Flame Storm. Hana amazedly praises what strong magic. Tsukuru then kills a great bird with his sword. Hana states that she can fight to a certain extent, but she can't do anything like that, to which Sanya asks her if they would be able to become like them if they train hard enough. Tsukuru shouts out both Hana and Sanya's names. Tsukuru tells them that they need to fight too and it's time for their training, to which they reply that they understood. Tsukuru orders Hana to kill that silver elephant and uses low power skill. Tsukuru yells that he will weaken it, so she should just focus on delivering the finishing blow as he proceeds to use wood magic and dark bind. To which Hana exclaims that she understood. Hana then uses body strengthening, strong arm, Herculean strength, and fleet-footed while saying that there she goes. Hana kills the elephant, but badly injures her arm. Sanya scarily calls her sister's name, while the status plates read that she has leveled up. Tsukuru also calls her name, while the sword explains that because she keeps increasing her power too much, her body couldn't endure it, and laughingly exclaims that a human's body is such a fragile thing. Tsukuru responds to the sword, so it becomes like that when you go too far. Tsukuru approaches Hana and informs her to eat this after using ultimate cooking. Hana is laying on the ground in pain, to which Tsukuru comments that she will die if she doesn't eat it. Sanya quickly takes the food from Tsukuru and tells Hana to hurry up and eat it. Sanya forcefully opens Hana's mouth and stuffs the food inside while telling her to just swallow it. Suddenly, Hana's arm starts healing while Sanya and Hana sit there shockingly. Hana, looking at her arm, announces that it healed. Tsukuru orders Hana to eat the rest of it, while Hana apologizes to him for the trouble, to which Tsukuru states that it was his mistake. Kana menacingly tells Tsukuru that he sure is very kind towards her. Kana then says that he was more Sparta against her, she even had to heal herself, to which Tsukuru mentions that Hana doesn't have healing skills. He had helped her too when she was in trouble. Kana annoyedly announces that's true, but before she finishes her sentence, Tsukuru hands her food and informs her that she should eat this too, there are still monsters to exterminate. Tsukuru states that these are onigiri that can enhance one's stamina, so she should eat them if she can still eat, to which Kana happily responds that she understood. Tsukuru explains to Sanya that her training target is this monster, which is a Slyfuria level 220, and suggests her not to be reckless. To which Sanya agrees and kills the monster. Sanya happily exclaims that she is strong, while Hana tells her that she needs to do this more seriously, otherwise she will get hurt. As they continue fighting with monsters, Sanya replies to Hana that she just hurt her because she is the one who carelessly got wounded. Kana mentions that they are in sync and inquires if it's because they are sisters or because they are just wolves. Tsukuru thinks that they are certainly in sync, but Sanya tends to look away when she's fighting. Not to mention the amount of these monsters. It's abnormal that they are still maintaining their momentum, even though they have disrupted their movement, and orders Baze to investigate about this, to which Baze agrees. Sanya is suddenly attacked by a monster. Tsukuru rushes to Sanya to protect her and gets hurt in the process. Hana kills the monster and shouts Sanya and Tsukuru's name. Kana asks them if they are okay. Sanya says that Master is bleeding, but Tsukuru states that it's just a scratch. Sanya comments that she is sorry he is injured because she let her guard down, to which Tsukuru responds to her that he can heal this level of wound in seconds, and he is glad she is okay. Tsukuru explains to Sanya that there are still monsters to exterminate, so she should keep up her spirit and fight, to which Sanya agrees that she understood. After that, Tsukuru hands them curry, while Kana and Sanya stand there very excitedly. Tsukuru informs that he still has a lot of ingredients, so they should eat as much as they want, while Hana announces that she has also prepared a side dish and a dessert. Sanya exclaims that she wants to eat that too, to which Hana orders her that she can't eat that much. Sanya yells that she hates raw onion, so they shouldn't put it into the food, and Hana tells her not to be picky, while Kana states that she will eat that if she doesn't want to which Sanya praises Kana that she is so kind. Now at the tent, where Hana, Kana, and Sanya are sleeping, Tsukuru uses presence concealment, while the sword questions Tsukuru what is tormenting him. The sword continues to say that ever since he met Sanya, clearly he is feeling unsettled, and it's not like him to get hurt protecting someone. Tsukuru replies to the sword that it's nothing, to which the sword suggests him to remember that it is connected to his mind, so it can tell that his mind is currently screaming in torment. The sword laughingly comments that he has fallen in love with that girl, to which Tsukuru stands there shockingly. Tsukuru angrily yells at the sword that he is not, and he does not look at her that way. Tsukuru further says that she is, but before he could finish his sentence, the sword exclaims that it's just a joke. It simply said that to break the ice, he should not be so agitated, because he will wake them up. The girls suddenly wake up, and Tsukuru draws his sword. Kana asks, what was that presence just now? And Tsukuru rushes out of the tent. Tsukuru shockingly questions Ara, a human tribe, and calls for Bez. Bez then appears, and a female monster inquires Tsukuru if it was him who damaged the forest. The female monster asks Tsukuru if it was him who damaged the forest, to which Bez tells Tsukuru to please run, and that she is, but before it finishes its sentence, it disappears. Tsukuru calls for Bez. The sword tells him that he shouldn't worry, Bez simply retreated into the shadow, also that it can still feel its presence. The female monster says that this wolf forest is their elves' sanctuary and he should atone for his sins for killing monsters and damaging the forest with his life. Tsukuru stands there nervously. The female monster attacks him. He blocks the attack, then asks her what's with her suddenly attacking him, to which the elf woman shockingly says, so he could block that. The female elf questions Tsukuru's defense power and asks him if he is really a human, to which Tsukuru tells her not to ignore him. Tsukuru begins to think that the other three would die if she attacks them. He thinks that he needs to get away from them, whilst the female elf announces that his sins are just that heavy. As Tsukuru is attacking her, he asks what she is saying, and that the monsters are the ones that suddenly attacked them. He says that he was just defending himself. She says that is such a foolish human. She tells him that he could have died without pain. Tsukuru mutters that not only is she flying, but she also has wind magic protecting her, so he can't get close to her, to which the sword tells him to use detail appraisal on her. Tsukuru uses detailed appraisal and finds that she is an ancient elf. She is different from a normal elf, to which the sword says, just as it thought. It says that she is the original species and the progenitor of the elf race, so no wonder Bez couldn't win against it. Then the elf asks Tsukuru if he just did something just now, and if it was an appraisal type skill, to which the sword says that she is a strong one. He is out of luck. But Tsukuru disagrees. Tsukuru begins to think that her level is 100 higher than his. Also, she has second life skill, which he really doesn't understand, so how should he attack her? Then she asks him if he is ignoring her question. She says that it's fine and attacks him, telling him to just die. Sanya shouts Tsukuru's name and wants to go help him, but Kana grabs her hand, telling her not to go. Kana tells her that They are just going to be a burden to him if they go, so they should just wait here and believe in him. The sword tells Tsukuru to stop focusing on defense and he should look closely at his opponent, to which he replies that it doesn't have to tell him. She attacks him, then he falls to the ground. He begins to think that he always ends up like this ever since he came to this world, whilst the sword calls his name, telling him to get up, and Tsukuru says that every single one of them didn't even try to ask about his circumstances. He says that they always do as they please. He gets up, saying that he has decided that he won't die until he has crushed every single one of them, then uses wood magic and dark magic on her. The ancient elf asks Tsukuru if he is still resisting. Tsukuru tries to sneak attack the ancient elf from behind, but she notices him. The ancient elf attacks Tsukuru and tells him that it's futile. There are now many copies of Tsukuru attacking her. The ancient elf says that he is trying to confuse her with illusions. How devious of him. The ancient elf further says that she just has to defeat them all at once. Suddenly, Tsukuru stabs the ancient elf in her chest. As the ancient elf is bleeding, Tsukuru states that she would have won if she could have defeated them all. Tsukuru informs the ancient elf that it's over. The ancient elf falls from the air to the ground, while Tsukuru uses wild instinct. The ancient elf questions Tsukuru if he is not going to finish her off, to which Tsukuru replies that he has fatally wounded her, and he assumes she is still alive because of her second life skill. The ancient elf announces that she didn't expect she would lose to a human, and says that he is correct. She managed to stay alive because of her second life skill. However, if he cuts her down right now, she will die without a doubt. Tsukuru inquires the ancient elf why she is telling him that, to which she answers that to die when one loses, it's the principle of nature. Tsukuru mentions that it looks like she has her own circumstances as well. Tsukuru then informs the ancient elf if only she would have talked like this when they met, he wouldn't have hurt her. The ancient elf starts laughing, while the sword questions what happened if she went crazy, and she comments that she was stepping on a lion's tail. The ancient elf smilingly introduces that her name is Antia, the ancient elf. Antia asks Tsukuru what his name is, to which he replies that it's Tsukuru, and Antia declares that she surrenders to him. Antia tells Tsukuru to do whatever he wants to her, while Hana, Sanya, and Kana look on. Sanya yells at Antia, how dare she hold her master as a hostage, to which Antia happily exclaims what cute ladies, and Tsukuru orders Sanya to wait, but Sanya shouts that she will fight her to the death. Antia smilingly inquires Tsukuru what he is going to do to her, and if he is going to put her in a rampage state, just like those monsters, and hunt her down, while Sanya, Kana, and Hana stand there in shock. Kana questions Antia what she means. Tsukuru explains to Antia that she didn't listen to what he said, and he was going to ask her about that. Bez appears while asking to let it explain. Bez explains that as per its master's order, it has investigated the Great Wolf Forest. Tsukuru asks Bez if it found out who was manipulating those monsters. Antia then questions Tsukuru if those rampaging monsters were not his doing, to which Tsukuru replies if it was their doing, they wouldn't have had to go through all the trouble of hunting them down. Bez says that inside the forest, there were traces of monsters being driven out, and it felt a faint amount of demon's aura. Antia states that certainly some demons have a skill that can manipulate monsters. Bez further says that it wanted to bring the news immediately to its master, but this elf blocked its return. And Antia responds that anyone would find it suspicious if someone is possessing a death spirit familiar. Tsukuru explains to Antia, since they now know that they are not enemies to each other, they should discuss this with cooler heads, to which Antia agrees that he is right. Antia mentions that as an apology for disturbing their sleep, they can come to her elf village. They get to the village and compliment that it is so pretty. But there is a guy laying belly flat on the ground who welcomes Antia home. Antia orders the guy to prepare a room and food for them, to which he replies that he understood, while Kana questioningly comments, he is talking in that position. Suddenly, two kids call Antia's name. They shockingly question if she defeated the evildoers, while Sanya announces that they are cute. Antia tells the kids to not worry, the monsters won't come to the village, so they rest easy and have a good sleep, to which they happily agrees. Antia informs Tsukuru, Hana, Kana, and Sanya to come this way, and says that she wonders when was the last time the human tribe and the beastfolk tribe visited this village, to which Tsukuru asks if it's that rare. Antia replies to Tsukuru that basically the elf village is in a neutral standpoint, they only wish to live peacefully, hence they are rarely involved with other tribes. Antia then states that however, they will act if there are demons involved. Antia further says that not only them, the elves, the human tribe, and the beastfolk tribe would act as well. Tsukuru explains to Antia that she seems to be exaggerating about the demons, and it's only one demon who is causing trouble, to which Antia responds that it's not a simple problem when a demon attacks a human tribe or beastfolk tribe's city. Tsukuru inquires Antia why, and Antia answers that it will be a long story to tell. Antia narrates, this is a story from thousands of years ago. After the event of the Gods' War, the Quadruple Alliance, which consisted of elves, humans, dwarves, and beastfolk, were in a war against the giants and demons. The war went on for several hundred years and ended in their victory. However, one of the 3 great continents was destroyed, and huge casualties were made to all the 6 tribes. Antia continues to narrate, after that war, the giants and the demons, who had lost, were driven out to the eastern great continent that barely remained, and ever since, the Quadruple Alliance has been protecting their land from the giants and demons that are seeking for abundant land. Antia then states that at peaceful times, the Quadruple Alliance has a mutual non-interference pact among each other, but in these past 100 years, the human tribe has started to act suspiciously. Antia further states that they were developing weapons, increasing their magic power and their population. She doesn't know what they are plotting, but if one of the Quadruple Alliance is thinking of waging war, then the peace of this great continent will be threatened. Antia mentions that the other 2 tribes will also use this opportunity to try to expand their claim in this great continent. Antia then informs them, if this demon is the beginning of their assault, then they, the Quadruple Alliance, need to team up quickly and repel the giants and the demons. Antia declares that they cannot let history repeat again. Meanwhile, Tsukuru and his squad gasp at what Antia said. After that, when Tsukuru is sitting, he thinks about what Antia said about the Quadruple Alliance needing to team up. Tsukuru mutters that he couldn't care less about that. Suddenly, Kana calls Tsukuru's name and says that he is awake already. As Tsukuru is staring into the river, Kana questions him if there is something in the river, to which Tsukuru answers that not really. Kana tells Tsukuru that somehow they ended up following Antia to the elf village and being told such big news, and inquires him if he is going to return to Algria, to which Tsukuru responds to Kana that he is not. Kana also asks Tsukuru if he is going to cooperate with Antia, and Tsukuru replies with a no. Kana smilingly announces that she figured as much, he is not someone from this world after all. Kana then explains that she heard it when she was at the prison, that heroes were being summoned to subjugate demon lords that have appeared all around the world. The only hero that wasn't sold was someone who has the same name as Master, and inquires if he is one of the heroes that were summoned from another world. To which Tsukuru comments that she knew about it, and Kana responds that she is sorry for hiding it from him. Tsukuru states then she must have realized too that he is not a hero, to which Kana shockingly questions why. To which Tsukuru replies that he wasn't acknowledged as one, so after being summoned to another world out of the blue, they decided that they don't need a cook who can't even fight, and abandoned him into the middle of Great Wolf Forest. Kana shockingly asks why they would do such a cruel thing, to which Tsukuru answers that he doesn't know, but it wasn't weird at all. Clenching his fist, Tsukuru comments that he went through a living hell. Tsukuru then reminisces that he didn't know how to cast magic nor wield a sword, so he lived in fear from the presence of monsters. He had been bitten and torn apart so many times, but he managed to survive and left the forest. Tsukuru cryingly says that he has no intention of saving the world, and he has been living to this very day to get revenge against the ones who have put him through all this, while Kana stands there in shock. Kana shouts, but he saved her, Hana, and Sanya alongside the people in Algria City. Kana tells Tsukuru that to her, he is a hero as she holds his hand and announces if there are people who have put him through suffering, then she won't forgive them either. Sanya suddenly pops up and jumps on Kana's back while yelling that she won't forgive them either. Tsukuru sees Hana and Antia and mentions that they have been listening, to which Antia responds that she is sorry. Hana declares if what he has said is true, then she also won't forgive them, and Antia smilingly compliments that how envious. He is adored by them, and inquires if she can join too, as she actually has not found her life partner yet, to which Tsukuru questions Antia what she is saying. Antia replies to Tsukuru that she is just kidding, but still, she can't ignore what he said about the hero summoning, and they might be going to the same destination, so let her come with him. Tsukuru stands there shocked at her request. Antia then explains that she is sure her ability and knowledge will be useful to him. Sanya excitedly exclaims that Master is so popular, he is having a harem, while Tsukuru yells at her to stop spouting nonsense. Antia thinks about the hero summoning, that there shouldn't be any enemies that need to be eliminated at the present time, so why would they? After some time, Antia finds Tsukuru and the others and says that the meal is ready. Sanya excitedly exclaims that she is looking forward to eating a meal made by elves. Antia smilingly states that she has made quite a bit, so there's no need to hold back. Showing them a huge insect, Antia mentions that they hunted it solely for their guests and grilled it with all their heart, while Tsukuru, Hana, Kana, and Sanya stand there in shock. The two kids bring Antia food, and one of them comments that she is going to go with them, so she should eat a lot and get enough energy before they go. Antia replies to them that she is just going to see what the humans are trying to do. Antia explains that human lifespan is short, she will be back in 100 years at most, so they should take care of everyone while she is gone, to which the kids agree. And the sword says that she is leaving for 100 years, and yet she is speaking as if she's going for a stroll, and in response, Tsukuru states that it is a sword without a lifespan. Kana nervously asks Tsukuru what they should do and whispers that she can't eat insects. Tsukuru inquires Sanya and Hana if beast folks don't eat insects either, to which Sanya shockingly responds that they don't, while Hana announces that they might eat them if they are starving. Tsukuru thinks that he was abandoned in the forest, so he has eaten a lot of them. Tsukuru murmurs that it can't be helped. Tsukuru happily thanks them for preparing a meal for them and exclaims that as their thanks, let him cook one for everyone as well. The crowd replies that they can't have their guests do that, to which Antia informs them that they should not say that. Tsukuru tells them that they should just think of it as a farewell gift from a cook as he brings a huge monster. A person in the crowd questions if it is an enemy, while another person declares that it's a corpse. That one's shell is so tough, ordinary people can't defeat it, and asks how did he hunt it. Tsukuru smilingly supposes that he could just use dismantle skill there, but he might as well give some service, and uses his sword to start cutting the monster. The crowd stands there in shock. One of them questions how he did that, and exclaims that he is cutting that iron cancer-like paper, while another person inquires what kind of sorcery is this, and what sword is he using. Tsukuru then uses ultimate cooking, and announces that it's done. Two people in the crowd while eating the food praises that it has deep sweetness, and the sauce really goes with the meat. Another two compliments that it is full of flavors, and they did not know they could eat food this way. Kana is also eating the food, and mentions that it's absolutely delicious, while Antia tells Tsukuru that his cooking skill is amazing, to which Tsukuru thanks her. Tsukuru tells Antia that the elf's food looks exciting, to which Antia replies that it just might be compared to his cooking. Tsukuru looks at the insect that the elves cooked, and thinks that they grilled it for too long, so it smells a bit burned. And the flesh is rigid, they should have made it medium rare, that would have made it more creamy, and Hana calls him. Hana informs Tsukuru that her training has finished, and she also heard about his goal, and asks him where will he be going after he leaves the elf village. Kana replies to Hana, the country that performed the hero summoning, to which Sanya smilingly exclaims that it's the human country, Raid Crude Empire, and Hana questions if it's to the south of there, while Antia inquires if they have transportation and a route to get there. Antia explains that they can't get there directly from the Ars Beast Kingdom. The path between those two countries has been cut off, and if they go through the Homan Empire, they have to take quite a detour, but going through the sea is not a good idea either. Antia further explains that going south from Templeton is probably the safest way, and asks Tsukuru what he thinks, but Tsukuru gets lost for words. To which Kana questions Tsukuru if it could be that he doesn't know the geography of this world. Antia announces that she is surprised he managed to escape from the Wolf Great Forest, while the sword says that he was actually going in the opposite direction until it pointed towards the exit. Antia smilingly tells Tsukuru that he is so hopeless. Antia hands Tsukuru a paper and informs this is the map of this continent. Antia then states this continent is largely split into three. The northern area is the Great Forest where elves live. The southern area is where most of the humans live, and the center area is where beast folk and dwarves live. Antia, pointing at the map, further states that their elf village is around there. Argulia is located in the beast folk country, Templeton, and the Raid Crude Empire is where the largest concentration of the human tribe lives. Tsukuru inquires which way should they take to go to the Raid Crude Empire. Hana mentions that she thinks traveling south from the Templeton Kingdom, entering the Ingalls Union, and passing through Luke Sandale Kingdom would be the safest route. Tsukuru thinks Luke Sandale is the country where Ikenos was sold off to. Kana further mentions that beast folk and humans are living together in the Templeton Kingdom, so they have diplomatic relationships with the neighboring countries, and it will be easy to pass through there. As for the human countries, she don't know much as she is a beast folk. Tsukuru questions Kana what she thinks, to which Kana answers she thinks that route is fine. She has entered the Ingalls Union a few times in the past, so it shouldn't be a problem. Tsukuru declares that they should go with that route then. A man suddenly comes while yelling that they have a problem. The man informs that there is something similar to a meteorite falling from the sky. Antia inquires if it is falling in their direction, and one of the kids asks what they should do. Kana comments that she will smash it with her magic, to which Antia responds that she will help her. Antia explains to Kana that they should combine her fire spell with her wind spell, to which Kana agrees and shouts that they should crush it into pieces. After taking it down, Kana excitedly exclaims that they did it, to which Tsukuru disagrees. Tsukuru states that it is not crushed. There is damage done to the forest. Kana mentions if that thing were to fall to the village would have been crushed to bits, while Sanya announces that she is glad it didn't fall there. They hear a strong voice saying that there is nothing to be glad about. Antia angrily screams that she won't forgive him for damaging this forest. There is a giant, and Antia yells Crafton, the ancient giant. Antia shouts that she will not allow anyone to destroy this forest, no matter the cost. Antia tells Tsukuru that it is Crafton, the ancient giant. Crafton laughingly informs Antia that long time no see, and she is still so small that he can hardly see her, and Tsukuru thinks that this guy is an ancient specimen of the giant race. Antia asks Crafton if he came to get beaten again, while Tsukuru thinks that his level is even higher than Antia's, and if this turns into a fight, damage to the village will be unavoidable, while Crafton replies to Antia that she was the one who begged for reinforcements because she couldn't win in a one-on-one fight. Antia explains to Crafton when he arrived, everything became clear to her, and inquires him if the massive influx of monsters into this forest was caused by him, and if that is what he was aiming for. Crafton responds, who knows, and he has no idea what she is talking about. Antia angrily questions Crafton. Why then did he come there? Crafton laughingly answers that he just came to check up on her, since he felt her presence disappear for a moment. Crafton asks Antia if she lost her second life, and laughingly exclaims this will be the last time he ever has to see her face. Crafton then tries to attack Antia, but Tsukuru intervenes and cuts off Crafton's fingers. Crafton inquires Tsukuru who he is and calls him a boy. Tsukuru announces that he is the one who took her second life. Tsukuru calls Antia and questions her if she minds if he deals with this guy. Tsukuru yells that he hates when those with power trample the weak without even an explanation. Crafton angrily says that he is the one who took Antia's. But before Crafton could finish his sentence, Tsukuru laughingly asks him if he can't even measure the strength of his opponent. As Tsukuru proceeds to attack Crafton, Tsukuru further asks him or is he just afraid of him, and comments that he should just say so. Tsukuru tauntedly tells Crafton if he cries and apologizes for destroying the forest, then he won't hurt him, but Crafton gets angry hearing that. He then attacks Tsukuru and shouts that it seems like he doesn't need his life. Tsukuru dodges the attack, but Crafton chases after him. Antia mentions that it looks like they are moving away, to which Kana responds that was her master's plan all along. Antia orders the children and those who can't fight to go back to the villages, since some of the fleeing monsters may come this way, and those with power will stay here to protect their villages. Kana nervously speaks Tsukuru's name. Kana tells Tsukuru to be safe, while the sword questions Tsukuru if it isn't about time. Crafton angrily asks Tsukuru why he is just dodging, and informs him to fight like a man. Tsukuru inquires Crafton if he seriously believes he can hit him with a brute force attack. The sword comments that big heads have little wits, and tells Tsukuru to wield it to his heart's content. Crafton explains to Tsukuru that he was caught off guard earlier, but something like a human's blade is nothing to him, and Tsukuru starts moving in circles around Crafton. Crafton stands there confusingly, and angrily yells at Tsukuru to stop jumping around. Tsukuru informs Crafton that unlike him, he is just a big guy. Tsukuru then attacks Crafton with his sword, to which Crafton announces that he already told him that it wouldn't work. Tsukuru replies that he understands that already and tells Crafton to get ready, while Crafton stands there in wonder. Tsukuru is now coming head on to Crafton, to which Crafton exclaims that finally, he is coming at him properly. Tsukuru uses strong hellfire slash, and Crafton uses Butchikamashi. There is a lot of commotion. Antia shockingly asks what is happening, and Kana worriedly calls Tsukuru. Crafton starts laughing, while Tsukuru thinks that Crafton is really fine after taking on his strong hellfire slash, and then Crafton declares that he was the first one to withstand his Butchikamashi. Crafton comments, then let him introduce himself again, while the sword states that it's feeling numb. Crafton introduces that he is Crafton. He is the founder of the giant tribe, and the leader of the giant and of the demon race, while Tsukuru says that he even changed his form, and then Crafton asks Tsukuru what his name is. Tsukuru replies to Crafton that his name is Tsukuru Sumeragi, a human. Crafton laughingly inquires Tsukuru where did he get that power. Crafton explains that he does not think Tema's is dead, so did the human race get another ancient specimen, to which Tsukuru wonders who Tema's is, and the sword comments that it's probably the name of the ancient specimen of the humans. Tsukuru responds that he does not know anything about that, and he is just a genuine average person. Crafton informs Tsukuru that he is playing dumb, and that it's fine, since he is going to die there anyway. Crafton, while throwing a punch, exclaims that he will have to compliment him for making him get serious. Tsukuru stands there shockingly. Tsukuru thinks that the impact came before the fist. Tsukuru lays on the ground in pain. The sword explains to Tsukuru that he is way too careless, so that's why he wasn't able to avoid that, to which Tsukuru tells the sword to keep quiet. Crafton laughingly questions Tsukuru if he can still stand up, and announces that no matter how hard he tries, his time of death won't change all that much. Tsukuru responds to Crafton that he was just warming up. Crafton starts laughing, and informs Tsukuru that he really is a smooth talker. Crafton attacks Tsukuru again while saying that his tough guy act ends now. Crafton asks Tsukuru what is wrong, and says that he has been focusing on defending, while Tsukuru thinks that Crafton's strength and speed have dramatically increased. Crafton further asks Tsukuru what happened to his bravado. Tsukuru thinks again that he already has his hands full defending against his attacks. The sword tells Tsukuru that frankly this will be a tough fight for the current him. The sword then states that he has a higher level strength than him. If you were to fight against him head on, he wouldn't have any chance of winning, while Tsukuru curses at Crafton, and the sword further states that the only thing that's fortunate for him is the fact that it's a mythical class divine sword. The sword explains to Tsukuru that it will find him an opportunity and move exactly how it instructs him, so he should believe in it, then deflect his attacks, and informs Tsukuru to confuse Crafton with camouflage and dark magic. As Tsukuru is attacking Crafton, the sword tells him to increase his speed, to move to the left, to the bottom right, above, and to move faster again. But Crafton stands there angrily. The sword further tells Tsukuru to not lose concentration. He should have his blood flow throughout his entire body, while Crafton shockingly comments that his movement has changed, and the sword continues to tell Tsukuru to move before he thinks. The sword then explains to Tsukuru to push himself to the upper limit. The sword announces that now is the time, and use it to hit his face. Crafton angrily yells at Tsukuru he shouldn't ever think that he can hurt him with that blunt sword, to which Tsukuru shouts that he shouldn't underestimate him, as he is the Black Mist. Tsukuru holding the sword uses Hado, while Crafton stands there in shock. Tsukuru mentions that ultimate move number 2. Tsukuru then uses Shin Ryuseiga Zanshu. Crafton screams that he won't let him. Crafton goes to punch Tsukuru again, and the sword comments that it's not good, he should defend against it. Tsukuru defends against it, but he and Crafton fall to the ground. The sword mentions that it looks like hasty preparations were not enough. The sword calls Tsukuru's name, and informs him to hurry up and heal himself. The sword calls Tsukuru again, and Tsukuru supposes that he needs to make some recovery food, while the sword tells him to wake up, to which Tsukuru further supposes if he dawdles any longer, he won't be able to eat it. Crafton gets up and stands over Tsukuru's body as he laughingly says to think that he managed to cut off his arm and made him fall on his back, so this is the first time he has been cornered to this extent. As Crafton is about to stomp Tsukuru, Crafton comments that it was a good fight. But right then, Kana jumps in front of Tsukuru and yells no. Kana states that she won't let him kill Master. Tsukuru thinks what she is thinking. There's no way she could stop him, and if she does that, she would end up dying together with him. Suddenly, Tsukuru hears a voice asking him if he wants to get stronger. Tsukuru inquires, who is it? It's a female, as she questions if this is the situation to ask who she is, and announces if he doesn't hurry and answer, he and Kana will die there. The female asks again if he wants to get stronger, to which Tsukuru replies, "Isn't that obvious?" Tsukuru declares that he can't die there, he still hasn't done anything. There are still people he wants to smack, and he wants to be stronger than everyone. The female responds to Tsukuru that very well. The female touches Tsukuru's forehead and informs that she will release her divine protection. Tsukuru inquires the female, who's she? But before Tsukuru could finish his sentence, the female answers that he will find out soon enough. The status plate reads that the seal of the divine protection has been lifted, and he has learned unique skill Feast of the Gods. It explains that by Feast of the Gods, he can now create a dish using ingredients above level 300. When he eats the dish, she can grant him a wish, but only for 5 minutes. Tsukuru says that it's been a while since he has seen this annoying explanation. He doesn't know who she is, but he appreciates it and thanks her for giving him this broken skill. The female tells Tsukuru when the effect expires, he will lose one of his senses for the next 23 hours, 55 minutes, so he should be careful. Also, he can't make 2 of the same dishes from the same individual, so he should be careful about how he uses it. To which Tsukuru responds that anything is fine, she should just give him enough power to defeat Confronting, and eats Emperor Dragon meat. Tsukuru complains that it tastes bad. The status plates read that by the effect of the unique skill Feast of the Gods, individual Tsukuru has been bestowed a goddess skill divine power, temporarily. Tsukuru angrily shouts to Confronting that there he comes. Confronting angrily asks Tsukuru what he just did. Confronting then screams that there's no way he could defeat him, an ancient type, just because he powered up a bit. Tsukuru attacks Confronting, and in response, Confronting shockingly exclaims what? Confronting declares that he is too fast, he can't even see him, and questions what is with that power. Confronting further questions Tsukuru if he is really just a human. Confronting shouts that's impossible, and he won't let this happen, he won't lose against a human. Confronting shouts again that it's impossible, but before he could finish his word, Tsukuru uses guillotine hellfire and kills him. Kana is on her knees covered there in blood and calls Tsukuru's name. Tsukuru looks at Kana, but Kana is lost for words. Tsukuru angrily calls Kana an idiot, while Sanya hugs him from behind while saying that he was so cool. Tsukuru shockingly calls Sanya's name, and Sanya exclaims that he is covered in blood. Sanya exclaims again that she expected no less from her master, and Antia praises Tsukuru that well done. Antia explains to Tsukuru if he was defeated there, she would have died for nothing, and Tsukuru yells that listen there, while Kana thinks that yet again. Kana further thinks that she couldn't do anything yet again. Antia smilingly states that they are not done yet, and she hopes he hasn't forgotten. Antia then informs that Confronting also has second life. The sword tells Tsukuru to cut him down before divine power dissipates, to which Tsukuru comments that he knows. Confronting angrily shouts the word Mjolnir. As Tsukuru tries to cut Confronting with his sword, Confronting announces that as if he would let him. Confronting angrily yells, "Blow away." Tsukuru starts to fall, and shockingly asks what? They are in a new place, and Tsukuru thinks this light is just like when he was summoned into this world, and questions where is this. Sanya cryingly inquires where they are, if it's a desert, if he wiped everything out, and if they are dead, to which Hannah informs her to calm down. While Antia mentions that everyone is still alive, so rest assured, and it looks like they were transported to another place by the power of that hammer. Antia further mentions that she can't feel Confronting and the elves' presence at all. Antia continues to mention that it's almost like they are in another world. Kana asks Tsukuru if they are in Japan, to which Tsukuru replies that they are not. Tsukuru comments that the world he was in is more, but before he finishes his sentence, he falls to the ground, to which all the girls call his name in fear. Tsukuru wonders what is happening to him, and Sanya calls his name again, but Tsukuru thinks that he can't feel his body. In the capital of Luke Sandale Kingdom Sunset, a man is holding a young girl and screams for a hero. The man cryingly requests to please help them. His daughter has been poisoned by a monster and begs to give her an antidote. Ikenos announces that she can heal her, but she gets interrupted by a knight who yells to stop it, to which Ikenos questions why. The knight answers that Guy is a beast folk, someone with a low social standing. If she approaches him, he will probably attack her and steal her belongings. Even if he doesn't do that, he would mooch off her by asking her for food and money. The man screams in tears, "Please help him," and the knight explains to Ikanos that she might not know this, since she is from another world, but they will do anything for money. They would act like a sickly person, crush their eyes, or even cut their own hands without any hesitation. And that guy probably kidnapped that child somewhere, and weakened her himself. The knight further says, but it's also true that the child is in a weakened state. Even if she heals her now, she will just die sooner or later, so she shouldn't be bothered with them and return to her line. Ikanos cryingly tells a girl that she doesn't know what the truth is, which one she should believe, and in this world, people's lives aren't considered important. Ikanos then explains that people irrationally die so easily there, unlike in Japan. And they don't care about people's lives. That's why they drag children from another world and use them as tools of war without any hesitation. Ikanos remembers a man laughingly saying that the little girl slave that he brought the other day was really the best, to which another man asks him how many slaves he had brought. And Ikanos goes on to say that these people quickly abandon other people that do not benefit them. The girl complains that they really disgust him, and not only this country, but their classmates who are adapting to them. The girl further says that telling them to go to war as heroes in a world where slaves and discrimination is a normal thing, and inquires why did it turn out like this. Ikanos cryingly states if she knew this world was like this, she wouldn't have let Tsukuru go by himself, and by now, he might have already become someone's slave or a beggar, or in the worst case, he is already, but before she finishes her sentence, she starts crying. The girl shouts at Ikanos to not say that, and tells her to hang in there. She says that they should become stronger so that they can beat the demon lord quickly and return to their world. The girl further comments she is sure that they will be able to meet Tsukuru along the way too, and happily asks Ikanos if it's okay. To which Ikanos agrees, and thanks her while calling her Mickey. Ikanos then declares that she believes in her and Tsukuru. Kana shouts Tsukuru's name, and tells him to get a hold of himself. Kana asks if he fell unconscious from the recoil of the damage taken in the fight, or did he hit his head, and says that she has already cast a healing magic on him. While Tsukuru wonders what is happening, and thinks that his eyes, ears, and brain are still working, but he can't feel any part of his body. It's almost as if he has been injected with anesthesia, and he is not sure if he can move his body. The sword tells Tsukuru that it looks like he has lost his sense of touch from the penalty of the Feast of the Gods. The sword then questions Tsukuru if he isn't glad that he and it can still converse with each other through telepathy, and if he isn't glad that it is there with him, and calls Tsukuru's soulmate. And then the sword informs the girls that he, the divine sword, Black Mist, will become Tsukuru's interpreter. Hana, Kana, and Sanya stand there in shock. Sanya shockingly exclaims, "Undressed master," to which the sword responds that he got excited and forgot that he was undressed. So he was given a strange title, and Sanya mentions, "But weird person is a bit." Tsukuru explains to the sword that first of all, it wasn't even with him at that time, so it should stop telling her weird things, while the sword asks him if it isn't fine, and states that it is doing him a favor there, since it is telling her all the embarrassing stories he doesn't want to which Tsukuru tells it to keep quiet. Tsukuru thinks that it better remember this when he can move again. After that, Kana welcomes back Antia and Hana. Antia announces that she has taken a look around the area and she is not familiar with the land. This does not appear to be the Death Continent, where giants and demons live either, and there are a lot of demons around the area, but there are no other tribes. Sanya inquires Hana, "What's with all that blood?" To which Hana replies that it's the demon's blood, she is not hurt. Tsukuru begins to think about demons. Tsukuru further thinks that it reminds him Crafton said that he governs both giants and demons. The sword informs them that it's what Tsukuru said, to which Antia agrees, and declares it's been like that since the Gods' War. Antia further says that even when the demons and giants were defeated and driven to the Death Continent, the demon's ancient type never appeared. To which the sword responds that maybe the demon's ancient type is already dead, but Antia comments that it's not possible. Even when an ancient type dies, a new ancient type would be born. The sword explains that to control the force of other tribes, one has to cooperate with their ancient type, make them submit to oneself, or imprison them somewhere, and make sure they can't interfere, while Kana stands there in shock. Kana questions if it means they are in that prison, and if that is why there are only demons there. Tsukuru supposes that it's just a speculation of time. If he could call Bez, he would be able to know more, but it seems like he can't use any skills when he loses his sense of touch. The sword says that they are out of ideas, and Tsukuru said they should camp there and wait for him to recover. Kana shouts, then she will put up the tent. Kana tells Antia and Sanya to set up the wards, and Hannah to prepare a meal, but before that, let her cast clean on her first. Hannah asks Kana what's on her mind, and in return, Kana inquires Hannah what she means, and answers that it's nothing. But Hannah stands there doubtingly. Hannah explains to Kana that it's normal to be anxious in this situation, and everyone is feeling the same way. Hannah then informs Kana that she will go prepare a meal, and she will feel calmer when her stomach is filled with warm food, to which Kana thanks Hannah very much. Everyone is now asleep, and Kana sits beside Tsukuru. Kana tries to put a towel over Tsukuru's head, but the sword explains to Kana that Tsukuru said that he's not a sick person, so she doesn't need to do that, which startled her. Kana apologizes greatly to Tsukuru and states that she did not know he was awake, she just can't help but worry about him. Kana further states if only she had the strength to drive away Crafton, he would not have ended up like this. Tsukuru shockingly thinks that he wasn't expecting her to be able to do that much from the beginning. The sword questions Tsukuru if it should tell her what he just said, to which Tsukuru replies with a no. Tsukuru supposes that even when the case is solved, it doesn't mean that the dead will come back to life, and it takes a long time to heal one's trauma. Kana lies next to Tsukuru, and Tsukuru determinedly exclaims that all right. After that, Tsukuru declares that he has regained his sense of touch and skills, and uses summon dead spirit too. Kana happily yells that they are going to investigate then. Tsukuru then thinks that the skill took more of his magic power than usual. Tsukuru further thinks that he should not have any more abnormalities in his status, but on the contrary, he has leveled up from fighting Antia and Crafton. Tsukuru continues to think that the high magic power cost is probably because of this place, and there are no useless skills. He has fed all the useless skills to equivalent exchange, while the status plate reads that he is level 430. Tsukuru wonders, who is that woman who gave him the power? A demon attacks Tsukuru, but Tsukuru kills it. Antia comments that she wonders why demons are such aggressive creatures, and Tsukuru asks if they also attacked while they were sleeping. To which Antia agrees yes, they said that they were scouts, but regardless, she still buried them all. While Tsukuru thinks that as always, she is really cruel to her enemies. Tsukuru, while using soul absorption, supposes that the more demon corpses there are, the more familiars Bez can summon, and it's going to be a nightmare for them. And then Tsukuru uses summon familiar too. Bez appears while saying that it has seen the edge of this world while destroying demons along the way. Sanya announces that Bez was too powerful, to which Kana responds that they didn't get to do anything, and questions how it was. Kana then states that it said this world, and inquires what that means, to which Bez answers that it's just like Antia had guessed, this is not their world. Tsukuru confusingly thinks, and this is not his world either, that would make this a third world. Tsukuru further thinks if they can find enemies above level 300 and use them as an ingredient for the Feast of the Gods, they might be able to return, while Bez comments in that case. Bez continues to say that it has found the location of the demon's ancient type. A demon asks if another unit has disappeared, if not a single one was found, and not even their corpses. The other demon replies that it's been hundreds of years since it was sent into this world by Crafton's strange hammer. It has already been living in suffering, and now they are going to make it suffer more as it calls out the name Gazin and orders him to eliminate the scoundrels at once, to which Gazin smilingly agrees. Bez informs them that the ancient type is inside this castle, and Tsukuru says that they should go. Gazin tells them that they shall not pass. Gazin menacingly yells that he is the great demon, a noble vampire count, while the status plate reads that he is level 245, and Gazin yells again that those who disturb this land will be eliminated. Gazin says that bye, but before he finishes his sentence, Hannah punches him and kills him, while the other demons ask how dare she do that to Gazin. As they are fighting the demons, Sanya exclaims that there are so many of them, while Bez states that all the demons that notice the abnormality have emerged. Bez further states it means that they are getting closer to the ancient type. Tsukuru inquires Antia what the matter is, to which Antia replies that she has been thinking about the hammer Mjolnir that Crafton uses. Antia then mentions she doesn't think that Brainless Giant created the weapon by himself, to which Tsukuru questions if she is saying there is someone else who gave him the weapon, and Antia agrees to this. Antia continues to say that they, elves, cannot create such a weapon. Beastfolk and dwarves are not able to either, since they have low magic power. Antia explains that the death spirits, who are cunning and possess high magic power, are not in good relationships with any of the other tribes, and they are especially hostile against the giant tribe. Antia further explains the other possible answer is that Crafton stole that weapon from the demon tribe, and the human tribe is also able to create a weapon like that. Tsukuru questions again if the demon tribe and human tribe wouldn't be able to figure out if they ask the demon tribe's ancient type. Antia laughingly tells Tsukuru that he better not expect too much, although they are not as bad as the giant tribe. The demons are not actually that intelligent, to which Tsukuru responds if he can't ask them, he is just gonna use them as an ingredient. Tsukuru then thinks if he uses Feast of the Gods, they should be able to get out of there, but to use that, he needs an ingredient above level 300. The demon ancient type asks what is happening and shouts that thousands of soldiers just disappeared in a short time. The demon ancient type declares this presence is Antia's, while Tsukuru supposes that the ancient type should be above level 300. The demon ancient type yells that it's unforgivable. Tsukuru and his squad kill a lot of the demons, but the remaining demons run away. The demon ancient type inquires them where they are going. Antia laughingly informs the demon ancient type that it looks like his subordinates are not loyal to him. Antia says the name, Catapulpas, and the status plate reads that he is an ancient evil, level 440. Catapulpas laughingly explains to Antia that it looks like she was blown away by Crafton's strange hammer as well. This world is a self-contained world, so she won't be able to get out of there, and yet she is going to be antagonistic towards them, as he comments that she is foolish. Tsukuru thinks that since this guy said a strange hammer, he does not know anything about Crafton's weapon. Antia tells Catapulpas that they were the ones who attacked them first, and asks which one is the foolish one, to which Catapulpas replies that her tribe can't even fight without borrowing other tribes' power, and questions her what makes her so condescending. Catapulpas exclaims that they shouldn't underestimate him. Sanya rushes towards Catapulpas while shouting that she will be the first one to cut him, to which Hannah worryingly calls her name. Catapulpas uses Curse Eyes 3 on Sanya as she stands still and he screams. Sanya falls to the ground while others stand there shocked. Antia informs them to not look at his eyes. Catapulpas laughingly yells that it's pointless. Catapulpas then uses Curse Eyes and Poison Eyes and announces that they won't be able to look away from his eyes. There are eyes floating all around them and Antia tells them to close their eyes. Catapulpas menacingly comments that it's futile. Catapulpas mentions that those affected by his curse eyes are his puppets. Tsukuru attacks Catapulpas and he shockingly questions what. Catapulpas inquires how this could be a mere human as Tsukuru uses presence detection, and answers that he can tell his exact location with his eyes closed. Catapulpas screams that it's not over yet and he still has second life. But Tsukuru tells Catapulpas that no, he doesn't. Tsukuru explains that among all the ancient types he has fought, he is the weakest one and kills him. Tsukuru then declares that he has been investigating around, while Hannah informs Sanya that she made her worried, to which Sanya apologizes, and Tsukuru goes on to say that he couldn't find any useful information. While holding meat, Tsukuru states that he got Catapulpa's meat, so they should be able to return with this, and Antia disgustingly asks him if he is going to eat that. Tsukuru thinks that to be honest, he doesn't want to eat it either. Kana informs Tsukuru that she has a request. Kana requests Tsukuru to please let her eat the Feast of the Gods. Kana eats the meat and happily exclaims that now they should return to their world. After some time, Tsukuru wonders where this place is. He says that this is not Wolf's Forest, and he doesn't think he is in Japan either. Tsukuru hears a voice saying, "Welcome to her garden." Tsukuru gets in an attacking position and thinks that he doesn't have black mist, while the female states that there is no need to be alarmed. The female further states that she is not his enemy. Tsukuru asks who she is, to which the female replies that she is the god of Japan, one of the pillars, and her name is Oharum no Mikoto. Tsukuru comments that he does not care whether she is Oharun or whatever, to which the female responds that it's her room. And Tsukuru questions what is this place, and what she did to Kana and the others. Harum answers this place is her garden, and she didn't do anything to Kana and the others. She called him there for a brief moment when he was about to return to that world. Harum announces that she has several requests to ask for Tsukuru. Harum then explains, as she has said earlier, she is god of Japan. She knows everything that happens in Japan, and every living being that lives in it. Also she knows about him when he was still inside his mother's womb, so she knows everything that happened to him until he was summoned into that world with 107 classmates. But Tsukuru stands there shockingly. Tsukuru inquires Harum that she knew what was happening to them and she didn't do anything about it. To which Harum responds, it's not like she didn't do anything, but the reason was that she couldn't do it. Harume says if she cancelled the summoning, the energy that has lost its destination would lose control, and it would trigger a dimension explosion that could wipe out the entire Japan. Harume further says if a dimension explosion was triggered, not only Japan, even the core of the earth would be damaged. In short, every living being on earth would be wiped out from existence. Tsukuru asks Harume if she is telling him to believe her story. Harume replies to Tsukuru that it's a fact, that's why she let him and the others go to that world, and fortunately, she has managed to attain her blessings to him. Tsukuru shockingly speaks the word blessings, and wonders if it was that message, in which the status plate reads that the seal of someone's blessings have been lifted. Harume happily mentions that's not all, while Tsukuru wonders again if she just read his mind, and she continues to say that he has powers that are unthinkable to have on Chef. Harume explains that S-rank luck, able to remember new skills unlimitedly, also dismember, cooking, and healing food. Originally, those skills weren't supposed to be that powerful. Harume then shouts that thanks to her blessings, all of his skills have become broken skills, and they are cheat skills. Tsukuru disgustingly thinks that her attitude has changed, and she is spitting on his face. Tsukuru questions Harume if she is saying she did everything she could, and comments that she could have done it less ambiguous, and further questions her if she knows how many hardships he had to go through, to which Harume answers that she could not have done that. Harume announces if she released all her blessing powers when he was at level 1, his body and mind wouldn't be able to endure the power and explode. That's why she adjusted her blessing powers according to his level. Tsukuru responds that he sees as he understands that his power was thanks to her, and inquires Harume if that was her goal, to which Harume replies that she wants to make it so that world can't summon people from their world anymore. Harume angrily yells that she can't believe they opened a huge hole in the space-time wall and just kidnapped people from another dimension. Furthermore, they left the hole without repairing it, and questions if he knows what would happen when one makes a hole in the space-time wall and does not repair it, and then shouts that it will collapse. Harume tells Tsukuru that's why she wants him to destroy any facilities and documents that are related to dimension summoning in that world. Tsukuru thinks that from the beginning, the power that he was given to him was to crush them. Tsukuru happily agrees, and declares why not, he will do it, while killing those old geezers. Tsukuru then asks Harume what will be his reward for doing that. Harume stands there lost for words, to which Tsukuru responds that he said what will be his reward for accomplishing her request. Harume confusingly inquires if her blessings are not enough of a reward for him, and states that she worked hard increasing his status, and gave him Feast of the Gods. Tsukuru says that he is grateful for that, but that's a different matter, to which Harume comments that he is so mean. As Tsukuru is drinking from a cup, he thinks this is delicious, but the Feast of Gods tasted so bad. Harume exclaims that it can't be helped, she is actually not supposed to do this, but she will do it just once. Harume smilingly states that she will tell him something interesting about his sister Ayumi. Tsukuru questions Harume why she is bringing up Ayumi there. Harume responds to Tsukuru that she will also tell him about the people that were summoned together with him, to which Tsukuru tells her to answer his question, and Harume mentions that his friend Kana. Harume answers that Kana will learn space-time magic in the near future, so he will be able to return to Japan at any time. But he should not let any of his classmates return there. Tsukuru shockingly stands there lost for words. Tsukuru asks Harume why, to which Harume tells him to just think about it. Harume narrates that 108 high school students were gone instantly from Japan. It's a major incident. Not only did she have to repair the hole on the space-time wall, she also had to fix the disappearance of 108 people. She had to go back in time and erase their existence from the world. Harume further narrates that's why, when Kana learns space-time magic, he shouldn't let any of his classmates return to Japan, because their birth records have been erased. They don't have places in Japan anymore, and it would only bring them suffering if they return to Japan. Tsukuru questions Harume if she is saying they should live in that world, and spend the rest of their lives there because it's pointless to return, to which Harume replies that's right. Tsukuru says he doesn't mind that, and thinks of Kana saying she will return him to his original world, and Ikano's asking if they will meet again. Tsukuru then inquires Harume, what if there is someone who would still want to return despite knowing that? Harume responds that she can't undo what has been erased, but she can give them a new birth record so that they can live in Japan as a new person, and he should just call her when that time comes. Harume asks Tsukuru if it's okay. Tsukuru explains to Harume that she is using him like some kind of pawn, to which Harum smilingly announces that she can't interfere in that world, and he can't do anything without her blessings, so they should help each other. Harum then holds Tsukuru's face and informs him that she is counting on him. After that, Sanya jumps on Hana's back while exclaiming that it's the smell of grass and trees. They are in the Great Wolf Forest, and they have returned. Sanya explains to Antie that she is glad she is okay, and apologizes for letting Crafton get away, to which Antia comments that it's fine as long as they are safe. Tsukuru supposes that Harum threw him out after she is done talking. Things are already troublesome as it is, and now it has become even more troublesome. Tsukuru wonders what kind of thing that she wants to tell him about Ayumi. As Tsukuru is still thinking, Kana calls his name. Kana inquires Tsukuru if he is okay. Tsukuru replies to Kana that it's nothing, she needs to take a rest before the penalty of Feast of the Gods takes effect, to which Kana tells him that he is right. Hana informs Kana to come, and she will prepare her bed, to which Kana agrees. Tsukuru thinks that he doesn't care about other classmates, but it's a different story when it comes to Ikenos. Tsukuru says that Kana lost her hearing ability from the penalty of eating Feast of the Gods. She should be able to move, but she should just take a rest until she recovers, to which Hana informs Kana to just write down words when she wants to talk, while Antia asks the elves if they said they let Crafton go, and how many days have passed since she was gone. The elves reply that about a month, and Antia praises them that well done on protecting the forest and the village while she was gone. Suddenly, they hear a female approaching. One of the elves shouts, "That's Cheon," while Cheon damages a pathway. Antia disappointingly states that she just repaired that. The elves mention that because these two ancient type lent them their strengths, as the status plates read, that it is Kobaru, ancient animaler, level 440, and it is Dick, ancient dwarf, level 435. Kobaru announces when she felt Crafton's presence, Antie's presence disappeared, and it shocked her, so she came immediately, while Dick comments that the forest and the village were destroyed, and the elves were at loss. Antia says that they have protected the forest and the village, so they have her thanks, to which Kobaru responds that it was a crisis for the four-tribe alliance, and after all, they scratch each other's back. Dick states now that Antia has returned, they need to return to their countries, and Kobaru mentions it seems that the human country's problem is going to spread to them too. Tsukuru inquires them what happened in the human country, to which Dick answers that it was right after Crafton retreated. Crafton exclaimed that how annoying. Crafton angrily thought that human brat called Tsukuru if Temas sent him to think that he was powerful enough to take his second life, and wondered why he worked with Antia. Crafton then talked to Campaignon. Crafton told Campaignon that he doesn't even mind if he uses demons, but he should wage a war against that traitor, Temas. Back at the Luke Sundale Kingdom, Ikenos cryingly thinks about the man who begged her for help. Ikenos comments that she couldn't keep her mind off that person. Ikenos then thinks about Tsukuru and sits there sadly. Ikenos cryingly says that even if they praise her as a hero or a saint, she can't do anything other than healing injuries. Ikenos further says that she doesn't have the power to wield a weapon and fight, nor the courage to defy the people of this world and run away, and she has only been protected by her friends while crying. Suddenly, Ikenos hears a knock on the door. Ikenos opens the door and sees that it is Mickey. Mickey happily informs Ikenos that it's about time for dinner. Ikenos announces that she has no appetite, to which Mickey grabs her hand and mentions that she needs to at least eat something, otherwise she will get sick. Mickey explains that apparently they are having steak today, but she doesn't know what meat they are using. Mickey and Ikenos suddenly stand there in shock. Mickey questions a boy what the matter is, to which the boy replies that look at him. The boy speaks the name Kuriyama Kaido. The boy informs that he brought another child slave. Kuriyama smilingly exclaims that he could buy many child slaves just by selling materials from the dungeon, and this is the best. Mickey asks Kuriyama what happened to the one he previously bought, to which Kuriyama responds that he will leave it to his imagination, and Mickey comments how gross, while Kuriyama tells him to say all she wants. Mickey explains to Ikenos that Kuriyama is the worst. Kuriyama, while dragging the slave child, announces that they should go to his room, they will go to the bath, and he will wash her clean. But Ikenos grabs the child's hand. Ikenos angrily inquires Kuriyama what he is going to do to this child. Kuriyama yells to not touch her and calls Ikenos an old hag, while Ikenos tells him to stop screwing around and questions him if he thinks that he is in a dream or something, and why he is doing cruel things to little children, to which Karayama shouts at her to shut up. Karayama says that she can say all she wants, but in this world, the one who bought the slave can do anything to them. Karayama further says that first of all, they were suddenly brought into this world, so it's only fair that he gets a share of fun. Karayama continues to say that he is trying to adapt to this world unlike her, who only cries while complaining all the time. Karayama asks Ikanos who does she think is in a dream instead, and informs her that it's about time she faces reality. Miki and the boy angrily shout, "That's enough." Miki angrily questions Karayama what's with him and does he think he is on the right side there, while the boy exclaims that even if they are in this world now, it doesn't change the fact that he is the worst. Meanwhile, a knight enters while asking them what's with the ruckus. Suddenly, a sound goes off which makes everyone shocked. Ikanos shockingly inquires what, and if that's the sound of a bell. A man enters the room and questions if the heroes are there. The man yells that the giants and demons are invading their territory and orders them to prepare their equipment and depart to the battlefield along with the knights. The man narrates this is a war between them and the two tribe alliance. They should join up with the other heroes from the other countries in the eastern region and stop their invasion, and orders to proceed according to the drill. Ikanos wonders if war always starts this suddenly. Didn't they summon them to defeat the demon lord, and if they are really going into the battlefield? Ikanos thinks that she is scared and terrified. Ikanos then wonders what should she do. Miki calls to Ikanos and informs her that she will definitely protect her, so she shouldn't worry. Ikanos tells Miki to not say that. She is saying it like she is prepared to die, to which Miki responds that's not it. Miki states that only she and a few more can heal injuries, so if she dies, they will be wiped out. One of the boys exclaims that they shouldn't worry, they have trained with the knights of this country, so the giants and the demons are nothing to be feared of. Miki explains to Ikanos if he makes a blunder and hurts himself in the process, she can heal him, and he will leave his back to her. Ikanos thinks that they resolve this themselves. Ikanos further thinks that she won't be only watching, and replies to Miki that she understands. He can count on her, and then continues to think that only she can heal their injuries. Ikanos thinks again that she won't cry anymore, while Miki comments that they will survive this together, and she goes on to think that there's no time for tears. Someone tells Temas that the demons and the giants are approaching from the eastern sea. Temas thinks that it's been almost a month ever since it happened. The knights and the heroes have been doing their best to stop them, but they have more numbers. Temas further thinks that he needs to seek help from the four-tribe alliance immediately, otherwise he will be in danger. The battlefield is full of chaos, and there are bodies around everywhere. A boy runs while screaming Ikanos' name, and says that they have got a wounded one, to which Ikanos replies that got it. One of the boys asks what they should do. The boy yells that at this rate, they will be wiped out. He is the leader, and inquires him if he doesn't have any good plans or something while calling him Kyuju. The status plate reads that Kyuju is rank S, holy swordsman, while the boy shouts that he thinks the only option is to surrender. But Kyuju questions him what good is there to surrendering. Does he think those monsters could communicate with them, and exclaims that the moment they approach them, they would kill them instantly, to which the boy asks him if he has a better idea. Kyuju hands them some pills, and mentions that the head priest Temas gave him 10 of these. They are body-strengthening pills. One of the boys inquires Kyuju, why did he hide them up until now, to which Kyuju responds that these pills work for only 10 hours. After that, they won't be able to move, so he told him not to use them carelessly. A boy comments that he wants one, while Miki yells that he should give him one too, to which Fujisaki says that she is an archer, so she should leave the front line to them. Kyuju explains to Fujisaki that his job is a berserker. He is sorry, but he should fight using his berserk skill, and Fujisaki agrees. Kyuju states that they should wipe out the enemy using this pill. One of the heroes happily announces that he can feel the power flowing within him. The boy determinedly exclaims that they can do this. Miki comments that they will back them up, to which Kyuju disagrees. Kyuju informs that they are going to run, and Miki stands there in shock. Kyuju asks them what do they think they are fighting for, and explains if this was Japan, and they would have families to protect, then it would be a different matter. But what they are protecting right now are the kidnappers who kidnapped them, so he does not want to fight for their sake any more than this. One of the females agrees that he has got a point. They don't have a reason to fight, and they might be saved if they could find a village to hide in. Miki tells Kyuju to hold on, and inquires him if he did not want to fight, then why did he give them the body-strengthening pills? Kyuju sees the heroes go berserk and answers that something is not right. Those are pills that make you go berserk. Once you swallow it, you will become a combat lunatic that fights until one uses up all their strength, and thinks that he kept those pills as a last resort. Miki and Ikenos go to Fujisaki, and Fujisaki asks them what happened to the others, to which Miki replies to him that Kyuju was using them as bait, and he ran away, so they are there to tell him that. Fujisaki exclaims, then they should run too before they get there, to which Ikenos informs him he should come with them. Suddenly, one of the heroes who is berserk attacks Fujisaki. Fujisaki tells Miki and Ikenos to hurry up and go. As they are running away, Ikenos says that there are many footprints over there. They should be able to join up with them if they follow these footprints. Miki pantingly screams, damn that Kyuju, she is going to punch him the next time she sees him, but Ikenos starts slowing down. Ikenos explains to Miki to not mind her, she should just go ahead and join up with the others, to which Miki replies that not a chance, she would rather die than leave her behind. Miki then mentions that it angers her, but Kyuju had a point. Miki questions Ikenos who they are fighting for. Miki explains that personally she is fighting to protect her, she wants her to be by her side to protect her as well, and extends her hand to her. To which Ikenos takes her hand and agrees to Miki. They get to an area, and Miki shockingly shouts that it's a wide open area, so they will be easily spotted there. They see a giant, and Ikenos shockingly speaks a giant, while Miki announces that she is so big. The giant declares that she is a giant after all, and she is actually a small one compared to others. Ikenos shockingly comments that she can speak and asks if that means they could surrender. They see dead bodies around the giant. Miki scarily exclaims she doesn't think that she would spare their lives if they surrender, and points her sword at her. The giant laughingly says that she is going to point her blade at her, and informs Miki to try to defeat her if she can. She will let them go if she can do that. To which Miki angrily screams that she will do it. As they are in for a battle, Miki realizes that she is so fast. Miki cuts the giant with her blade, and confusingly states that she is unscathed. Ikenos then prepares herself for the battle. Ikenos thinks that she doesn't have any offensive magic, however, she has her own ways to protect others, and she won't let Miki die. Ikenos further thinks that she will keep chanting, and keep her magic within range. Ikenos keeps thinking that the moment Miki takes a hit, she will heal her immediately. The giant tauntedly comments, how boring, so she was simply being instantly healed. The giant yells, in that case, and tries to attack Ikenos. Miki shouts that she won't let her touch her best friend and intercepts the giant. The giant grabs Miki and screams that she is an inferior human. And then the giant brutally slams Miki on the ground. Ikenos tries approaching Miki, to which the giant announces that she won't fall for the same trick twice and grabs her. The giant tells Ikenos to stay still. Miki lays there with her body dismembered, while Ikenos begs the giant to please stop. The giant wields her sword, and Ikenos cryingly declares this is the end. Going back in time, half a day before Ikenos and the others fight against the giants. Dick tells Tsukuru that's how it is and asks him if he understands now. Dick says that in this past month, Crafton has been using the giants and demons to invade the country while hiding. Kobaru states that's why the beast folk that were in the human country had to evacuate, to which Tsukuru inquires that those people, the heroes that were summoned, what happened to them. Kobaru responds that she doesn't know much about them, but from what she has heard, they are going to participate in the war against the giants. Tsukuru begins to leave, and Antia questions him where he is going. Tsukuru replies to Antia that the human country, Luke Sandale. Tsukuru then informs that he will be back when Kana has recovered, and tells them that they can wait. Tsukuru sees something, and wonders what is this presence. Tsukuru sees a group of people standing outside. As Tsukuru is about to take his sword out to fight, Antia speaks the name Temas, and asks him why he is there. Tsukuru thinks this guy is the ancient type of the human tribe, and Temas calls to Antia. Temas cryingly exclaims that she is safe, the giants are invading his territory after they attacked the elf's village, and he came to ask for help to protect his people, so she should please help them. Kobaru agrees, and says that they need to work together and stop the war. Antia smilingly asks Temas if he thinks she will believe him. Antia tells Temas that he was the one who gave the hammer to Crafton and had him port them to another world. Antia then states, even though it seems that he ended up angering Crafton, he probably wants to have Dick and Kobaru join his cause, but it's too bad she is there. Antia inquires where is her apology and mentions that the ancient type is a representative of each tribe. Since he has tried to harm her, she expects an apology or she will act accordingly. Temmuz responds to Antia that he gave the hammer to the giants a long time ago so that they could fight against the demons. He didn't expect that he would use it this way, and he apologizes for Crafton's barbarity, to which Antia accepts the apology and informs him to be careful next time. Tsukuru shockingly wonders how she forgave him that easily. The sword explains to Tsukuru, that's how politics are, no one would benefit from it if they were to fight now, it's best to work together right now since they have other threats to deal with, but something is bothering it. The sword continues to say that Temmuz claimed human supremacy and tried to eliminate Antia. One wrong move and the human tribe might cease to exist, and yet he boldly made such a plan. Maybe this is related to the hero summoning. Tsukuru replies that it should not ask him. Tsukuru approaches Temmuz and calls to him. One of Temmuz's guards tells him to stand back. The guard questions Tsukuru what he is doing and orders him to stand back again. Tsukuru informs Temmuz that he can't let him go home yet and calls him an old man, to which Temmuz questioningly comments that a human child in a place like this. Temmuz smilingly asks if they have met and advises Tsukuru that he shouldn't be so violent, to which Tsukuru inquires him if he has gone senile. Tsukuru angrily announces that never a single day he has forgotten, that he cast him aside in this place. Tsukuru goes to attack Temmuz, to which Temmuz shouts to not tell him, while Tsukuru questions him if he remembers now and swears at him. Tsukuru then uses earth magic, while the girls stand there shockingly, and Hana exclaims that person is master's enemy. Tsukuru laughingly inquires Temmuz if he is going to fight back. Tsukuru tells Temmuz that Crafton is better than him in power and speed, to which Temmuz shockingly yells to not tell him and asks did he. But before Temmuz could finish his sentence, Tsukuru again attacks him. Tsukuru says that he is the one who killed him. Suddenly, Tsukuru uses Dark Bind at Temmuz. As Temmuz is lying on the ground, he confusingly starts to think of dark magic. Tsukuru shouts this is not the end. He has been training hard to take revenge on him and everyone around him. Tsukuru stabs Temmuz in his hand. Temmuz pleads with Tsukuru to wait as he offers him a country, money, and women, but Tsukuru refuses to all those things. Tsukuru states that he told him. Tsukuru then adds that he has become strong to exact revenge on him and shows him his status plate, which reads that he still has this many skills that he hasn't used on him. Tsukuru angrily explains to Temmuz that he doesn't think he will be forgiven after kidnapping people and cast them aside. He was going to search all across the world to find him, but he ended up coming to him instead, and it was a dream come true. Temmuz scaredly lies there on the ground. Tsukuru questions Temmuz if it hurts, if he wants him to reenact what happened to him in this forest, and mentions that he will let him eat healing food when he is about to die in the middle of it, so that he tastes the same suffering that he has experienced. Kana comes near Tsukuru and holds his hand while preventing him from stabbing Temmuz further. Tsukuru looks back in wonder and calls Kana's name. Kana requests Tsukuru to calm down. Antia then announces this is a good opportunity to confirm something. Antia inquires what the humans are planning, and comments that Temmuz lied about the demon lord appearing even to his people, and summoned people from another world. Temmuz replies to Antia that they are a hindrance, the strongest tribe that takes in all the dead. The ghost tribe, their existence is a hindrance in a world that they, humans, try to rule. Temmuz adds that it was only a matter of time before they obtained the light magic that can oppose the ghost tribe and overwhelms the other tribes. Temmuz further says that the human tribe of this world was not strong enough, even those heroes with the priest job that they called through large-scale summoning. Not any of them has light magic. Temmuz continues to say that however, there is still a way he will fulfill that person's wish, which is to have humans rule the world. Suddenly, Temmuz vanishes while laughing menacingly. Kana asks if he died, to which Tsukuru answers with a no. Tsukuru then calls for Bez. Tsukuru thinks that he used earth magic and escaped into the underground. He's going further from them at a high speed, so he is not sure if Bez could catch up to him. Tsukuru further thinks that he failed to finish him off and wonders what he means by that person, and if there is still someone else behind him. Kana confusingly comments that he said light magic. Kana then apologizes to Tsukuru and states that he got away because she stopped him, to which Tsukuru responds that it wasn't her fault. He was careless. But Kana stands there confusedly. Tsukuru informs Kana that he is sorry for pushing her around. Tsukuru mentions that he missed the timing to go because he came, and inquires her if she would come with him. He announces that there is someone he wants to save. After some time, Bez apologized while saying that Tema's moved too fast, so he lost sight of him, to which Tsukuru replies that he is a human ancient type that rules over the land, so it can't be helped. But then Antia tells Tsukuru that he probably retreated back to his dwelling. Kobaru mentions that she doesn't quite understand what Tema's is trying to do, while Dick comments, now that they know the humans are plotting something, they need to tell their brethren who are in the human territory to evacuate. Kobaru then tells Antia that they will protect the elf village. Kobaru happily announces that they will welcome the elves who are currently in the human territory to their beastfolk territory, and tells Antia to please focus on accomplishing her goal. Antia informs Kobaru that she has her thanks. Hana says that the route they should take to reach their destination will be, but before she finishes her sentence, Tsukuru states that he can't afford to take that long. Tsukuru further states that he will use the flying sheep on equivalent exchange. Kana shockingly questions if this is a carpet, to which Tsukuru answers that it's a flying carpet. In his world, there's a fairy tale where they use this thing. As they are on the carpet, Sanya exclaims that she is going to fall, and Antia mentions that she will use her wind magic to nullify the wind pressure. Finally, they have arrived at their destination. Tsukuru comments, "That's the battlefield." Sanya shockingly asks if that is a human. Tsukuru announces that their status is also strange, and they are under something. Tsukuru thinks that those are not everyone. He thought all the heroes are gathered there. Tsukuru then uses presence detection, and sees a giant who stands there confusingly. Tsukuru wonders if that is Ikenos in the giant's hand. The giant angrily screams, "This is the end." Tsukuru swiftly approaches the giant. The giant inquires Tsukuru who he is, to which Tsukuru replies that he is Tsukuru. Tsukuru calls the giant old lady, and questions her if she could let go of that girl and have her army retreat from there. Hana approaches Mickey, and tells her to please eat this, to which Mickey eats it. The giants ask Garbus why she is hesitating, and exclaims that's just a human, she does not even need to think about it. Garbus questions Tsukuru if she just has to retreat her army. Meanwhile, the giants call to Garbus and inquire her why she is complying with that human, but Garbus shouts at them to shut up. Garbus asks them if they can't tell his strength, and says that he is probably the one who killed Kraft and Sama, and he could kill them instantly if he wants to. Tsukuru compliments Garbus, saying that she has good eyes. Garbus further says that she can't let her sons be killed by him after all, to which Tsukuru supposes that she is a mother. Garbus releases Ikenos from her hand. Ikenos cryingly yells for Mickey. Ikenos cryingly states that she is healed, she is alive, and Tsukuru is alive too. Tsukuru smilingly responds to Ikenos that he told her they will see each other again, to which Ikenos begins to cry loudly. Ikenos hugs Tsukuru and mentions that it was so scary, and she missed him, while Kana stands there shockingly. Ikenos explains to Tsukuru that she was worried about his safety, she didn't expect this world to be such a terrifying place, and apologizes for not being able to save him. Tsukuru tells Ikenos that she is not at fault. Besides, she was the only one who was watching over him no matter what happened to him. Suddenly, Ikenos becomes unconscious in Tsukuru's hands. Kana inquires if she needs a recovery, to which Tsukuru replies that she doesn't, she just fainted. Garbus asks Tsukuru if he knows where Tema's is, and announces that she can't really go home empty-handed. Tsukuru responds that he would like to know the same, but just then he senses something, and questions what this presence is, to which Antia answers that this is the impact for the death of the demon's ancient type, DIABLO'S. A scary figure appears out of nowhere, and Antia informs that a new demon's ancient type has been born. The demon type says that the memories of DIABLO'S are flowing into him. The demons have been miserable ever since the disappearance of DIABLO'S, but those miserable days have come to an end. The demon type further says, now that he has attained new power, they will know the grudge and the hatred of the demons. The new demon king angrily shouts out Crafton and Tema's names, as he screams that they shall know their revenge. And more demons appear out of nowhere. The giants ask them what's wrong, and inform them to be their limbs and fight with them. The demons then attack the giants and starts killing them. The demon king menacingly exclaims that just they wait, he will burn everyone who trampled on them. A giant yells what is happening, and Antia says that a new ancient type of the demon race has been born because DIABLO'S has died. She further says that the demons have been freed from the giant's control. This will change the situation dramatically. On the other hand, Kyuju exclaims that they are fighting against each other, the giants are running away, and the demons have rebelled. One of the student heroes asks if that means the war is coming to an end, and if that means they don't have to fight anymore. Kyuju wonders if the war is ending, and if it will end that suddenly. Kyuju then supposes that after fighting and running so desperately, after losing a lot of their friends, the war is ending just that easily. One of the student heroes questions what they should do now, and states that he does not want to be ordered around by those people anymore. Kyuju inquires what he has in mind. Another student mentions that they should just do whatever they want, and asks Kyuju if that's fine, to which Kyuju agrees and comments that they shall be free. Kariyama smirkingly announces that those guys are so stupid risking their lives like that. Kariyama thinks if he returns to Luke Sandale, although the training is troublesome, he is sure the citizens will praise him as a hero who protected the country from the giants. He will have a luxurious life from that point onwards. Kariyama smilingly thinks again that not to mention he will have his slave waiting for him, and says that he didn't get to have any fun with her because of this sudden assault. Kariyama adds that once he returns, he is going to have fun with her all day long, but suddenly gets trampled by a giant. Back at Luke Sandale, a guard tells a small girl that the meal is there, she should hurry up and eat, to which the girl stands there happily. The guard states that she is so carefree even though the country is in peril. She probably can't understand the situation because she is stupid, and asks if she even knows that slaves who are living outside would usually die from hunger. The guard further asks how long he has to take care of this slave. The guard then mentions that he wishes her master would return quickly, but he is not sure if he will ever return. Somewhere, Ikenos is asleep in a room. Ikenos wakes up, while Mickey is sitting next to her and comments that she is finally awake. Ikenos inquires Mickey if she is okay, if her hands and legs are fine, and if nothing is wrong with her, to which Mickey laughingly responds that as she can see, she is fine. Ikenos smilingly hugs Mickey as she exclaims that she is so glad, and Mickey informs that Hannah healed her body, while Ikenos questions who is Hannah. Hannah enters the room and says that would be her. She simply gave Mickey healing food that she received from her master, while Kana happily explains to Ikenos that she has healed her wounds and cast clean on her. Ikenos thanks them very much and asks if they too were with Tsukuru, to which Kana introduces herself. Ikenos further asks them if they are Tsukuru's friends, to which they both answer that they are slaves. Ikenos shockedly questions what is the meaning of this and if they are the same as Kariyama, to which Kana replies to Ikenos that she has already explained this to Mickey while she was sleeping. Kana announces that Master saved her when she was falsely accused and about to be turned into a slave, while Hannah says that he took her in when she had nowhere to go. Ikenos shockingly states, "Is that so?" Ikenos then inquires, "How was the war?" to which Kana mentions that due to the rebellion of demons, giants ran and the war ended. They are currently in the Great Wolf Forest, and Ikenos inquires again if it isn't a dangerous place, and in reply, Antia announces that she has put a monster-repellent magic items around the vicinity, so this area is safe. Ikenos praises Antia that she is quite pretty, to which Antia replies that her name is Antia. She is pleased to meet her, while Ikenos introduces herself and asks if she is Tsukuru's slave as well. Antia comments that she was killed by Tsukuru and became his friend, to which Ikenos cryingly tells her to stop complicating things. Kana requests Ikenos if she may ask what's her relationship with Tsukuru. Mickey responds to Kana that Tsukuru is Ikenos' boyfriend, while both Tsukuru and Ikenos stand there shocked. Ikenos blushingly exclaims that Mickey is wrong, Tsukuru is just her childhood friend, Mickey is just joking, so they shouldn't take her seriously, to which Mickey states that she always mentioned his name. Ikenos yells at Mickey to stop it. Kana questions Tsukuru why he looks a bit happy, to which Tsukuru responds that he is not, while Sanya shouts that she is back. Sanya happily informs them to look, she hunted a wild boar, Master's friends can now have a fulfilling meal with this. Ikenos looks at Sanya in shock and calls her Ayumi-chan. Ikenos explains to Sanya that she has already passed away, as she inquires her if she got summoned into this world too, and mentions that she had confirmed her body at the funeral. Kana speaks out Ayumi and asks if that isn't what Tsukuru called her when he first met Sanya too. Tsukuru supposes that there is no point in keeping it quiet anymore. As they are all seating at a table, Tsukuru tells them that Sanya looks exactly the same to his sister Ayumi, while Sanya sits there confused. Tsukuru adds, when his parents died, a married couple who was his father's best friend took him in, and Ayumi is their daughter, so they aren't related by blood, while Ikenos comments that he was really getting along with Ayumi and her parents, to which Tsukuru agrees. Tsukuru announces that however they all died in a car accident 2 years ago. Kana questions if that's why he was surprised when he saw Sanya for the first time. Tsukuru answers that he thought she was Ayumi, but she didn't know him, and she has been together with her sister Hana ever since she was born. Hana then says that she and her tribe can prove Sanya's origin, and Sanya's appearance as well as smell have the features of their beastfolk tribe. Ikenos shockingly states that she is just someone who looks the same, while Sanya responds that she only knows about Master recently. Sanya adds that her mom, who is a wolf beast, gave birth to her. Since then she has been growing together with Hana. After that she went to offer her service to Count Fusel, but she got bullied a lot there. Sanya further says she protected a maid that broke an antique vase and ended up imprisoned in an underground cell. Then Hana saved her. That was the first time she met Master, while Tsukuru thinks that he does not understand. Tsukuru thinks again that he is also curious about what Hiram said. There must be some kind of connection since she brought up Ayumi, and he does not have any other basis than that. Tsukuru keeps thinking that to find out about that, he needs to accomplish Hiram's favor as soon as possible. Bez then appears out of nowhere, while Mickey and Ikenos stand there shocked. Tsukuru inquires Bez if it has located the old geezer, to which Bez agrees that it did. Suddenly, Ali pops up in front of Bez. They all stand there in shock, while Ali greets everyone, and informs them that it's been a while. Ikenos says this person is the first person he met and saved after he went through the transfer gate, the former master of Kana, and the others, to which Ali comments that well. Ali states that she is glad to see that everyone is doing okay. She didn't expect a mansion to be inside the Great Wolf Forest. If only he would tell her, she could have given him a territory or two. Tsukuru mentions that he made this mansion as his base, to which Ikenos confusingly asks if he made it. Tsukuru replies to Ikenos that using his equivalent exchange skill. Tsukuru then inquires Ali why she is there, to which she replies that her father suddenly decided on a fiancé for her. But she told him that she only wants the strongest person as her husband, and then ran away. Kana shockedly questions Ali what she means by that, if she means the strongest person among the knights. Ali responds that to find out what is currently happening in this world. Ali announces that it will make their people anxious if her father were to act. That is why she came there secretly. Ali asks Tsukuru if he is involved in what is happening. Tsukuru then tells her everything, to which she replies, so that's why there was a notice for the beastfolk, elves and dwarves who live in the human territory to move there, and Albria has also started accepting refugees. Tsukuru states that Albria has people that he has trained personally, so it would be a safe place, to which Ali mentions that she agrees. Ali comments that however, they need to consider the neighboring countries as well, they just can't protect their own people. With that being said, if they act to protect other countries with enormous force, it will become a show of power, which will cause a crack to their current peaceful relationships. Antia inquires if that is a sarcasm towards them for doing the unnecessary things. Ali disagrees, as she comments that they simply do not wish to fight. Ali announces that let her help Tsukuru in exacting revenge on that old geezer. She is sure she can be of help. Ali tells them that they want to protect the territories and the people without using the knights. Meanwhile, Tsukuru wants to take revenge on the geezer. If the power of the human race could be reduced, it would serve each other's purpose. Sanya questions, how are they going to reduce the power of the human race? To which Ali smilingly answers that she has an idea for that. Ali scarily says that they crush them from the inside. Ali calls Tsukuru's name and states that his skill that can summon Bez, and asks if it is spirit summoning. Ali further asks Tsukuru if he could summon a monster called Doppelganger with that skill, to which Tsukuru inquires what she means. Ali explains that Doppelganger is a monster that hijacks the existence of someone and replaces them. It's a spirit-type monster. Because of its unique characteristics, there are only a few records mentioned about it. Kana then mentions that she has heard the name in fairy tales and horror novels, and questions if it actually exists. Tsukuru comments, by using that monster to manipulate important people of each country, they can put them in a panic state and reduce their power, while Ali announces that there is no need to put them into a panic state. Ali says that their aim is higher than that. They will manipulate the leader of each country and take over the countries. When the old geezer realizes it, he will no longer have any allies. After that, he can do anything he wants with him. Tsukuru states that is quite a nasty plan she has there, to which Ali mentions that she is a noble after all. she dabbles in schemes. Ali then adds, this plan completely relies on Tsukuru's skill. It will be impossible to execute if he can't summon a doppelganger, and inquires Tsukuru if he is in. Tsukuru happily agrees and comments that count him in. Suddenly, Miki scaredly shouts a monster. Ikenos informs Miki that it's okay, it was Tsukuru's familiar or something. Miki stands there confusingly and questions them if they are all going somewhere. Miki shockedly asks to battle, to which Tsukuru replies to her that they are going to the humans' country. Miki asks again if she can just wait there and announces that although the Great Wolf Forest has a monster repellent, it's still a dangerous place. Miki apologizes and says that she doesn't think she can fight anymore, thinking that something like that could happen again. It terrifies her. Ali explains to Miki that she does not need to apologize. She did the right thing by revealing to everyone that she can't fight anymore. Ali then tells Ikenos and Miki to come to Algria. They will have their knights protect them. Miki responds that she guesses they should. Miki happily inquires Ikenos what she is saying if she is going with them, to which Ikenos gets shocked. Ikenos answers that she will be left alone, to which Miki asks her if she had enough of just sitting idly. Miki happily exclaims that she can't fight anymore, but she still has her holy magic. She is sure she can be of help to them. She is the saint after all. Miki tells Ikenos to go with them. Tsukuru questions if she is sure and states that it will be a dangerous battle. Ikenos shouts that she will do her best. After some time, Tsukuru is making her battle monsters, to which Ikenos yells she knows she said that, but this is. But before she completes saying that, Tsukuru smilingly tells Ikenos that if she wants to come with them, she needs to become strong enough to protect herself first. Ikenos then uses Holy Javelin and Voice Sonic. Ikenos cryingly announces that she didn't hear about this. Tsukuru uses Spirit Summoning, as a creature comes out and Tsukuru says that its name is Israfel. Tsukuru orders Israfel to take over all the human supremacist countries. Tsukuru then thinks that those people scorned him when he was summoned, and there is no need for mercy. Tsukuru remembers of Ali saying that a transfer gate in one of the human countries, they should take control of it. Once they take control of a single gate, they can use it to corrupt the rest of the countries. Tsukuru states, who would have thought that these cursed gates have some uses? The sword tells Tsukuru, that girl is very smart, she is almost like a strategist, while Tsukuru supposes that things are proceeding smoothly so far, and comments that just he wait, geezer. Tsukuru asks Bez what the matter is, to which Bez answers that it has found Ikenos' school friends that she was with. Tsukuru mentions that there were survivors, to which Bez agrees and says that however, the school students were in a town, and one of them comments that as of now, this town will be the hero's base, and informs the people to get down on the ground. The students announce that they got kidnapped into this world for their convenience. This time, they will do whatever they want. The students add that they refuse to be their sacrificial tools. Bez questions Tsukuru, what should they do about them? Tsukuru thinks that he does not agree with their way of doing it, but he understands their sentiments. Tsukuru tells Bez to leave them be. It will be troublesome if they got into a fight and the geezer noticed it. It shouldn't tell this to Ikenos or Hayama, and orders it to continue with the investigation, to which Bez agrees. At the same time, Settle's assistant explains to Miki that she is a guest, so she does not have to do that. Miki smilingly responds that it's fine, they have taken care of her, so she wants to repay the favor and wonders how Ikenos is doing. Ikenos says that the training in Luke Sandale was so much easier, while Ali states that the knights were going through this kind of training. Tsukuru compliments them, that's good work. Tsukuru mentions that it seems like they have reached the target, as the status plates read that Ikenos is level 190, and Ali is level 175. They scream in joy that they did it, and Tsukuru inquires them if they are finished. Ali excitedly asks Tsukuru what they should do next, to which Tsukuru replies that they should have a meal. Ikenos shockedly exclaims that she can't believe she could eat sushi in this world, while Tsukuru comments that he went to the port and bought some fresh seafood, so they should feel free to eat as much as they want. Ikenos then announces that she got a skill, while the status plate reads that Summon Holy Spirit has been learned, and Kana happily yells that it's the effect of Master's ultimate cooking. She can learn new skills by eating those monsters' meat. Tsukuru says that they heard her, both of them are going to eat all the food, to which Ali and Ikenos stand there in shock, and Kana shouts out bon appetit. Tsukuru then supposes to think that a day would come when so many people are eating his food. Ikenos compliments that it's delicious and somehow has a nostalgic feel to it, and states that she wants to quickly return to their original world and meet her father and mother. Tsukuru remembers of Harum telling him that she had to erase their existence from the world. Their birth record has been erased. It would only bring suffering to them if they returned to Japan, and surprisingly comments that Tsukuru is still lost for words, and thinks that there is no way he could say that to Ikenos. Meanwhile, Bez is scouting the area when something appeared in front of him. Suddenly, Tsukuru sensed something and gets shocked, while Kana calls for him. Tsukuru then tells everyone that something is happening to Bez, so they should quickly go to him. After that, while moving on the flying carpet, Antia says that the miasma is getting stronger. Antia adds that from there onwards, they will enter a land that isn't listed on the map, the Death Land that was destroyed during Ragnarok, and only the Ghost Tribe can live there. Kana asks Tsukuru if Bez is really around there, to which Tsukuru replies that he felt its presence. Tsukuru runs off the flying carpet and says, "Over there." Suddenly, some creatures surround Tsukuru, but he kills them and kept running. The creatures keeps appearing, to which Tsukuru comments how repulsive, while Ikenos screams that there are ghosts. Sanya excitedly shouts to leave this to her as she just has to defeat them all. After that, Sanya shockingly says that they didn't die, to which Antia replies, because they are ghosts after all, so she can't kill what's already dead. Ikenos says in that case she will use her magic, and calls for the holy magic. Tsukuru says that they stopped approaching them, and with this, they won't interfere with them anymore. He then mentions that this is where he lost track of Bez's presence, while Sanya notices a stone monument. She approaches it, saying that it might be a map of treasure, but Tsukuru tells her to stop, which surprises her. Tsukuru says that it's in Japanese, to which Hana asks if that isn't the language of Tsukuru's original world, while he asks why. Hana comments that maybe a person who got summoned in the past engraved it, but Ikenos asks, then why would it engrave a food name, which shocked Kana. Kana asks what kind of food it is, to which Tsukuru says that he will make it for her next time. Sanya added that maybe the person was feeling hungry after being summoned into this world, and wrote that, and feels sympathy for the person. Antia then tells Tsukuru that there is no use thinking about what they don't know, to which Tsukuru agrees, and says that they should search for Bez. But suddenly, a creature appears out of nowhere and asks who is disturbing his lord's land, while the status plate reads that its name is Pachai Tarujiru, and it's of level 530. Tsukuru smiles seeing the monster and says that they got a big welcome. Pachai gets angry hearing that and shouts that it will eliminate those who are a threat to its lord. But before it could attack Tsukuru and the others, Hana jumps towards it while saying that they should leave this to her. Hana attacks one of Pachai's head and kills it with a single punch, which shocked the monster. Hana continues attacking the other head of Pachai and tells him that she is a wolf as she kills the monster. Hallie happily tells Hana that it was nicely done, but then to everyone's surprise, they sees Bez appearing from the monster's dead body. Ikenos happily calls Bez's name, while Kana smilingly says thank goodness, but Tsukuru shockingly tells them to wait. Tsukuru says that something is off, and then Bez tries to attack Tsukuru. Tsukuru blocks the attack, and asks Bez if he thinks that it can beat him, to which Bez tells Tsukuru to leave from here, and addresses him as the Lord. Antia then appears behind Bez, and tells Tsukuru that she will stop him, so he should go on ahead. Tsukuru grits his teeth in frustration, and run towards an abandoned building. Meanwhile, Antia tells Bez she knows that who is controlling it, and she knows who is beyond there. As Tsukuru is going through the building, he shockingly says black mist. The sword comments, this place, this presence, and wonders if could it be. But before it finishes its sentence, Tsukuru tells the sword to keep its senses. After that, Tsukuru is attacked by ghosts, but he slashes at them with the sword. But then the sword calls out Tsukuru's name, to which Tsukuru wonders what is happening. The sword says that it will cut down the ghost that is beyond there, and then Tsukuru reaches the boss. Tsukuru sees a scary-looking ghost, who says that he was wondering why his brethren were causing a ruckus, and says this time, a single human child appeared. At the same time, the other members of the groups are fighting the ghosts outside, as Ali uses her sonic voice skill to kill them. Kana says that there is no end to them, to which Antia replies, that's just how ghosts are. She says that it's easy to defeat them, but it's troublesome to go easy on a friend. Kana then gets a little worried and calls out for Tsukuru. Meanwhile, Tsukuru is facing the scary ghost, as the sword tells him that it will cut him down. Tsukuru notices the ghost energy, and realizes that it's an ancient type, while the status plate reads, that his name is Shamanile, the ancient ghost of level 630. Shamanile asks Tsukuru if he thinks that a human child like him can defeat him, to which Tsukuru says that it was Black Mist, his sword, who said that. But Tsukuru continues that however, Black Mist will be enough against someone like him, and orders Shamanile to release Bez. To which Shamanile replies that he simply had him return to his side, and that he is the one who stole his subordinate first. He seems to have used an odd skill on Bez, but it was his to begin with. But Tsukuru replies that he doesn't care, and if he won't listen, then he needs to die, and then attacked him. Shamanile dodges the attack, while Tsukuru tells the sword to calm down. The sword replies that it is calm, to which Shamanile says that it's an intelligent weapon. Tsukuru has quite a rare thing. Tsukuru asks Shamanile if that terrifies him, but Shamanile calls that nonsense. Shamanile then moves with high speed, to which Tsukuru thinks that he is fast, but he is still slower than him. Tsukuru begins to wonder if that is the effect of physical attack nullification. Tsukuru calls Black Mist and tells him to use its Purify skill. But to Tsukuru's surprise, the sword is not listening to him anymore. Tsukuru calls it annoying and throws the sword to the side, which shocked the Black Mist. It asks Tsukuru what he is doing, to which Tsukuru says that he doesn't know what happened between him and the ghost, but if it can't fight, then he should just watch from there. Tsukuru angrily announces that he will defeat the ghost by himself, and then pulls out a small sword. Shamanile smiles and asks Tsukuru what he is trying to accomplish with that toy. Tsukuru begins to think that certainly this knife is just a decorative weapon, and that it isn't ideal to be used in real combat. Tsukuru says that he is going to do this, and then uses Conqueror Slash. Shamanile gets surprised, and tells Tsukuru that he managed to injure him. To which Tsukuru tells him that if he wants to beg for his life, then he should better do it quickly. But Shamanile says that's rubbish, and then they continue fighting. Tsukuru begins to think that his arm of status ailment is troublesome. He doesn't know what kind of status ailment it would give him, but he can't use the same method that he did with Anti-A. Tsukuru thinks that he will lose the moment he gets hit, so in that case, he will defeat him without getting hit even once. Meanwhile, the other notices that there are explosions at the building they are fighting in. And at the same time, Tsukuru's small sword breaks into pieces. As Tsukuru finds himself in a moment of peril, the unexpected happens. The sword comes to his aid, which catches him off guard. Utterly bewildered, Tsukuru addresses the sword by its name, Black Mist, while the sword shouts that it will prevent Shamanile from repeating the same thing. In a moment of relief, Tsukuru notices the sword remains intact, while it apologizes to Tsukuru. With a newfound sense of resolve, Black Mist tells Tsukuru to wield it once more, saying that it regained its composure. Tsukuru then picks the sword, but warns it that he won't hesitate to abandon it if it falters again. Meanwhile, Shamanile, struck by a sudden realization, identifies the sword's voice and essence as that of an intelligent being. He remembers that Black Mist is a human who he once transformed into a sword through shape transformation. This revelation leaves Tsukuru stunned as he grapples with the implications of the sword's past. As the tension mounts, Shamanile then suggests a drastic solution, saying that he will alter the sword's form once more, and this time alongside with Tsukuru himself. Meanwhile, Kana says Bez's name and asks the rest of the girls what they should do. They are still being attacked by ghosts, while Ikanos stands there shockingly, and Kana tells her to get down. Kana uses Fire Javelin and kills all the ghosts attacking Ikanos. But Ali says that even if they defeat them, they will revive as soon as their body collapses, so if they continue to fight like this, they will only get exhausted. Meanwhile, Antia looks at Bez and begins to think that the skill itself is his dead summoning technique. She thinks that there is someone controlling Bez, so in order to escape from being controlled, they either have to kill the one controlling it, but then Bez asks her to kill him. Bez says that the dead spirit will stop once it's dead, then asks her to catch up with Tsukuru and assist him, as Tsukuru doesn't have light magic, so he cannot defeat that person. Kana confusingly says light magic, while Ali shouts at Bez, saying that he is their savior, so she cannot do such a thing. But suddenly, Bez turns around and attacks Antia, to which she grabs his face, and calls him a mere death spirit. Antia then blows Bez into pieces, while Ali stands there shockingly. Ali asks Antia how could she do that, but Antia replies that Bez is a death spirit, so it won't die just from losing its body. Antia then throws Bez's skull towards the group, and tells them to seal him with holy magic. After sealing Bez, Hannah calls on everyone, and mentions that the enemies are still standing. Ikenos tells the others to leave the ghosts to her, since she no longer has to worry about hitting Bez-san. After that, Ikenos uses Summon Holy Spirit and shouts that she will use area magic, and the ghost starts disappearing. But suddenly, one of the ghosts then rushes towards Sanya while she stands there in shock. But as she is about to be attacked, Kana rushes in and blocks the attack, but the impact pushes both of them into the ground. And as the monster tried to attack them again, Sanya loses her senses and released an enormous amount of energy to kill the monster, which scared Kana. After the monster disappeared, Kana apologizes to Sanya since her magic wasn't enough to defeat that monster, and mentions that she will heal her right away. But Sanya says that it's okay and apologizes to her. Meanwhile, Kana shockingly wonders what was that just now, what happened to Sanya earlier, as Sanya smilingly says that she spaced out for some reason. Suddenly, they all notices the huge explosion inside the building where Tsukuru is fighting the monster. Antia worriedly asks about Tsukuru, to which Kana says that she will find him with her presence detection. But as soon as they get there, they find Tsukuru struggling on the ground, and wonders what is that thing which is swallowing his arm. Kana thinks that she need to get that thing away from the master, and jumps down while calling his name. She then apologizes to Tsukuru, and asks him to endure this, as she uses destruction magic on him. After that, Shamanile says that he escaped by cutting off his arm, but asks how long will a feeble human be able to stand in that condition. But Tsukuru, while eating the recovery food, thanks Shamanile for his concern. As Tsukuru's arm is growing back, he smilingly tells Shamanile that he does not need to worry about him. As the fight continues, Kana uses fire javelin at Shamanile, but Tsukuru tells her to stop, as the monster is impervious to physical and magic attacks. Kana understands that and replies, so that's why Bez said that it's impossible for him to defeat Shamanile. Sanya also tries to go to help them, but Antia tells her to stop and mentions that she can only do physical attacks, so she won't be able to do anything even if she goes. At the same time, Tsukuru thinks that he can't use Black Mist. Also, the dagger from the DIABLO'S family has been broken, so the other weapon he can use is. But before he finishes his train of thought, Kana says that she heard it from Bez, that light magic is effective against the ghost tribe. She thought light magic was useless because it has low attack power despite its high magic power cost. She remembers about her old masters, and uses light magic while shouting that she will no longer let anyone important to her die, and then she creates a light magic sword. As she and Tsukuru holds the sword, Shamanile scarily says, "That light." But before he finishes, Kana shouts that this is the end, and then they attack Shamanile. Shamanile screams in pain, and his body starts to disappear. Tsukuru then tells Kana to quickly stand back, as he knows that Shamanile will resurrect, since ancient types have second life, so he will kill him one more time the moment he reappears. But suddenly, Bez tells Tsukuru, it looks like that Shamanile integrated into the darkness and escaped, as he can erase his form just like him. But everyone gets happy to see Bez talking, and shouts that he has regained his senses. Tsukuru then hits the ground in frustration, as he realizes that the fog just now was Shamanile. Tsukuru says that all the ancient types sure are great at escaping, but Antia mentions that she didn't run. After that, Ikenos smilingly tells Tsukuru and Kana she is glad that they are both okay. But just then, Kana falls on the ground. Ikenos worryingly calls her name, while the status plates read that Kana has leveled up. Kana tells Ikenos that she is fine, she is just exhausted from using light magic, but then she gets shocked to see the status plate, which reads that she has learned the space magic. Tsukuru shockingly says, "That's skill," while Kana stands there confusingly. Meanwhile, the place where Shamanile escaped to, he frustratingly says, to think that a light magic caster would appear in this era. He then recalls seeing Sanya with the group, and wonders if could she be. At the same time, Kana is eating recovery food, while Ikenos calls Tsukuru's name. She points at the lump of meat on the ground, to which Tsukuru tells her that it's Black Mist, and mentions that Shamanile turned him into that, so he needs to think about what to do with it. After some time, Kana says that they are outside, and asks what are they going to do next, to which Tsukuru replies that their next destination is the Templeton Kingdom. They then reach their destination, where Ali explains that this is the capital of the Beastfolk countries, the Templeton Kingdom, which also serves as a camp that accepts refugees from human countries. After that, a young female asks them if they are refugees, to which Tsukuru replies with a no. Tsukuru explains to the girl that they are here to see Dick, the ancient type of the dwarf tribe. After some time, while looking at the lump of meat, Dick confusingly questions if this is a sword. Tsukuru replies with a yes and says that dwarves are skilled at blacksmithing, and asks Dick if he could fix the sword with his technology. To which Dick replies, there's nothing they can't forge, but since the sword is in that condition, so he tells Tsukuru to give him one night so he can check the condition of the sword. Dick also mentions that he will need someone who can use holy magic to come with him, to which Tsukuru tells Ikanos that he is depending on her as well. Tsukuru then tells the receptionist that the refugees looked worn out and asks if there are not enough supplies, to which she agrees and explains that they have stopped trading with human countries and their refugee numbers keep increasing every day, so they don't have enough food and supplies for everyone, to which Antia asks if they need help from the elves, while Hannah says that's for another time. After some time, Tsukuru mentions he has asked for Dick's help, so he will at least help run a soup kitchen as he distributes the soup and bread to the refugees. The receptionist thanks Tsukuru for helping the refugees, to which Tsukuru adds that he will ask Siddle to distribute food to all the countries, and he is sure that Siddle will gladly agree. He then hands her a bowl of soup, telling her to eat too, and mentions that she barely ate anything. The receptionist thanks Tsukuru, but says that as an old breed, she can't accept this when Kobaru-sama and the citizens are enduring hunger, and hearing the old breed, Tsukuru realizes that she isn't a child. After some time, Tsukuru uses dismember skill and says that it should be enough meat to send to the Siddle store, and then asks Bez about the situation in human countries. Bez replies that the giants and demons have retreated, the humans have started repairing the damaged land, Israfel has captured important people from 13 countries, and the transfer gates in each of those countries have been suppressed. Tsukuru then asks about the old geezer, to which Bez replies that he is locking himself in a great temple in the Raid Crude Empire. Bez explains that the place is locked by an old barrier device with light magic, so he couldn't enter the Great Temple, and as Bez apologizes for that, Tsukuru says it's fine. Tsukuru then tells Bez to keep monitoring and report when he comes out, also kill all the old breeds that come out from the Great Temple, to which Bez agrees. After that, Tsukuru thinks that he wasted a lot of time because of Shamanile, but Ali's plan of taking over humankind is progressing smoothly. Also, the time-space magic that Kana learned needs a large amount of magic power, so it's not something she can use freely. He thinks that at any rate, he needs to fix Black Mist first, and as he is lost in his thoughts, Kana calls his name. Tsukuru surprisingly asks if she is awake, but Kana says that she has some concerns about the Demon Lord and hero summoning. She says that she lost her hearing at that time, so she couldn't listen to it, but the Demon Lord appearing is all a lie made up by the humans to summon heroes, to which Tsukuru agrees and mentions that the old geezer didn't deny it either. Kana asks if there is really no Demon Lord, then why did the humans summon heroes, to which Tsukuru replies that the old geezer said, it's for the humans to rule the world as per that person's wish. But then to Tsukuru's surprise, Kana asks him if that person could be the Demon Lord, and if the power of the heroes are needed to awaken the Demon Lord, to which Tsukuru asks what made her think so. But just as she was about to answer that, Kobaru pops up from behind and smilingly says she doesn't think that's the case. Kana shockingly calls her name, while Kobaru thanks Tsukuru for treating them to a meal today. Tsukuru asks her why she thinks that's not the case, to which Kobaru replies that after all, Temaz was one of the people who destroyed the Demon Lord. Kobaru explains that over 4,000 years ago, DIABLO'S, who plotted to dominate the world, summoned a Demon Lord, and the human tribe summoned heroes to stop them. It's even mentioned in history textbooks, the war that triggered the Battle of Gods. Kana asks if it is possible for the demons to summon another Demon Lord, to which Kobaru says that it's impossible, as she burned down all the demons' summoning facilities. Tsukuru asks her if she has proof that she is not pulling any strings behind the scenes, to which Kobaru says that would be difficult to prove. But she smiles and says she guesses that her comrades who fought with her could guarantee it for her, and then asks Antia if she is right, who is listening to their conversation from above the tree. Antia then tells Tsukuru that during the Battle of the Gods, Kobaru's flame burned down all the demons' territory and creates the Death Continent, and DIABLO'S, who summoned the Demon Lord, was thrown into another realm by Crafton, so it's safe to say that the technology to summon a Demon Lord has been lost. But Antia asks, yet why is Temaz trying to find someone with light magic through the hero summoning? And why does Kana, a human of this world, possess light magic that was supposed to only be available to heroes? To which Kana replies that she learned it thanks to Tsukuru's ultimate cooking. Meanwhile, Tsukuru thinks that according to the old geezer, light magic is a rare skill even among heroes. Yet why could someone learn it with his skill, and wonders what is something that he has, but others don't have. Tsukuru asks himself if Tema's is trying to create a god as he remembers about the goddess. Then the next day, Dick says that it's impossible. He has gathered dwarves that are confident in their skills, but they can't do anything about it with their technology. He further tells Tsukuru that there's probably no one in this world that can lift Shamineil's curse, the ancient type of the most feared tribe, to which Tsukuru mutters the word, "in this world." He then opens the storage while saying that he didn't want to use this if possible, but there is no other choice left. He then uses the unique skill, Feast of the Gods, while eating the ghost meat, and learn the shape conversion skill. After that, he uses the skill on the lump of meat, and orders Black Mist to return to its original state. Tsukuru thinks that he is going to suffer after this, so he will definitely complain about this to him. After that, as Black Mist returned to its original state, Dick angrily shouts that if he could fix it himself, then he should already have. But Tsukuru replies that there is a drawback. After he used this skill, he will lose one of his sense for a whole day. But then to his surprise, Black Mist starts glowing, and he shockingly questions what.